Welcome to the Celio Stats Brilliant Stars Invitational. I am your host, Jeffrey Surran. Alongside me, Rahul the Flea Reddy. How you doing, my man?
Doing good. Great to be here, Jeff. We've got a wonderful day of Pokemon ahead of us. And we can see already off the bat, we see a Rapid Strike Malamar piloted by Chris Hogue, and his opponent on the other side, not Yokis Yoke, is playing probably the biggest villain of this format, the king of the format, whatever you want to call it, Mew VMAX.
Yeah, VMAX definitely been a staple of pretty much every tournament since Fusion Strike has came out here. I am very excited to see Malamar getting his due respect right now, piloted by Chris here. You know, that Manaphy is definitely going to help out with the different snipe decks that kind of kept it out of format. So let's see, how this first turn goes.
Absolutely. And Chris does get to go first, which is huge, I think, in the matchup, because if Chris can go first, he can ideally take a knockout on something. And not Yokis Yoke has to go through all 6 prize cards of Malamar, which does mean going into something like Meloetta doesn't feel as great because you're going to commit 2 energies to something that's going to get knocked out. But on the flip side, Mew VMAX can start shuffling itself in with the 70 damage Psychic Leap paired with a couple of those tablets and making it kind of hard for Malamar to one-shot it, and we see an Oricorio.
Yeah, Oracle's going to reduce that damage down as well for all the Fusion Strike Pokemon here. We do see Genesis here with that Fusion Strike system going to draw up to 5 cards. Honestly, one of the insane cards that come out of that Fusion Strike set is that draw ability
Absolutely.
from Genesect V, and it's a basic. So and you do more than one. So not a lot of nerfing on that card. It's just full face value, and the Elisa Sparkle right there, turn 1 to get 2 Fusion Strike energy from the deck, and you can attach them to your Pokemon.
Yeah, now if you're the Mew player, you've got literally everything you want on your first turn. But the question is, do you commit to the attack full well knowing your Meloetta is probably going to go down? Or do you go into the Mew and commit for an attack anyway there, taking a knockout, but the Oricorio math doesn't help out just yet? It'll help for the VMAX, but not for this baby Mew.
Yeah, Baby Mew is definitely going to need to, evolve here to be able to, tank a little bit for Malamar with the Rapid Strike tentacles. So we'll see here what gets off the Ultra Ball here. I think we're just probably digging a little bit more for the Rapid Strike. Fusion Strike search with the Genesect, and oh no, we're just passing.
Chilling here. Yeah, interesting to note from the Mew player though. They are playing one copy of Echoing Horn to kind of deal with maybe just like a triple boss strategy or like a boss knockout a 2 prize strategy.
Yeah.
And from Chris's side, he is focusing very heavily on the Cynthia's Ambition, Karina's Focus build, and using Chinchino as opposed to the Inteleon that has been discussed previously. Some players prefer to play Inteleon line just because it's got that higher skill ceiling, that more versatility to grab all the pieces you need. But I think Chris is favoring the Chinchino line because Chinchino paired with the Cynthia's Ambition can dig you a little bit deeper, thin out some of those cards late game that you don't want. Like at some point in the game, you're not going to want to be drawing into those like level balls, those great balls,
Mhm,
maybe that like
mhm.
extra like scoop up net or something, you know? I late game, you want your whole deck to be rapid strike cards to just kind of sweep the game.
Yeah, I definitely like the combination here. Be able to trade off your cards or make do with everything in your deck, thin it out, maximize Cynthia's ambition when you do have to trade back the attack here. We do see a spiral energy, so they will be able to attack here. If they have a way to retreat the Remoraid, no artillery either, so we'll see what Make Do gets here with the 2 cards. Tough choice here. Do see the
Like it's
Ordinary Rod
Aurora.
go down.
So I think what is really scary for Chris's perspective here is this Remoraid is a pivotal piece to the combination because while what Octillery can only use its Rapid Strike Search once per turn, that one card can really be that extra 40 damage that
Hmm.
goes the distance, or that energy, or that one piece you're missing. And
Yep.
losing a Remoraid this early does not feel great. That being said, if Chris does not get knocked out by a Mew VMAX, there's a pretty good chance he can respond with a knockout.
Yeah, he does play a fairly thick line of Rimraid as well as a 3/3 line. Only see one so far. It'd be nice to have that backup one there, but seeing this one won't be the end of the world, but it will slow down a bit, not be able to get the different Rapid Strike cards. On the other side of the field, we do see a Fusion Strike, Mutant VMAX evolve on the bench,
There it
and
is.
we do see that. Yep, yeah, go ahead.
There's the Mew VMAX. It is like you said, Jeff, the public enemy number one here. We're gonna see some switching
And the
cards, and
switch.
yep. The added benefit to Mew here is that it never has to actually use an attack like Technoblast. So it's always
Hmm.
going to be able to reuse that attack for the next turn. It can just keep using that max miracle attack and then eventually shuffle itself back in when danger's nigh. But an important card count to keep track of is this Alessa's Sparkle, because at some point, if the Mew player messes up their shuffle ins, they will miss an attack somewhere. And I think we've seen 2 Alessa's Sparkle already out of their total 3.
Yeah, so 2 down as well, and we do see Fusion Strike system again draw out the 5 cards right there, and we have. So which attack we're gonna see here? I mean, they're gonna get the knockout here, guarantee. Either attack works. Probably just Max Miracle here just to get the easy knockout.
Absolutely.
And let's see if Chris can respond here with the Rapid Strike Tentacles.
Yeah.
He has a lot of cards. He has this ambition, so there's a lot of cards he can get through.
A very interesting thing to note there with that second Alessa's Sparkle, our Mew player did not grab the fourth Fusion Strike energy, which either indicates it's in the hand or it is in the prize cards. And I think if that energy hit the board onto the benched Mew, it would have been a very different game off the bat. Now it's on Chris. The onus is on Chris to kind of do something here. But with that Oricorio, you are now needing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9.
9. Yeah, 9 because of the Oricorio. Before you would have needed 8, which is that's a lot of cards.
That's a lot of cards right now. You get to draw 8. I mean, honestly, you can get the lucky here. You have the Fog Crystal right now. Go ahead and get like another Inkay maybe in your hand or something, or actually maybe hold those before Cynthia's Ambition. Depends what they're wanting to do here, but they have the energy attachment. Let's see how much you can get out of this Fog Crystal into Cynthia's Ambition here after that KO.
Chris very wisely getting that Psychic energy out of the deck.
Nice.
Spiral energy in hand is another damage modifier, and we're going to see the Cynthia's Ambition coming through for 5 new cards. 1, 2, 3, 4 in hand right now. A potential 5th, but it doesn't look like we're going to get there, which is a little bit scary if you're Chris.
Yeah, so we see here, you said 5th right now because of the Fog Crystal. Make do can maybe get 2 more, that'd be 7. Still not enough right now. I'm assuming it's probably, I know there's been a debate about playing the new the new tool that does plus 20 damage, the muscle band pretty much. But I don't think Chris is playing that in their deck from what I'm seeing here. So still short, but still a lot of damage on the board.
Now, a really important thing to note about that make do is Chris found themselves a level ball, which is really crucial to finding themselves that Remoraid on this upcoming turn, getting that setup going. I literally held my breath a little bit there when Chris drew their cards, and I didn't see a Remoraid, and I was like, oh no, this is going to make it even harder for next turn when, Chris has to find these pieces all over again. And now Chris just throws in as much damage as possible. If I was Chris, maybe I would have held the Octillery only and pitched the rest of the stuff. But I don't blame him for the decision he made here. And this is the really, really crucial turn from the Mew VMAX player. Can they drop a double tablet and shuffle this card in? Can they throw a boss out attached to the bench Mew and shuffle this card in? What's going to happen?
Yeah, very good point there. I agree with you on Octillery play as well. Having that there to have that security blanket for whatever reason, but maximizing that Cynthia's ambition, drawing a full 8 cards, as most as possible. It's definitely going to be helpful here after the KO. So we're on to the Mew player side here. Fusion Strike energy down to the Meloetta, and there's the power tablet.
Oh boy. 2 power tablets.
Second power tablet. Oh man.
Now, I do think because Chris discarded their boss's orders, I believe it's in the discard, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's our 1 boss's orders. Putting the 2 energy on this Meloetta feels like a really bad commitment of energy. Because Meloetta is probably the easiest thing in the deck for Chris to knock out. So now you are missing 2 of your energies, and 2 of your Alessa's Sparkles are down. I think it would have been wise to split the energy, but I guess it is an open decklist format, so you know exactly what you're up against. And now Chris gets the full grip of 8 cards with the Cynthia's Ambition. I would prefer that he rose Towers first to see what his extra 2 would be. There it is. Perfect, Chris.
Good call on that. Good call on that. Got to be able to fit a little bit more because those are both like instant playable cards too.
Exactly. I think Cynthia's gets you that little bit deeper. You get exactly what you need. This knockout shouldn't be... Again, the Oricorio becomes a problem once again, because now instead of needing the 5, we need the 6.
We need 6,
Makes it a little bit harder.
I mean, we got a little bit here. So we could definitely get the Malamar. We have the level ball. We have the spiral energy. Prefer the psychic energy, so you can use that Rapid Strike energy for Rapid Strike Tentacles right now. So if no psychic energy, we got 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 guarantees if you're not using a rescue carrier right off either.
Yeah, I think the best play here is probably to trade the Great Ball away first. I mean, I guess level ball into the Manaphy is fine too. You're just pitching something that you don't want to see.
Yeah, so you're gonna make do the main feat.
Yep, absolutely. This card is completely useless for the rest of the game, so it's perfectly fine.
Good find on the Fog Crystal.
Perfect here so far. I also think if you're Chris, you never want to bump this Rose Tower. Just because you're probably going down to a low hand size every time, and even if you're taking a knockout, being able to play down some cards and getting a few extra cards before playing your supporter feels pretty good.
Yeah, and honestly, retreat isn't going to do much here. It's going to be a KO trade at this point. Who's going to knock out who and who do it the fastest. So the Tower of Waters, that free retreat is not going to be really essential in this matchup.
There's the Octo. We're seeing 4 already, and now Chris can trade one more time. I would just trade the Fog Crystal away, I think, if I'm Chris. Maybe they're thinking about the stretcher play, or maybe they have forgotten about
Hmm.
the Oricorio here, because I count 5 in the hand, so maybe Chris is getting a little bit comfortable. But I do see the carrier coming through, so maybe they do understand completely what the scope of their damage is here.
I mean, this deck has gotten so many good tools from these past 2 sets that I'm happy, very happy to see it alive right now because it was a little bit on the radar at first, but with Jolteon around and Rapid Strike Urshifu around, it just couldn't hang. Trading those two
Absolutely.
prizes for 2 prizes. So did see the rescue carrier there. Inkay going to the bench, still one make do left. Spiral
Yep.
Energy going to Malamar, so we will see the attack here, and we got 6 there. So yeah, right in the money.
I would have preferred that Chris probably trades away the scoop up net on their make do, because I don't think that scoop up net has value really for this matchup. Because I think if the Mew
Yep.
player is bringing up something, I guess there is a valid concern for like an Octillery getting stuck in the active spot
Yeah.
and then an Oricorio spread. But I also feel like you have enough time to find that stadium card, and if that's
Mhm.
happening, you're probably winning the game. Cynthia's ambition off the prizes, so here we go again.
Oh, it is stacked right now. It is looking good for Chris right now. Let's see. Now the Mellow is going to get the KO, the recurrent return KO here, but let's see if they can set up a backup attacker with only one Genesect on the board
Yep.
for now
Now,
until the Ultra Ball comes.
absolutely. Chris is never going to have a boss's orders for the rest of the game. So whatever is going to be in his face is what he's going to have to deal with.
Hmm.
The Meloetta becomes a free 1 prizer, and now the math becomes actually kind of perfect for Chris because the Meloetta goes down and a new VMAX comes up next. All you have to do is find that one big one shot, and
Hmm.
the game is going to end.
I mean, the way it's set up right now for Chris, I mean, it's definitely a lot in their favor. The deck's down to 22 cards. And I would say probably a very solid percentage of that is Rapid Strike cards.
Absolutely,
On the
absolutely.
other side, we do see the Genesect get put down. Rose Tower first to draw them up to 3 cards. Another Mew that goes to the bench, and I'm sure we're gonna see. Yep, there it is. Fusion Strike system to draw them up to 6 cards, and where
This
we're
is
at,
the
we're in depth.
crucial turn for Alessa's Sparkle to hit the board. If an Alessa's Sparkle hits the board, the whole scope of the game will change.
Okay.
But there's a lot of non-factors, right? The third Alessa's Sparkle has to
There,
be there, and there
yeah.
has to be that Fusion Strike energy both in deck, which we already see they weren't.
There's choice belts going on the Meloetta. It's not gonna be. I think it's just kind of to thin a little bit more to use Fusion Strike system again. But we didn't see the list of Sparkle yet. To your point, so only one energy on the board. Boss.
The
Oh, okay. So boss
Octillery.
and Octillery. So I bet they're thinking right now that 3 card hand on Chris's side, taking out his Octillery, you guarantee that it can't get the Corinnas as easily,
Yep.
and won't be able to draw as efficiently there. So not knowing Cynthia's ambitious in the hand, obviously, but still, I think that's the right play.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Not knowing where you're chasing after, taking out the one Octillery here. Chris is down 2 of their Cynthia's Ambition, so knowing that you can use this a little more efficiently is better. Chris establishes a second Malamar. I think I would just evolve it here. There's no real repercussion. You only need to find 3 Pokemon here,
Hmm.
which is not actually that difficult, given the scope of the one card in your hand that draws you a ton.
Yep.
Um, Perfect. Everything is as golden
Yep.
as you could want it. I
Got
think an
yep.
Ordinary Rod would probably best suffice to start the turn, and then look for those the Octillery pieces once again, because you're going to have to find that big knockout next turn, which
You want to try
is
to get the rim rate, back in there ASAP,
yeah,
just so you have it ready for next turn. Assuming no additional boss, returns the following turn.
exactly. We've
But
already got
yeah,
the knockout sitting in hand.
knockout's plenty right now. Um, let's see what they grab here. Yep, rim rate Octillery more than likely. Yeah, at this point they got plenty of
Perfect.
Malamar, and all they got to do is take 2 more KOs. So the 2 remaining Malamar in their deck is gonna be plenty fine. No need to bring those back to the
Exactly.
deck.
The one psychic energy is actually really huge here, just because that one energy means that you do not have to use that
Mhm.
spiral energy, and it's also another fog
Good point.
crystallable card. Um, so Chris has all of their pieces set up, and I think their hand is absolutely fantastic. I would just trade away Karina's probably here. Um, I would have held the net to pick up that Inkay potentially to be another 40 damage next turn,
Okay, good call.
uh,
Now, yeah,
because I don't think the Karinas is going to do anything else for us here for the remainder of the game. But we're going to be
yeah.
able to shuffle 3 in pretty easily here. Have a Cynthia's Ambition next turn. I'm just going to double check real quick that the Mew player has no hand disruption. And it's correct. The Mew player has no hand disruption, so you knew that net was going to be there all the time for you.
Yeah, I think that's a good point there is to kind of maximize your resources to be able to have that output that in any way, shape, or form for your next turn, trying to, forecast that ahead of time. So, Scoop of Net may bite, but I think, how thin this deck is at this point, I'm sure the following turn Chris can still pull it off if
It's
that
back. Don't worry.
if Mew VMAX is the next attacker, this could be a big turn here. So Mew
The new
VMAX
player
goes to
could
the
set
front.
up something with with an Elus's Sparkle here, but I don't think there's anything better to attack with than a Mew VMAX this turn. Maybe if you can attack with a Mew V with double tablets again, that'd be fine.
Mhm.
Um, but I think that would still be a little bit risky here. Another Meloetta maybe, but again, we've already seen the attachment, so the commitment's already there. The play is already
Mhm.
telegraphed. The turn is very telegraphed ahead of time.
Mhm.
Um, Tablets are hitting the board anyway. Maybe they're just going to shuffle this Mew VMAX in, which is a little bit interesting, but it does
Maybe
not look. I don't know.
they need one more tablet. So unless I missed one of the tablets,
No, no,
right
there's
now
only
they're
one so far.
yeah. So we're missing one of the tablets. We'll see what this quick ball thins a little bit. Let the fusion strike system one more time. See if we can get a little bit deeper and find another tablet if it's in the deck.
What are they even looking for? Do they want to shuffle in and make it a 7? Let's just shuffle it in and make it so that the Malamar player has to, Chris in the situation, has to take 2 full knockouts, but then they're leaving their fate in the hands of their final Alessa's Sparkle, which we don't know where it is. We don't know if it's in the prize cards. We don't know if it's in the deck still. We haven't seen that third Alessa's Sparkle,
This
but
is a tough spot.
yeah,
Let's see it. Cross fusion strike. What are they gonna pick?
what is the attack of choice here? The Max Miracle, nothing crazy. And now the onus is on Chris to get the
Chris
knockout.
can take this game right now.
Right here, right now, we need
Oh
9
man.
cards, 9 fusion or 9 rapid strike cards,
Well, the
an auxiliary
auxiliary
at the
helps.
top, auxiliary plus net, that's 80 right there if we're counting the math.
There we go. So you got evolution instance as well. Can grab some Malamar, grab the
I
like a
think
third
if I'm Chris
artillery.
here, I would go ahead and do the evolution instances first, just to make sure I can find those pieces and
Yep.
guarantee that we don't draw into dupes and make those
Yep.
cards dead cards later
I
on here.
I am with you here, but we're gonna see this is ambition here. And of course, drew 3 rapid strike cards off that.
We're at 5. Let's see one of this incense.
So we're right at so you can scoop up net, put 1 NK back in your hand. That'll put you at what's 8 or 7 there. This is
6.
for artillery. Okay, so where we are right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So
Grabbing
Chris
a
is gonna
okay,
he's
so I
gonna
think
opt to get a make do target first.
so thin a little bit with the one card you don't want. I hope you
We
grab
still do need
2.
an energy to attack this turn. There's a
That,
there's a
that, that,
carrier.
that, that's I think that might be it. If you scoop up net and carrier,
We just need to find.
NK,
We have 1 energy with artillery. One, two,
yep.
three, four, five,
I think it's
six,
there.
seven, 8. We have it.
Yeah,
We
I think
have
it's
it
there.
right here.
Yep. There it is. Chris Hogue taking the match
I think they see
against
it.
you,
They're gonna
VMAX.
see this fantastic. Go for the maybe Chris feels like going for some BM
You know,
here. Maybe we're gonna get, get
gonna put some extra push-ups on this attack right now. Gonna get a little strong
exactly.
on it.
He said, "Don't put any disrespect on Malamar's name." You guys wrote it off, but it's still here. Um, I hope they see the play with the scoop up net. They have it. So perfectly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Attachment for turn. Scoop up net the artillery. Bada bing. Bada boom.
Wow.
10
Wow.
rapid
That
strike
is
cards
that is
to knock
phenomenal.
out this Mew VMAX, the king of the format, taken down by this one prizer, this lowly Malamar, who's just vibing in the water. And we're going to see Chris take the first match of the day.
Chris taking the first match. Chris taking the first match of the day. Wow, Malamar. I mean, it's always been I think it's feel like it's been titled that that fun deck, right? Like I feel like there's always that one deck of format that everyone's kind of like may seem a little gimmicky, but it can get the job done. We see that in the past with like Lost March or like different like single price decks like that, and with the additions of like Manaphy, Rescue Carrier, and be able to protect the bench, like that you can just see right there all the damage output, and it's one of the decks that I feel like can handle what I feel like everyone's kind of hyping up as one of the best decks now, Arceus Duraludon, because one of the biggest things is Duraludon's really hard to one-shot. That's like one of the biggest factors of it, and Malamar can get there if you give it a time, and we just saw right there, he probably could even, they could have probably dug a little bit more, and even got some more damage out of there, so Great game by Chris.
Absolutely great game from Chris. A little bit of some tricky decision making on the other opponent's side. I feel like there was some optimization things that could have been done. Obviously, putting the energies on the Meloetta, I felt like was a little bit of a suspect play. If that didn't happen, it would come down to the wire. I think Chris still would have taken it. It would have been really close, however.
Hmm.
And I think Chris was able to kind of showcase what happens with Malamar when it sets up and does really well. The first couple turns were a little bit scary from Chris's side, and we did note
Hmm.
that. But that's kind of why this deck is so much fun to watch, so much fun
Yeah.
to play. I don't know if you enjoy anxiety, you probably enjoy this deck, but
I,
that
I
was
just
our
love the
round one,
full
guys.
flex. I love the full flexibility of that deck because it has like an answer to almost every problem it runs into now, and which if you check those boxes, you're looking for a good day at a tournament. So that was our round one match there. We did see Chris take the W over Mu VMAX, and we'll come back to you here shortly with round two.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to round two of the Celio Stats 3 tournament. Me and Jeff are here today, and we're going to just jump right into the action, skip a little bit of the introductions because our players did not want to wait. We've got Michael Catron playing a very Michael Catron deck here, some sort of an Arceus toolbox deck with all of these fun contraptions, Shaman VSTAR, Hoopa, and interestingly enough, no Galarian Moltres V. And I'll throw it over to Jeff to talk about what Gibby is playing.
And I'll give you some. We have like a Dark Box Inteleon deck with some Galarian Moltres V, Hoopa as well, Galarian Zapdos, and also Cast Form as well to do a little bit of spread damage. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be a real interesting matchup here. And that's Cast Form's right there in the active spot.
We've got some. I think the cast form is here strictly for that free retreating option. And from
Retreat.
yeah, and I think if you are Katron, you're gonna have a little bit of a scary time dealing with this Galarian Zapdos that is pretty much gonna be able to attack you for free at any point because, well, your whole deck is V
Well, Dex
Pokemon.
V.
But from Gibby's side, you don't have to worry about that because your whole deck is these single prize dark attackers and your whole Sobble engine. So Jeff, if you are Patreon, what is your game plan? What is your game plan dealing with this dark box style deck?
Yeah, I'm probably not going to lean too much on Arceus. Outside of maybe one turn to be able to load up and have that the Starbirth ability just kind of in my back pocket
Sure.
here. But I'm probably going to chip around, pulling up their deck list now. Chip around. You have your Zapdos V as well. They're going to try to combat their load up on their V stuff there. And Minion as well. Hoopa V could be very good in this as well. Once doing the 170 and kind of like spread the damage around. So. I don't know. It's gonna be kind of a tough one here. That weakness, like directly from the Galarian Zapdos on Gibby's side, is gonna be a big factor there. Getting the full, Sobbles on the bench as well. Have all four in our
Wow.
prize, so that's gonna be a nice little setup there.
What a turn one from Gibby. They were able to get a Galarian Moltres into play with the acceleration of 2 energy, which is not very common to do when you're only playing 6 of those cards.
Oh snap!
Opening both of that combination of cards in your opening hand, being able to slam that energy, and getting a third darkness to attach to your Sobble. A little bit of an interesting decision to not research away a dark on the potential off chance that you hit a Sobble plus a training court, which is exactly what happened. But as they say, never punished, I guess. And then we
Never
have
punches.
Katron here trying to figure out what is my best course of action. I can't bench any of these cards because I'm going to be in trouble. Um, what is the best thing for me to accelerate cards onto? Because obviously, if we leave this alone, Arceus in the active, it is a danger of getting knocked out or worse, just getting chipped away at because
That's
it
gonna
looks
be
like Katron is not playing any healing besides one Cheryl.
this is gonna be real interesting as well because I mean, only on Gibby's side right now is just the Moltres, and it doesn't do really much damage at all until you ramp up the prize count on them. So
Absolutely.
it's hard to say right now on Gibby's side like what is going to be their course of action because they have their bench full now. Are they just going
Oh,
to use Galarian Moltres just to kind of chip away? Marnie though going to drop them down to 4 cards while they get to draw 5.
yep. And we see the RCSV coming in with the power edge here. We missed the V Star here if we are Michael Catron, which is kind of heartbreaking because having that ability to draw any 2 cards, get any 2 cards from our deck, sorry, is so crucial in having that additional HP. But fully well knowing the contents of uh, Gibby's deck and knowing that there's no actual way to one shot this Arceus coming back into the turn. Had Gibby put down a Zapdos and attached to it last turn, then there was potential chance. But now Gibby
Yeah,
saying, holding no, slapping it down, saying, hey, I'm going to put this down. I'm going to start threatening to power up this attacker. I have a Clara for the later of the game. I have 2 of those to pick this back up, and I don't want to research it away. But we see in Katron's hand the Pokemon Catcher,
yeah,
actually, a very
yep.
fun flip card that swings game. I know how much everyone loves flip cards. Um,
Can't stand them.
so
Do see the
So,
Drizzle come down with the Shady
yep.
Dealings. Going to grab a quick ball as well right now. Maybe get the Moltres V out here. We'll see. But they're going to start loading up that Zapdos on the bench. Moltres here in active is only going to do 70 damage.
Yep.
So a little bit of chip work on the Arceus V. Good call by Katron to not load the bench up for that potential Zapdos play. So good foreshadowing there.
And we also see from Gibby the Galarian Moltres V, which is crucially missing from Katron's list. And Gibby's going to be able to power up this backup attacker on the off chance that, the Zapdos play does not work out, setting up two potential threats for now Katron to deal with. And if he goes with this lone Arceus, eventually those Inteleon pings are going to start stacking up, and this Moltres is going to come up and be able to take the knockout. And we can see from Katron's hand that next turn, it's probably going to be an inevitability that a V Pokemon has to come down onto the board because,
Yeah,
well, hand
we're,
sucks.
we're
Oh,
Okay, top deck to VSTAR gets the catcher, does not get the heads. But I'm curious as well, like if they're gonna dig for maybe like the Shaman V to counter the Moltres V if it comes up. Just trying to play that counter game. But we'll see. We do see the Starburst here. What are they looking for? We got the boss.
guaranteeing the boss. Perfect play here. Taking out the Zapdos that's going to be the scariest threat on the upcoming turn. And, well, I think they're also looking at the Shaman, like you just mentioned, Jeff. The Shaman is an excellent shout. Moltres is weak to Grass type, which is an unorthodox type to be weak to. So the Shaman kind of fills that role of being your Grass type attacker. But instead, taking the Marnie, opting not to kind of overbench if possible, and going with the lone Arceus play here, understanding that I can do this for one more turn probably without any repercussions.
Mhm.
Because again, Gibby Stack does not have a way to,
No way to
one
one shot
shot.
it.
Yeah, like even if Gibby can find the Clara this turn and get another Moltres back onto or the Zapdos back onto the board, because there's no copies of Energy Switch or anything of that nature, well, we will not be seeing a one shot this turn.
Do see the knockout on Galarian Zapdos right now, breaking Katron down to 3 prize. So it's 6-3 now. Moltres is going to do a little bit more with the Fiery Wrath now.
Yep.
Going to be able to do 170. Still do a little bit of work on there. You see, and it's not a choice. It's not a choice though. So it's going to be the air balloon. So no extra damage there.
Yep.
May see some sniping from Inteleon here if we get the chance. But we do see a Marnie from the Shady Dealings from Drizzile.
A very strong Marnie here. Hopefully, we're going to see the Hoopa come up and do 90, but I fear it may be a little bit too late because this kind of damage should have happened a lot earlier. But this 90 damage is basically going to become negligible as this RCS has already done its job, taking 4 prizes, and we've just given Katron another Arceus to just set up. Which I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, Jeff, but the first Arceus is having a pretty good time not being
Yeah,
taken down yet.
you're just hanging out right there, and even with the 90 damage, there's still Moltres isn't it's should let me see. Moltres does 190.
Yeah,
The one, so it can knock out next turn if Katron doesn't find a way to like retreat it or don't see any like hyper potions. It could Cheryl this turn though if he has a way to get to it. He already Starbirth once, and there's Lumineon V right on cue to probably get that Cheryl, but just won't be able to attack next turn if they go that route.
if I'm Katron, I think I'm just going to start swinging for the fences because if you can guarantee an attack over the course of 2 turns, you should pretty much be able to win this game. I think if you can go get a supporter card this turn, probably make it a research.
I see, yeah.
Bench. I would even bench this Arceus just to be safe, and then I would research because you have the guaranteed training court in hand. If you find yourself access to a Shaman and a Catcher for the following turn, which is exactly the cards we see. Okay, he's just going to bring
Oh
up the Moltres.
no,
And
no way.
you want to know something really fun about the damage we're about to do, Jeff? We're doing
What's that?
210, but you know what Galarian Moltres does to itself when it attacks?
30 damage to itself. Putting a little bit of a bind there. This is gonna be a nice little finish here. And there's a Shaman right on cue.
This Galarian Moltres has been neutered, and the Shaman is also on the board. We see the training court coming through,
This is
grabbing the grass energy out of the discard. Katron has won this game on all fronts with
yes.
one Arceus V-Star.
That was So that was the path to victory there. I mean, the game's not done yet. Job's not
Not
done
over.
yet. We got not over yet. There could be some tricks up the sleeve on Gibby's side as well. But Katron
Someone
had
could
all the
disconnect.
gimmicks. Fair enough. Someone can disconnect. We're pretty set up on this end over here on Katron's side. We'll see how Gibby responds. We do have the Moltres V active and the Malevolent Charge. The Moltres on the bench. Let's see what they're going to push here.
I think both players are playing exceptionally well just because, both Gibby and Katron are very well-known players that have performed very well at regional and higher level scenes.
Yep.
Both players that perform excellently across the board. And I mean, if you are Gibby, this matchup is already very strange and hard for you. And Katron is playing this very well, knowing the limitations of his deck, knowing that early game the biggest like problem for you is that Galarian Zapdos V, like we highlighted at the beginning of the match.
Yep.
And well, now that you've overcommitted to the board, you're still not getting one shot. You're still not getting knocked out, and your Zapdos on the bench is not doing anything.
I really like the spiciness of playing the 4 catchers to be able to pull up those targets as needed, which we saw he's 50% right, or they're 50% right now.
Oh
He's a good
my
and go ahead, take the
god.
KO. That's
That's
spicy. Oh, there's
it.
the scoop. Oh man.
Three
Oh
prizes in
man.
one turn with the Galarian Zigzagoon ping.
It's a good given that put him right there exactly at 220 for the KO, and
That's
Gibby decided to
wild.
concede. That deck was probably I like that. That was a lot of fun to
Very
watch.
cool deck. That's a very cool Arceus deck. The 4 catchers complementing the deck super well.
Yeah, I like that.
The one Arceus basically like solo boloing the whole game, just being like, hey, I'm here, deal with me. And this Dark Box deck did not have that answer. We've traditionally seen the Dark Box decks come in and like be able to terrorize matchups where their opponents misplay or take a lot of prizes early. But card like Arceus doesn't really get punished if you don't overbench. And Katron executed this plan absolutely flawlessly, putting Gibby in a precarious situation, taking 3 prizers and putting on pressure before the Dark Box was even able to respond with a singular prize.
The cool thing I like about, what Katron's very well known for this, when you craft your own deck and not, not necessarily copy, but take the, a deck list from online, like you grab a VMAX deck and not knowing the ins and out of it because you didn't build it. When you craft your own deck, you put those certain cards there specifically for these types of situations. And
Absolutely.
when that happens and it plays out to that favor, you're like, yeah, this is a pretty good build. It was a pretty good time.
Yeah, it's for that niche scenario all the time. Very cool deck from Michael Katron here. Absolutely love the innovation with the Shaman. Absolutely love the Ditto V in the deck and the 4 catchers. A lot of aggression from a traditionally like reactive Arceus deck, guaranteeing that those you have other boss outs plus a supporter, so you don't get stuck after using your Starbirth.
It gives me Zora counters vibes from like what's that 2018, 2019. We had played the counter energy in the deck, and you had all your different basic attackers to just do little things against people. So it gives me a little bit of those vibes. So, but that was a great match. Do you have anything else you want to add on to this before we cut out before round 3?
Absolutely not. Fantastic show from both of our players. Hope to see more from Michael. That deck was absolutely cool. But until round 3, we will be checking out.
Fun fan favorite of the Celio's network family. We have Celio's mom, Joni here, piloting, what would you guess? Jolteon and Teleon, going up against Mew Genesect as well. Both players are 2-0, and we're seeing the perspective from Joni, and now I got a Jolteon right off the bat.
Yeah, now a lot of players were saying Jolteon is dead due to the release of Manaphy, and Jolteon is, one of those cards that should be gatekept by a card like Manaphy, but very interestingly enough, Mew is not a deck that plays Manaphy. So the matchup is going to be one that has always been tricky for Jolteon, but the combination of Path to the Peak plus the boss's orders will kind of put the Mew player in a little bit of a pickle. And we do see that Joanna's playing 1 copy of Fan of Waves, which should be very, very good for a ping, hopefully.
We do see over on the Nerf side here, Quick Ball coming down. Starting active was Genesect V, as we saw earlier with that Fusion Strike ability to be able to drop the 6 cards. Meloetta as well with a Quick Ball, and there is a Fusion Strike energy on Mew V. We do see that first Fusion Strike system here, and yeah.
Now, very crucially, the Mew player did get to go first and got an attachment down. So we're looking at Joanne's hand here, and it's not amazing. We do have a couple of Quick Balls, but the
no energy's tough.
Yep. The biggest question here that's a little bit scary is, do I have to go build up a Sobble line? Do I start building that up? Or do I grab another Jolteon in the event that my Jolteon gets knocked out? Because if your Jolteon gets knocked out, all of a sudden the game becomes incredibly one-sided and the tempo goes all over the other side. And we're going to see the Sobble being developed here. And I think probably just a Marnie, if I had to guess.
Solid money would be my guess here as well. You may be able to get lucky here and hit the elemental badge as well as energy and the VMAX. We'll see. Speed energy though, we'll let them draw 2 cards on the attachment, and Zigzagoon as well to do a little bit of ping damage. We'll see what we grab here off that. Just rope and research. Nothing too useful right now.
Now the question here is: do you retreat as the Jolteon player, or do you, commit to a different play? We see the ping coming down onto the Meloetta. The Mew player benching the Meloetta a little bit early is a little bit suspect in my opinion, because this means that the Meloetta is now a free target for the VMAX next turn, and somewhere you can't put the energy anymore. And now
I do
Joanne
like
also expertly analyzes that there is a Galarian Zigzagoon onto the board, putting a 2 prizes onto the board, or 2 1 prizes onto the board, so you can't get roped out.
Yeah, the awkward thing with this as well, yeah, because you have to scoop in that hand. But next turn to kind of dig a little bit, if they don't get Marnie or anything like that, or any hand disruption, you might lose another your boss off that research, which could be a little pivotal there. Ultra Ball away, clearly everything in the hand, gonna grab the Genesect V and be able to fuse a strike system for a 6 Fusion Strike
Actually,
Pokemon. So
they
the flip
won't be
6.
able to Fusion Strike system, Jeff, because we've got Path to the
I didn't
Peak,
see the
baby!
Path to the Peak. They missed it. Well, I missed it and they missed it. So there we go. Path to the Peak
Oh, okay.
snuck on there, and
This is not the end of the world. Joanne's
yeah,
hand is actually fine. We're going to be able to see the Jolteon hit the board. We're going to see this. I think we just put the Zigzagoon ping right back down, put it
yeah.
onto another Genesect, start trying to set up that 4 prize turn if possible. Just going for the Mew, also a fine play. And I think just
Yeah,
pitch the hand, research it all away. You don't
yeah,
need anything. Your opponent's not
yeah.
doing
Your
anything.
opponent just froze there with the
There
Path of
is
the Peak out
blood
there. There's the
in the
Jolteon,
water.
and
There's a
there we
Jolteon.
go.
There's another Sobble to help us set up for the future turns. The rest of the hand is not great. I will not lie to you. But we're going to be able to
I mean,
we're going to be able to set up this. And I think you just take out the Meloetta here if possible. Just get 1 extra card because your hand is not great. But if the hand was fine, you go for the Mew, I think, every time. But in this situation, you get to see a card.
I think on Earth side, I think is a situation similar to me where you use the Mew player. You probably don't see a lot of Jolteon decks a lot, because it kind of got dropped out of the fan favorite side. You're like, oh, I don't need to worry about Path
Yeah,
to the Peak. However, Path to the Peak is putting in work right now, and Jolteon is
absolutely.
just going to sit here and spread the damage, and could
Now,
set up game here too.
now, if you are the Jolteon player, Joanne, I think you go for another ping. Drawing here it feels a little bit greedy. I think you would have just researched the hand away, attach the badge still to the active in case you want to Cheryl in a future turn. Getting a Zigzagoon ping as opposed to benching that Sobble there then establishes another target for you, right? Like if you can do this, you can set up a boss
Yep,
target on a
exactly.
future target. But I mean, this is still absolutely fantastic. You're really far ahead. You don't have to care too much.
I would have liked seeing the Zigzagoon come down on one of the Genesect, and then instead of
Absolutely.
hitting the bench view, you hit the Genesect, and that sets up for a good KO the following turn as well.
Absolutely. And then if you put now if you can bring up the Genesect this upcoming turn, you can pretty much win the game. But we see with this quick ball, it's a pretty strong indicator that the Mew player's hand is not looking great.
Not
And now they don't
looking,
have a hand.
it's not looking good here. So we do see Genesect V as well, but with this path sticking here, it's not going anywhere at all. And just to kind of take a quick list on the stadium counts over there, I mean they got 4 stadiums as well to bump if they can, get to the stadium.
And
But
Mama Network top decking the Evolution Incense, which is perfect to grab yourself a boss's orders onto this Genesect, which I think is effectively sealing
yeah,
up the game. It does not matter what all you have to do is bench the Jolteon here. You have to go ahead and grab yourself the Drizzle.
yep, yep.
Bring up the boss's orders onto a Genesect, take the 2 prizes. There's no repercussions here from taking that prizes. No one's going to get mad at you. In fact, I think people are going to be excited that you're taking those 2 prizes here. And then that'll set up for even if the Genesect can move, even if anything can happen here, you should be locked and loaded to win the game. Drop the elemental badge on the back because at that point you're making it less cards in case you get. Well, there's no hand disruption. We can see the list. There's no hand disruption. You're okay. You
Yeah.
can do whatever you want.
The only thing I see here is being able to get damage onto that Genesect because I believe Jolteon, whenever you attack the bench, it has to attack the bench with damage on it. And benching that Jolteon V did not let the Zigzagoon come down.
Okay.
So we'll see the hit the active and then the bench Mew.
Joanne
Which,
definitely taking a different
yeah,
approach. It's a fine approach. I think the fan of
yeah,
waves is great. I would have preferred to see the Ultra Ball also
the
come into play
boss,
here, but I think
yeah,
doing both in the same turn is probably the most optimal turn you could have gotten there. So for those watching at home, that is a little bit of a slight optimization
got
that
you,
could go the distance. I don't think there's anything that the new player can do to save themselves this game, but
yeah.
just a slight optimization thing for future
I think
players.
I misunderstood when you were saying about a boss and a Genesect. So you're saying boss and Genesect and then hit the Mew or that was already on bench to set up checkmate.
Absolutely.
Got
Yep.
you,
Because at
got
that
you.
point, even if the Genesect moves, there's nothing that can happen. And
Yep,
now that fan kind of feels moot. The Mew gets an attack off with the Techno Blast.
yeah,
And this would have been game right here.
yep,
There
yep.
needs to be a little bit of thinking here, I think, now. But it's still completely fine.
Yeah, I mean, this
Zigzagoon
is still in
Ping
a great spot. There's no
no,
cards in Nerf's hands, so you're
yeah.
really in the driver's seat. Like
You
you
have
have to
game
hit,
in
not
2 turns.
attack.
You have
Yeah.
game in 2 turns regardless. Um, you can pretty
Deuce.
much here just evolve into the other Inteleon, the quick shoot
Yep.
the active. You note that this
Yep.
Mew can't attack next turn because they Techno Blasted this turn. Um, basically, you're still fine. But we're going to see the boss play a turn later. I'm a little bit apprehensive about this because if a switch gets drawn now, this Jolteon can go down.
Yep.
Um, but
So
we
yeah, a
do
little
have the
bit.
research in hand. We have the badge in hand. Everything is there to continue playing the game.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, you can go multiple routes with this as well, but I do like
yep.
your idea of just go ahead and going after the Mew because even if it does retreat to your point, I still KO on bench. If they were to attack the next turn,
Yep.
so we'll see what happens here. Reduce you to Cheryl, Ultra Ball. What are they going to get rid of here? Zigzagoon and
That
a
seems fine.
Path seems good to me.
Drizzle here, probably for an energy search if possible.
Hmm.
Guaranteeing the attack again. Looks like Mama Network is
Stand up for the
going
next
for,
turn.
yeah, going. I think she's just going for the shell rat here, healing and setting up the attack once again with the elemental badge.
Got you. Yep.
Um,
Yep.
and I would like to see the quick shooting Inteleon come down to get the ping this turn so that there's no punish from a fusion strike energy coming into play next turn.
Yep. Yep, I'm with you there. So Cheryl, right on cue, going to heal that 190 damage off at the cost of discarding all energy attached to your stage or your evolution Pokemon. However, we do
So,
see the elemental badge is going to drop that attack cost by 1 colorless. Easy money, going to attach a lightning, and we'll be able to attack again.
yep, and we're going to see the quick shooting. Um, you could even put the bench damage down there. It does not matter here. I think setting up the bench damage is probably more ideal, actually, to guarantee you that that Genesect is not moving anywhere. This Mew can technically
You have options
Psychic
now.
Leap. Yeah, if a top deck. Well, you can't
Energy
attack
and
because
cycle it back in.
Technoblast happens. So there's no actual one card that saves our Mew friend besides maybe a Peony or a Stadium. It would
Yeah.
have to be either of those two cards only. Um, see, there's a Fusion Strike energy, but
Yep.
it doesn't matter. This
Yep.
is a classic. I also want to note out as this game is closing out that the Mew player discarded a lot of those items as we were going with the quick balls and stuff like that. And I understand thinning is
Yeah.
very important, but you I think always hold one of those energy cards or those item cards for a potential Cramomatic that you're playing the card. So why not have
Yeah.
use for it?
Fair
You know,
point. Fair point.
like that Cramomatic could have saved you with the top deck, but um, there was some times there where I felt like the Mew player had pretty much given up, and at that point, I mean, Mama Network did a perfect job of closing out the game. The last couple turns could have been obviously optimized, but a win is a win, so I can't say anything.
We take dubs and we can take those dubs. And sometimes just kind of handed to you on a plate, and sometimes
Yeah,
you got to work a little bit for it.
for
But
sure.
great match there from Joni. To me, I haven't seen the matchup before, but to me, it looked like Jolteon can fairly handily take on the Mew
Absolutely.
deck. Those pass to the peaks are very vital and disrupt so much on the Mew side that it's kind of hard. We saw it there. They
Yep.
dug deep to get to be able to do the Fusion Strike system, and unfortunately could not do so because of Path to the Peak, that secret card that I did not see played. So very, very fun deck to match to watch there. Joni moves on to 3-0 in the Celio Networks
Jolteon is
tournament.
very much alive.
Very
Obviously, like
much.
Jeff said, the matchup is if the Mew player was able to get more than one turn to draw cards, I think the matchup goes completely differently. But that path to the peak stuck very expertly. Yes, the Mew player had 4 Stadium cards, 4 Cramomatics, as well as a Peony, and they still were
Yeah.
not able to find that with a 6 or a tenth of their deck being outs to the path to the peak. But they got stuck. And what happens when you get stuck? You probably lose.
You probably lose, and I think everyone's been kind of their own end of dead drawing. I wouldn't say that was necessarily a dead drawing. You were just not drawing,
You were forced
but
into it.
you were kind of forced into that moment there. Path to Peak, probably the MVP of that match, and that wraps it up for round 3. We're actually gonna
Yep.
get a new little party here for the next upcoming rounds, but we'll come back at you guys later on in the Celio's
Yep.
tournament.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Celio Stats tournament. I'm Henry Brand. I'm bringing with me, Lindsay. How's it going, Lindsay?
It's going pretty good. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. We're just about to watch Mike Fouché playing Suicune Ludicolo against Michael Catron playing a pretty interesting straight Arceus list. I shouldn't even say straight, it just has a lot of text.
Arceus with some friends.
Some stuff, yeah. It's an injury. It doesn't seem to have a mainstay strategy outside of the Arceus. It has a lot of strong text that it can play off of Raihan, and we'll have to see how they fare against Suicune. But it's not looking like a great opening hand for Mike.
Right. We have everything except a Sobble.
No energy attachment, but of course fleet-footed, and 2 mulligans will help out a lot.
Yeah, hopefully we can at least get something good on the Fleetfoot.
So of course Brilliant Stars has just come out. How do you think you see this matchup faring from what little we've seen?
I mean, it's hard to say. The Shaman VSTAR is honestly, I think, a bit of an underrated card. I mean, doing 120 plus 40 for each damage, for each prize card, I mean, that can hit for a lot.
It will. We see a really strong setup here from Mike. What looked pretty grim has now gone quite well. We've got an energy in the active Suicune, although that Ditto is quite threatening. It would take a little bit of a convoluted combo in order to set up a turn 2 Arceus, but it's definitely within the realm of possibility.
Right. Yeah, it would definitely be smart. I mean, I'm sure he's thinking about it. It would definitely be smart to maybe try to take out that Shaman VSTAR as soon as he puts it down. I mean, that's probably going to be the biggest threat at the end here.
I think just making sure that these Cape of Toughness stick. Oh, Mike's just asking a ruling question. Can the boy evolve? Yes. So Ditto V, of course, Mike cannot hear me, but Ditto V can evolve on the turn that it swaps into a Pokemon because it keeps the turns in play. So for anyone watching, Ditto will be able to evolve. That's part of the strength in a deck like this, because you're able to get one Arceus V, one Ditto, and a different Pokemon, and no matter what your opponent knocks out, you still have one left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so hopefully the opponent here is going to be able to get out. Man, trust the Cape, okay.
Interesting chat between the opponents. We see looking like a pretty bad situation. Of course, you can't play supporters on turn 1, so it's hard to kind of gauge whether your opponent's hand is dead or not, given that they've gone first. But Katron is not looking like he's having the best game.
Yeah, I wonder if he's just trying to go for a stall here. Okay, good. Getting the Marnie. That might help.
There we go.
That might help him out a little bit too.
Yeah, absolutely. With Starbirth, it's pretty easy to set these combos up, but of course, he needs to find the swap into Arceus V plus V-Star without using Starbirth, and that's going to be the hard part.
Getting rid of a choice belt. So it looks like he does run 2, which I don't think will be too much of an issue.
That card does have a fair bit of importance, given that Arceus V-Star can one-shot a Suicune without a cape with Choice Belt, and we see very little going on for him.
Actually gets a pretty good hand here.
Yeah, I'm definitely not complaining. I think if you're Mike here, you might go for Shady Dealings into maybe Melanie, and you might choose to attach and retreat in the Melanie, or it could be one line, but we'll see how he chooses to play it out.
Yep, so yeah, he's going to go for the retreat into the Melanie and get a few more cards set up. Hopefully, he would need, what, 9? So he's not going to be able to knock out this Crobat.
No, he could, if he drew into a Ludicolo, he could have, but no Ludicolo. And he may choose not to even use the Ludicolo on the Crobat anyway. He might choose to save it for Arceus, prioritizing a knockout like that. I see a Lotad go into the discard pile. He's really valuing the damage from the Choice Belt rather than setting up these Ludicolos. And of course, getting that Sobble engine going is what he's choosing. 120, he's going to be... We'll see if he can finish that off later on with quick shooting.
Yep,
but now we get back into Michael's turn.
I kind of like all these Pokemon catchers. I think it's a really interesting addition.
Yeah, I think Katron has seen that it's difficult for Arceus to play boss every single turn, unlike something like Mew. And so he's basically chosen to say, all right, well, I'm going to play a draw supporter every turn, or Raihan to power up my tech cards. And instead, I'm still going to need to Gust, so I'm going to play 4 Pokemon Catcher. How reliable that's going to prove to be, we'll see. But it's an interesting take on what he perceived probably to be the weaknesses of a deck like this.
Right. Okay, so we're getting the research here. I'm wondering if he's going to put... Okay, so he just went for discarding that Arceus V that he pulled out, so...
Yes, so now Ditto will be able to transform into it.
Mm-hmm.
And so Arceus V-Star will most likely get onto the board this turn. But the problem with the engine that Katron's using against something like Suicune is that even if Suicune can't one-shot the Arceus V-Star, you have so many 2-prize liabilities on the bench, like Luminion and Crobat. They are only one of each, but now they're both onto the board, and that proved detrimental later in the prize trade.
I'm really liking this Ditto combination. So the V-Star is able to come out. It goes from when the Ditto was put down, right? Is that what you said?
Carries over. Yeah, carries over turns in play.
That's a very interesting combination.
Yeah, that's really cool. And against something like Mew, for example, you can put down one Moltres V, one Ditto, one Arceus, and no matter what they KO, you still got it. And there's the Shaman down.
Yep, we see Shaman down.
But we don't see a V-Star. We just see a Power Blast, I believe is the name of the attack. Power Edge? Can you help me out here?
Revenge Blast is the V's attack.
The Arceus V's. The Arceus V's. Power
the
Edge,
Arceus V's. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess he's just trying to think here. Doing some math.
So I think he's trying to choose what to take out here. Obviously, there's going to be no more Ludicolo this turn at the very least. I believe Mike plays 3 Lotad, so not off the cards entirely.
3 Lotad. Committing the choice belt to the bench Suicune. The opponent does not play any type of tool scrapper or tool jammer, so you can safely put that choice belt down.
Yeah, and there's only one Cape of Toughness in the list, so there's no competing for that tool slot anymore. With 6 Pokemon in play, he's only going to do 140 damage, so nothing is really getting knocked out. You could level ball for a basic Pokemon, and then Incense for a quick shooting, and then you could probably take out the Luminion. But whether he wants to go that route or not, we'll have to see. Alternatively, he could dig for the knockout, I think, actually. Yeah, I think he's going to dig for the knockout with the choice belt. If he fills his bench, that'll be 180 damage. But he would need then quick shooting as well. Looks pretty rough to try and reach onto this Arceus here.
Yeah, so he's going for the double shady dealings.
Interesting to see what his targets are here. The Capacious Bucket to guarantee a second attacker without having to play Melanie, and then a Scoop Up Net. Presumably this is just kind of a developing the board play, allowing you to play boss on a future turn, but he seems to not be prioritizing either quick shooting the Crobat or taking a 2-prize knockout here. I think he's happy to just say, well, Arceus can't knock me out yet, Shaman's not doing anything, and so I start taking prizes, and I think he's pretty content with this situation.
Right. I like that play. The Crobat's not going anywhere. It's not the end of the world if it's not being quick shot right now. So I think that's a good idea. Just kind of set up your board state, get all the Pokemon out, be ready to attack with bigger damage.
We also see that there's an air balloon on the Arceus V. So that Suicune V with a choice belt is actually safe. I believe there's no way to swap that into a choice belt. No, there's not. And so that Suicune is not getting knocked out. We can just kind of relax. We get the Lotad, reset up the board after losing 2 of them early. And now, yeah, I think I would say that Mike's in a pretty well-developed board state. He's not going to have to play any kind of desperation things to set up attackers. Yeah.
So I'm wondering if they're going to just go and attack the Arceus, or if they're looking to boss out something else.
Yeah, we see it. Kind of long decisions. I think he would be choosing to boss something here. Ooh. Yeah, we just see the Crobat. It would take a long time to develop quick shooting to the point where you could take the Crobat out. So that's fair enough. See another Drizzile. And now he's just looking to extend into a KO next turn onto the Arceus. Given another, aside from another catcher or boss or something like that, he's just choosing to hopefully be able to knock it out with the Ludicolo.
Yep, so grabbing that Ludicolo from the Evo Incense next turn with the rare candy in hand, hoping it doesn't get Marnied. Oh, and gets a quick ball off the prizes, which is nice.
The quick ball will really help here. Guaranteed extra bench Pokemon. But we're going to see Katron's deck has so many tricks in it. If Mike hits into an Arceus V-Star, there's always Cheryl. There's also a baby Moltres, the Galarian Moltres, which will do a lot of damage later on, again like Shaman, but based off prizes. And if Mike doesn't have a lot of energy on board, he could be prevented from actually taking 2 prizes in a turn. But here's the Starbirth, the V-Star ability that the card is largely being played for. see what Katron gets off of this. We won't be able to see right away, but we can have a little bit of an idea.
Mm-hmm. It looks like the opponent doesn't play any of the Charon's Care either, so whatever damage does go on the Arceus is staying on the Arceus.
Well, he plays Cheryl. So...
Oh yeah, he plays one Cheryl.
Yeah,
there it is.
So we'll be able to Cheryl away that damage, but at a cost, for sure. Absolutely at a cost. There is boss onto Lotad, and that is the third Lotad gone. And as far as I'm aware, no recovery for those. So those Arceus V-Stars are now pretty much always going to be out of range of Suicune.
Mm-hmm. This will be an interesting one then. So I'm wondering if he's just going to go ahead and promote the Suicune with the choice belt on it, or if he wants to kind of save the knockout from having the cape.
I think we see the Cape Suicune coming up here. Now that a second Arceus has been powered up, that Suicune is a liability. And I think the game has swung really heavily into Katron's favor here. There's no way for an Arceus V-Star to be one-shot. And now, also, Mike is down a boss. So if one of these Arceus gets hit, there will be a situation no matter what where one will be able to hide onto the bench. So I think Katron will be able to play that kind of hit-and-run game for a while. And Mike is now going to struggle to knock anything out of one hit. This is smart, developing the quick shooting Inteleons as kind of quick as you can. That's going to be his last increase of damage, and see if it works for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so doing the Melanie just to get some more cards. Does find another quick ball, but still out of reach.
Still well and truly out of reach. The one thing that maybe is helping Mike here is that the Luminion and Crobat and Starbirth are all gone from Katron's side, and I believe 3 Pokemon catches. So, and a boss. So there is a large amount of things that, whilst Katron could do, it's reasonably unlikely without these kind of support abilities. And so that's something that Mike will probably be factoring in. And maybe rather than going for an optimal game plan, just choosing what he thinks Katron might miss. There's the quick shooting onto the active. See fleet-footed towards the end of the turn. And just a Blizzard Rondo.
Yep, doing 160 damage. Yeah, I mean, the fact that the Arceus V on the bench is pretty much set up is fully set up. It's definitely an advantage for the opponent. So
absolutely. And
Marnie.
it also deals more damage, so it's going to be able to KO Suicune on the bench with just a Zigzagoon ping as well, which is something to keep in mind. There's an ordinary rod discarded. So the Crobat could have gone back into play, but see it. Still there. We see just the Trinity Nova for some damage. Mike will probably be able to pivot his Pokemon as well now.
And he only runs 2 boss. I know we've seen one. I wasn't sure if I think I saw the other one in the deck too.
I believe it's in the deck. So I wonder if we're going to see a boss onto the Arceus V-Star this turn. What it would do is it would prevent maybe a really big value Cheryl from Katron to be able to take it. But he's actually choosing to keep that Inteleon as an attacker, which is smart. Given the amount of gust that we've seen come out of Katron's deck, 3 catcher, 1 boss, I believe, all gone. The ability to 7 prize in this game is really likely. And so that's going to be really kind of pivotal to this matchup.
Yeah. So it's looking like he doesn't...
Difficult situation.
Yeah, he doesn't want to Marnie's his opponent with having the 2 cards, and we're hitting for what, 180 damage right now?
Yeah, 180, yeah, for sure.
Yep,
so it looks like he's... Yeah, it looks like he's trying to just continuously... Well, there's the boss. I want to see what we're going to take out.
Going for the stall, maybe? I mean, he can knock out the Luminion, though.
Can. Definitely won't go for a stall.
Yep, knocking out. So taking the Luminion, getting those 2 prizes, and what's that, 200 on the Arceus V-Star, so... Ooh, this is
So I
actually
think
looking a little close now.
it is looking a little close for sure. I think the Cheryl could definitely come in clutch here if it's still in the deck. So yeah, there's 3 catcher and a boss. Let's see. There's a research. Ooh.
Okay, so no Cheryl this turn, but now he has no way to get that Arceus VSTAR out. So I'm wondering if he's trying to build up the quick shooting damage on it to maybe try to knock it out with Aqua Bullet. He has 80 more damage left on it though. And need another quick shooting down to 160. I don't know if it's or down to 60 left. I'm not sure if that's reachable in the next few turns.
Yeah, so it is reachable. He's able to go, if he evolved his Sobble into Drizzile this turn, and Aqua Bulleted plus Quick Shooting to put 40 damage on it this turn, and then the next turn to put another 40. But really, Catron just seems to be digging for Cheryl, because I think that's Mike's primary win con here. We're going to see Mike hit the Arceus, and then it'll pivot into the Shaman, most likely. And so it's all just riding on if there's a Cheryl in Catron's hand.
Right. Which 10 cards in deck, only 2 prizes left, has a 7-card hand. Well, now with the Marnie.
Absolutely, and this is a really powerful Marnie as well, because given that we've been through so many cards in deck, the likelihood that Cheryl's in the prizes increases. And so Marnie putting things to the bottom means that if that Cheryl was prized and just got unprized, is now completely out of reach from Catron.
Right. He did get the other quick shooting too, which...
Oh, there's no energy left.
Oh no.
Not good.
Not good. And the opponent runs training court, but highly unlikely they're going to put one out.
Yes. So Mike has chosen to go for the Marnie and has missed the capture energies, unfortunately. There always was that risk. I think it was correct. The alternative was to Raihan and guarantee it, but I think that Marnie was definitely a higher percentage win here. So unfortunate, but there still is a chance. If Catron was to just knock out this Sobble, no, he could draw Raihan off the top. I think that would probably be his main win condition.
Yeah, this is whipping that energy was definitely not what we wanted to see.
No, this has been down to the wire for turn.
So
I guess that's what
guaranteeing
happens.
the Raihan then, with having a Sobble down, at least guaranteeing the possibility of getting a Raihan.
Yeah, but I can't help but feel that this is not that much of a winning line. I think he needed both quick shooting next turn. I think it kind of had to be hoping for a top deck of Raihan or fleet-footed with Suicune into it. I think that would probably have been the best. There's the Marnie.
Oh no.
Okay.
I mean, he might get the Raihan.
Both quick shooting are gone now,
quick
yeah.
shooters are gone at the bottom of the deck. Last Pokemon catcher. All right, hitting tails, but
at this point, I don't think it's going to do anything.
Yeah, it's not looking the best.
No, and I think that is all but done. All but game over now. And we see this hand. I think Capture Energy was one of the next few cards, but Raihan was not in it. So even if he had gone for that kind of prey on the Raihan top deck, it would not have worked.
Getting both captures now.
Just to rub it in, rub salt in the wound.
So looking to see, it does have the Raihan, but again, it's not.
No, and I think no matter what gets promoted this turn, it's going to be knocked out by either Arceus or Shaman. I think we're pretty much all out here.
That is checkmate. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Interesting starts from both players, though.
Yeah, it's always really interesting watching these Arceus decks because you kind of can put anything in it. And so here we have Catron playing Shaman, playing all of these random cards like, Galarian Moltres, which we didn't end up seeing, Cheryl, 2 Raihan. So it's really interesting to watch, not only to play the deck itself, because we have no idea what's going to happen. We haven't seen these matchups played before. So it's kind of fun to figure it out on the fly while these players do as well.
It is, and I still really like the Ditto edition as well as the Pokemon catchers. I do think that was a pretty interesting combination there, and it seems to be working out for him though.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's an interesting way to tackle the whole you want to gust all the time, but you also want to play draw supporters. So seems to have worked out mostly. I think the catcher flips were not that favored for him there, but the one worked out when it did. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very, very interesting. So I'm excited to see what we are looking up next. See what kind of decks. I feel like this set list and this new set release has crazy matchups that I feel like are just so interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to see more Arceus decks. I'm hoping to see what other creativity people have with it. It'd be interesting to see how see if Mew comes onto the stream, to see how it's competing against what everyone seems to be perceiving as the best deck in the format. I think a lot of these matchups are going to be really fun to watch today, and we can see what comes out on top.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we will take a short little break, and we'll be back at the next round.
All right, here we go. We get a new match with 2 new decks. We have Hoopa Moltres, played by Marco Cifuentes, against... Who are we against this time, Lindsay?
A single strike. Looks like we're doing the Urshifu and Umbreon single strike.
Yeah, and I do need to point out that Superior Spider, the single strike player, is Australian. So I'll try and cast this game with a tiny bit of lack of bias, but no promises. So it looks like he's playing 3. They're playing 3-2 Umbreon VMAX and a 2-2 single strike Urshifu VMAX line. So they're trying to type coverage against Mew and Arceus and just generally have some strong VMAX attackers. There's some more Pico in there, but just your kind of standard single strike you've seen for a long time.
Mm-hmm. I do like the Lumineon edition. They are running also the one Crobat V, so I do like the kind of being able to have both of those supporting Pokemon.
Yeah, I think it just makes the deck overall more consistent, more outs to boss, even on top of the Umbreon. But here we see a really strong start from the Hoopa player, from Marco. Keep Calling going second. The pivot cast form is already down. And this matchup is going to end up being quite interesting. Obviously, the Hoopa Moltres deck is technically a counter deck, but it also has its own fairly strong strategies. Sableye V, in particular, is quite strong against a deck like Single Strike, given that it places damage counters on itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it looks like they both got really great starts. Lumineon getting that early research out as well.
Yeah, there's Lumineon for the research. You kind of think that you would have liked to see that a little bit later. It is potentially going to be free prizes, but it is quite difficult for a deck like this to play boss's orders. So when you're playing against a deck like this, we'd imagine the Single Strike would probably want to be targeting down these Sobbles and Drizzles every turn, which is fairly doable given the amount of Gust that they play.
Right, yeah, this can be a tricky matchup just with the prize trade-off. I mean, the Single Strike decks can be really hard to beat sometimes, especially when they have the using the text like the Sableye. It can be really scary. I'm always afraid to knock out a Pokemon because I'm just afraid they're gonna get that Raihan, get that Sableye out, just crazy claw me. I mean, it can do just an insane amount of damage.
It can, and we see both Hoopa reprise this game, which is massive. I believe, unless one was discarded earlier, both Hoopa seem to be prized. So instead, in order to just deal only 70 damage this turn, it looks like we're going to try and see a Moltres. Although, no energy was drawn.
We might have an energy search left. No?
They have a training
Okay,
court, there it is, yeah. That is lucky.
Yeah, they used both their energy search already.
Both energy search and a training court, and all of these resources, all they're doing is doing 70 damage with the Moltres because of that prized double Hoopa. And the thing as well here is that this was really clever from Superior Spider, is that they didn't use Single Strike Raw at all to the Umbreon, which means that there's no way for that Sableye V to get a response knockout.
Right, and that is a trickier part with that deck, is that you're kind of continuously putting the damage on with the Single Strike Roar. So that can be tricky, but that was good that he was holding that off there.
Yeah, and here's the Inteleon. We'll probably see a Clara here. There is the Clara and the net. Yeah, but it's so resource intensive to use this Moltres over and over and over. And
yeah, there's only two Clara.
There's only 2 Clara. There's only so many times you can use Shady Dealings in a game. And really, I mean, luckily the training court did stick, so all of those energy are just straight back, no more resources consumed. But you can't help but think this is not sustainable.
Right. Yeah. You definitely having to use a lot of resources here, which I see that he does play the one tool scrapper, which it looks like the Superior Spider is playing a Jammer, Choice Bell, and Air Balloon. So that could come in handy depending on what they're wanting to put out. Probably they're probably not obviously gonna use the Choice Bell. They don't need to one-hit knock out the Zapdos or the Sableye. Oh, speaking of the Devils.
There we go. So it looks like every attacker apart from the 2 Moltres, which are the ones that you want to use late game, were prized. And that is so unfortunate. But here is the urn. And what I want to see this game is obviously the quick shooting was used to take a knockout. But I want to see what this quick shooting is going to target in the long run. Is it always going to be hitting the active for damage, or is Marco going to try and start kind of preemptively damaging things or setting them up? That'll be one of the big things to watch of how he plays the matchup.
Now there's that Tool Jammer that comes out. Yeah, so Spider's playing the 3 Tower of Darkness versus the 2 Training Court. So it's going to be a struggle, especially with 1 Clara already down. It's going to be a struggle to hopefully keep those energies. I'm not sure how many. I think I saw 1 Raihan in the discard pile already.
Yes, I believe so. Here is we potentially see a knockout from the Umbreon, but the Tool Jammer should be blocking a KO from Moltres because Fiery Wrath would do 170. But there's the Tool Scrapper in Marco's hand, so let's see if he gets value from it. But there's a very good chance that the knockout has just been completely missed by Superior Spider. Typically, when someone slows down their pace of play this much, they have a difficult decision.
Was that 2 urns
that was 2 urns and a Morpeko, which the Morpeko doesn't have a lot of value here, but the 2 urns is
down. We might see a knockout
3
with
urns
Crazy
down
Claws here.
3 urns down. Yep.
We
of course,
we have that access.
Knockout will just be easy with the Moltres anyway, because of the Houndoom damage.
So I wonder if we're going to get the Crazy Claws or if we're going to save that for the end.
I think we'll definitely save that for the end. It's always best to use your higher value prize Pokemon later on. Obviously, because if your opponent's at 1 prize, it doesn't matter how many prizes you're giving up here. So we're just going to see another Moltres, it looks like. I've got the top deck. The Training Court is fantastic because there was otherwise no way to search out an energy apart from that last Training Court.
Right. So, I mean, with Superior Spider only need 3 more prize cards, it would be very risky to put down any of the Vs to possibly be gusted up by either Umbreon's ability or a boss.
Yeah, and I think now with the rate at which Marco is taking prizes, it's just going to be so easy to kind of win this prize trade, and you have so much time that you have no real need to use the Sableye just yet. You can take a long time to win this game. You have a strong buffer of pretty much one extra turn where you can afford to do nothing. There's the quick shooting already damaging that Urshifu just so that the Sableye is going to be in range for sure. And look how much value this Cast Form is getting as a pivot. Every turn, the nets can just be used onto the Inteleon, and the Cast Form just gives you straight attack into Moltres. There is one of the Hoopa and a Dark Energy.
Yeah, this is actually looking really, really good for him here. Okay,
Absolutely.
so there's the last urn. So that is no more urns from Superior Spider.
No more urn, but you can't help but think that it doesn't really matter this game.
Yeah.
There's so many ways for Marco to win this turn. There is the Sableye. You could use Zapdos V plus Boss, although I don't believe there's a fighting energy in the discard. There's no energy search left. But Raihan onto Sableye, that's pretty much going to do it. But that is a huge Marnie.
That's a huge Marnie.
Massive.
Oh, that is a huge Marnie. So he just needs. He still has. Oh, well, he could scoop up a Drizz. Oh, he just needs the double Shady Dealings in Teleon.
That will be game in hand, provided the Training Court doesn't get bumped, I believe. But it may just be game anyway. Yeah, that'll be game for sure. 3. Yeah, so he can Shady Dealings for the Raihan, assuming it's in the deck. Quick Ball for the Sableye V. Raihan to it. And now there's the training court still there. And so that
Yep,
should one-shot that
didn't
Urshifu.
bump the training court.
Did not bump the training court. The Raihan would
Ooh.
have worked in. And there is an
And he
incense top deck to make it
top deck
easier.
the incense, just making his life that much easier.
That is it. Quick shooting. And this save live is going to do a lot of damage.
Those crazy claws.
You see the quick shooting go into the Luminion. Wonder why. Who's 2 Raihan? Oh, it's prized. There we go. And that is what we
No.
get for not prize checking. But that you can't say that how bad Marco's prizes have been this game. Nothing can really kind of put into
Oh,
perspective how bad they
no.
were. I think it was Sableye, Zapdos, Dark Energy, Double Hoopa, and a Raihan. It's like all of his attackers, but that is okay. It looks like he's figuring out a way to win this game. And I think this is so cool. This is so cool. He's going to assault gate with the choice band and the quick shooting. And that way he's got game on board next turn. That is really, really cool.
Wow,
Ooh,
especially talking about his
Zigzagoon.
prizes. Yeah, just get that extra little damage.
That's just game this turn, I think.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
Like 90.
That's
90.
game. Look at that.
Wow.
120 damage.
Not
and there
only
you go.
was the super unfortunate prizing, but still being able to find that extra. Oh, there they are. Still being able to find Zigzagoon. That Zigzagoon ping was huge.
Yeah, that was massive. And I mean, you look at that. We were talking about all the different ways to win the game, but it didn't, ours didn't work. There was no fighting energy. There was no Raihan. And Marco managed to deal 50 damage from abilities.
Right. Completely used all of his resources just to get that out. That was a really great play from him as well. My goodness.
Yeah. That was awesome. And there goes Luminion. We were talking about it early on about how it's good, but unfortunately it was a liability there at the end. Crobat wouldn't have been knocked out, but yeah, you can't help but think that he would have won anyway over 2 turns. But there you go. That was a really cool game to watch because it's a deck that, whilst ordinarily wants to counter Mew and similar decks with these dark types, you can see that it has pretty strong game plans even in other matchups.
Right, right. Well, friends, I'm going to be heading off for this round. You guys are going to be getting another guest, and I'll be back a little bit later on. So Henry's going to stay with you guys for another round as well. But we will be back.
I'll be back soon.
Welcome back here. We are in round 7 of the Celio Stats Invitational here. We got a great match for here. We got Lee Wee playing what looks to be Mew Genesect, and we're also going to be going up against Adam Johnston playing Sylveon. We haven't seen Sylveon for a little bit, and it gets a little bit of a boost from the Brilliant Star set. We're going to take you right down to the action. Well,
all right. So we're just looking at the lists. Just looking at the list quickly before we get into it, we see kind of everything in Adam's list. We see 2-1 Arceus VSTAR. We see 2 Crobat V. We also see a Crobat VMAX, which is really interesting. We'll have to talk about that later. Oh. And of course, the 2-2 Sylveon, the Ditto, the Urshifu. And Lee is playing Pokemon Catcher. It's another interesting card in his deck, which we'll have to talk about. Fairly standard Mew deck, but with a couple of quirky counts.
Pokemon Catcher seems to be like the sneaky tech of the weekend, because we've seen that also in K-Tron's deck and now over here with Lee Wee. So I guess flips are back. I don't know. It's baffling to me to play flip cards, but hey, you know what? I respect it. Battle Pass, another another quirky card on Sylveon's side, and gets the benefit of that game. 2 basic Pokemon right to the bench.
That's it. We see these catchers a lot. I know that Lee is very fond of coin flip cards in general. I'm not sure that Mew needs the Pokemon Catcher. I feel like it can use Boss pretty well. But given that Lee's also playing Echoing Horn, that is pretty good combination to be able to continue to gust things. Really strong setup from Sylveon turn 1.
Nutty start here. We got 2 Sylveon down, Arceus V and Remoraid on the bench. Dark Acid going to let them draw up to 6 cards. No energy yet, though.
No energy at all. Now, if you look at it on paper, you struggle to kind of see how Sylveon could beat Mew. But the route that Adam has chosen to go for is the 3 path to the peak. So we'll have to see if that manages it. There is one, and that does not look good for Lee's hand. That's
nutty, because, Lee's hand is not looking too strong. Without being able to use that Genesect, no stadium to bump it. We'll see what this VIP pass gets for them, but looking a little rough right now.
That's it. There's the Mew. There's the Genesect. We look through the deck. All 4 Fusion Energy are there.
One
All
Psychic
3
Energy left
Elisa.
as
All 2
prize.
Choice Belt. No Power Tablet prize. And so these are all really big cards, but 2 Stadiums, I think.
One Mew is prized also, it looks like. But only 2 stadiums right now. Only 2 Rose Towers, no training court.
There he is. He's kind of lamenting the path of the peak, I think, at the moment. He's signaling to us. But he does only play 3 Mew V, so I didn't see the counts in the deck. But there we go.
Yeah, it looks like 2 are in the deck, and I think 1 is prize, 1 second's prize, and the 2 stadiums. Not sure what the other 2 prizes are. Second energy coming down to the Mew V, and it looks like it's just going to be a pass. Not going to be able to Fusion Strike system with that path out.
No, there it is. And Sylveon did not get an energy attachment on turn 1, though, so we're kind of once again at a bit of a standstill. Although, there is 2 Melanie in Adam's deck, and so 1 has been discarded already. But if he was to attack this turn, that would be the only way. However, if we look at the path to the peak, it's turning off his own Arceus' ability as well. So
yeah, not gonna be able to Star Rebirth there, but Rapid Strike Search gonna get them any Rapid Strike card out of their deck. I'm guessing it might be Sylveon VMAX, but we'll see what other route. Maybe a draw support. They did play Karina's. They do have Karina's focus, so maybe might go that route. But the Rapid Strike Energy, there you go.
There it is.
So we could see, I guess, what is there? You said 1 Melanie was already discarded. I didn't know. I couldn't tell if there's any Water Energy to discard. Maybe they're going to go ahead and Rapid Strike in Melanie, or just set up for next turn. Sylveon's it is looking to do a fair bit of damage right now, being able to do 30 more for each different type on the bench. So it's so far it's 4 different types. See if they get a 5th one down.
See if we get a 5th one down. Indeed, although it doesn't look like Sylveon will be attacking this turn, and Lee has another turn to try and top deck out of this part of the peak. There are 6 immediate outs if you include the Cramomatics, which, of course, coin flips, but they are ways for him to get out of it. The Rotom Phone, I'm not sure if he's playing. Let me have a quick look. No Rotom Phone, so that will not be able to get him out of it. Just these 4 Cramomatic and that 2 Rose Tower. We'll have to see how those come into it. Ditto V coming down to the board. No ability because of Path of the Peak, but something to stick onto the bench for sure.
Yeah, definitely it still gets that little boost right there. I mean, not right now because Arceus is already down, so it's kind of a moot point as far as going towards Sylveon's attack. But it looks like both players are kind of in like a stalemate almost. Adam's still, trying to see what other moves they can do. I don't know if they have another support, but that's it. We're going to pass over to Lee.
There we go. And
Crystal.
Nothing happening from either side here, but you can't help but think that eventually Lee will be able to do something. I mean, both players kind of getting nullified by this part of the peak. You can't help but think that Sylveon also would be doing something if not for the part of the peak, but it would probably also be doing a whole lot of losing.
Sylveon is not able to do too much as well because of that path, and I'm curious if is Lee gonna like maybe catch up the artillery, let it sit up there. I mean, the Sylveon's not doing anything either, but I guess eventually it could attack. Trying to think of anything that may not advance his board state, but maybe hinder more Adam's side to help him catch up.
Yeah, I think maybe if he tries the boss stall, something could be okay.
Yeah,
or catch a flip even.
Yeah,
there's a lot of things. He's just choosing to go for an Ultra Ball straight away. I think maybe thin the deck out a little bit. Still get rid of the Power Tablet instead of the Fog Crystal. This is one of those things where if Mew decks start anticipating paths, then something like Pumpkaboo is a really nice out. Although it does make your deck a little bit weaker overall, obviously, only drawing 5 from Genesect instead of up to 6. But it's sure better than what's going on here.
Yeah, I would take a Pumpkaboo any day right now with this path of the peak. I would love to get going right now. This Oricorio is just dancing in the active spot, not doing anything at all. But we're going to move on over to Adam's side, and it seems like it's going to be another quiet turn potentially. I mean, they do have the option of using Rapid Strike Search to get Karina's, maybe advance a little bit. Because all they are is one attachment and a retreat away. They did quick ball one of their switches the last turn, so that's going to be one thing that's going to hold them back from possibly retreating. But we'll see how they advance here.
Marnie has been Ultra Balled away. That seemed to be their issue. That was their draw supporter. There is the Sylveon VMAX. And will there be anything else to complement that?
That's part. I'm guessing that's Karina's. I'd be surprised if it's not. I mean, unless they'd have a way to switch in their hand right now.
Beautiful. There's Karina's. And so there's actually only one switch left in the deck. Once that one's been discarded, there's no other way for... Oh, and there it is. Both switch have now been used, so Lee will probably be looking to stall something, but Sylveon will finally be attacking to start the game.
Yeah, and the players definitely just I mean, Rapid Strike Search can still also just, as easily be an attachment to Octillery to retreat because it is a 2 energy. Maybe you might look at something else that might be heavy. I don't know. It's a tough call, but I'm with you there. I think Boss Stall is going to have to be the play here, unless that top deck is, Cramomatic and they flip heads.
Yeah, and there's the Crobat VMAX. And this is so funny. It's solely just to increase the HP of Crobat V and make it a little bit more difficult, but no energy. And still nothing from Lee. Chooses not to boss stall. That's really interesting. He chooses to keep the value of the boss and the catcher in his hand.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess they didn't see an energy on their end, but at the same time, they should know that Octillery can go and search out a Rapid Strike energy, assuming they're playing more than 1 in their list. They're playing 2. So Sylveon could attack this turn. There's no basic energy in their hand. I guess force them to use a resource to try to take more prizes versus just a single prize Oricorio.
Absolutely. The Octillery will be able to find a Rapid Strike energy to guarantee an attack this turn at the very least. But on the whole, I mean, the Mew VMAX is still powered up and able to attack on the following turn. I would say that it's not all out for Lee here, but the problem is that even off of a Stadium top deck, he's not going anywhere. There's only going to be 2 Pokemon in play once this Oricorio gets KO'd, and so it would have to be something crazy like Rose Tower, play some cards, draw some cards, hit another Genesect, draw some cards, hit another one, and really chain from there. And so things are really not looking good.
What's kind of funny is that, a lot of decks have been having their different counters for Mew, and, you mentioned earlier the Crobat VMAX. It could attack. They're playing 4 Darkness Energy in the deck, so it could be an option to be their way out to take out Mew. Yet 4 Darkness Energy.
They are, so they are actually using to attack. Yeah, you're right. I missed that.
So it's a little bit of both, I would say, that the HP bump as well as, hey, I can still knock out Mew VMAX, which is never a bad idea.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're going to have to use Arceus to power that up for sure, given that they seem to be continuously missing energy to even attack with Sylveon. But let's see if they finally get one this turn. Both players kind of doing nothing for the majority of the game.
This match is very lacking on energy. It's one of the vital things to attack in this game and to do damage. However, if you don't have the energy, kind of just playing, back and forth high five game. It's not really entertaining. It's tough, but they're gonna find their outs. They're gonna make their way through. I mean, sure they can find a power way to power up this Arceus VSTAR and get more energy accelerated out there. I don't know, but we'll see how Adam progresses with this. Free retreat coming down though with the Tower of Waters, but that's gonna open up Fusion Strike system if they go that route.
So they're choosing. Looks like they're choosing, to just say, all right, I've had enough of this bricking for now. I'm just gonna bump my own path, use Arceus, and set. Yep, there it is. There's the tower. Okay, could easily be a double-edged sword.
So I wonder if they're gonna Star Burst for the Turbo Energy here and maybe retreat and just set up the Crobat.
So yeah, they could go Turbo plus Melanie, and then yeah, that looks like they might be doing that.
There you go. Yeah,
I think you're right. There it is. And they're going to be setting up that Crobat. Oh, nope.
No, they're going with the Sylveon.
Okay, they're just going to choose to start pressuring it.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So interesting about that is they're not going to knock it out. So I wonder if they can just as easily just shuffle the Mew back into the deck and just kind of restart now that they got Fusion Strike system alive again. But the hand's still not that powerful, but it's Mew. It can get out of anything.
It can. And what's really important to note is I think that was the second boss's orders out of 2 from Adam over there. And that's really problematic, especially with open lists like this. For your opponent to have so much definitive information about what you can do, you put them in such a powerful position. And we'll see if Lee's able to abuse that here. There's the second Genesect. They're going to be able to draw cards. Not a whole lot, but definitely better.
Yeah, this is interesting. Wonder where we're out to go. I mean, you're not gonna put anything on any energy on something on like the Genesect or anything like that. You're not gonna really attack with them.
Well, I think you actually could in this matchup. Sylveon is weak to metal.
Fair.
And so
fair.
you could easily power up the Genesect this game, given that Lee's already burned through 2 Power Tablet, I believe, given that his unfortunate
Might
draws
need to
at the
go
start
that
of the
route.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he definitely might need to. He might just choose to maybe attach to Genesect and then boss, maybe KO the Ditto or the Octillery, get himself started a little bit, and maybe unprize the Stadium, because another path coming down would absolutely cripple him here.
I'm not sure after the Arceus VSTAR here.
Yep.
Fusion Strike system again. Gonna draw them up to 4 cards. Meloetta coming down, and I guess we're gonna just see a little bit of damage here.
Interesting choices.
Pondering over which attack to use right now. Debating if the VMAX going to get knocked out next turn or not, and what they're going to respond with the following turn. They do have Meloetta, but they will need to get a couple more Fusion Strike energy out to kind of put some value there. Luckily, at least a Sparkle is in their hand.
At least it is in the hand. Another path could easily come down, but Lee's chosen to pick the Arceus because the only way for it to get out of the active now is one of 2 double turbo left, or maybe a Melanie and attach. Both are pretty difficult given that they've used all of their kind of consistency cards in terms of Starbirth. The switches are gone.
The bosses are gone now as well.
Bosses are gone.
I mean, what's to stop like Adam here from even if Arceus were to go down his turn, they can still get a turn to Trinity Nova and set up Crobat.
Absolutely, the Melanie would probably be the way to go, but it's very difficult. He can't really get any cards that he wants. He's just playing with what's in his hand, which is some kind of like a foreign concept at the moment. There's Amani. I think now he's just hoping to find a path, but Lee gets a whole set of fresh new cards, which really would put him pretty far away from losing to path.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
Well, Meloetta's hitting hard next turn.
It absolutely is. There's a ribbon badge onto the Sylveon.
Let's see here. So, yeah, it looks like, I mean, nothing really, with the Marnie, that means the Arceus is not going to attack this turn. They're going to try to find a way to switch, but I think we noted they've got rid of both switch because they discarded one early with the quick ball, and then they played one. So I think that's Lee, using that open deck knowledge and knowing that this Arceus is not going anywhere.
Absolutely, it's so much to ask for to make your opponent find that double turbo, and even if they did, Lee is then threatening a 280 knockout, well, 280 plus power tablet onto the Sylveon, forcing a Melanie to respond there. And so he's really putting a lot of pressure on his opponent's resources by saying, well, if you attach to retreat, you've just lost energy tempo. No path comes down, so Lee would be really happy to see that. Another Ultra Ball, presumably for a Mew here. Yep, there we go. 2 power tablet left in the deck, 2 choice belts. So the damage cap is still reasonably high.
All right, we're going to see probably our first Fusion Strike system, or they're going to play at least a Sparkle before. I mean, at this point, like, do you need to rush out that much energy? I mean, you're taking a KO here regardless, but it looks like they're going to opt to get the 2 energy out. We'll see if they play it.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable to play it now. It gives you an option to boss KO the Crobat next turn. We know that this Meloetta is safe. We know that the Mew is safe. There's no bosses orders left from our opponent, as long as I counted that right on the 2 boss. And so these are all safe. All of these things are safe, and this is what I was talking about. It is so difficult when you give your opponent this perfect knowledge. They can play in such a perfect way that these things they wouldn't ordinarily do because they could easily get punished. They wouldn't take the risk, but there's no risk now. So these kind of plays are really difficult to deal with.
You go to Fusion Strike system for a full 6 right there. Cramomatic, Quick Ball, and Rose Tower. Some notable cards that were draw. Quick Ball, though, just probably going to thin a little bit.
And yeah, all of this kind of stems back. I mean, that's the thing. They don't need a whole lot. All of these turns just stem back to, the choice to replace their own path.
Yep,
it was giving Lee such a hard time that maybe they should have just said, well, I need to just give it a few more turns and hope. But now they're in such a bad spot. Lee's going to be able to Psychic Leap for the KO as well, removing all of this damage from the Mew VMAX, and there's no boss's orders to punish the Psychic Leap.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's right. We've forgotten that. So they use Techno Blast, so he's not able to attack this turn.
Attackless turn, yep.
That's right. So it's just going to have to be a retreat and pass, I think. So we tunneled so much. I wonder if Lee tunneled as well and forgot about the lock, but it doesn't really matter at this point.
Yeah, Arceus is stuck there. It's not going anywhere at all unless they find that turbo energy. I mean, it's not going anywhere, but that's still an easy 2 prize at any point in time to get knocked out.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
if he's attaching there, he's not attaching to Crobat.
Yep. And the Crobat it's so easy for it to get knocked out now. There's no way to deal with these fusion energies. And as soon as the Crobat either comes into the active or Lee is able to boss KO it, you can't help but think that that's pretty much game over.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There's the Urshifu V, and still not a whole lot going on. Once the Starbirth is used and there's no bench spots for Crobat, there's very little cards that Sylveon can draw. And they're kind of playing a very clunky kind of deck once all of these abilities have been used.
So Ultra Ball, Arceus is still going to be stuck active here. No other energy attached as well, so it's looking kind of like a flip game here, and I'm with you there. I think all this kind of was the root cause of that bump of the stadium. You know, got a little, didn't even get a KO from it either. It was just kind of more of like a wasted bump in a sense, like a wasted, like, you know, use of that Tower of Waters. So Lee's taking full advantage of that. Has a nice full board here. Gonna have to figure out a way to retreat. But once they're able to do that, it's going to be just moving along, getting the prizes.
Absolutely, and I think that this is where Lee probably needs to be looking at his opponent's discard pile, keeping track of things like Marnie, to decide whether to put down Rose Tower or not. But at this point, he has so much powered up that I don't even think a path would really do a whole lot to him. He needs to find a switch.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, played yet.
Genesect.
There's 2 Escape Rope and 2 Switch, and Escape Rope obviously is the one you do not want to play right now. We'll see what this Chromatic can get for them. Pokemon Catcher, okay, spreading the love.
He might just be trying to thin his hand down here. He knows he has Boss. He can also always finish off this Arceus with Glistening Droplets. He can always KO the Arceus as well, no matter where it is. There's an Escape Rope. That works quite well.
Yeah, because you need Escape Rope Boss or Escape Rope Catcher, so you're still in a good spot there as well if you wanted to still take the knockout on Arceus VSTAR.
For sure, and there's nothing really that he's too worried about to promote. He can KO anything he wants.
One of you is like use kind of like Boss and Octillery and just like Glistening Droplets the rest of the game just cause, you know, because they can't retreat. What are they gonna?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd be pretty happy. I mean, you probably just KO the Sylveon if you can here. I think you draw a couple cards, see what happens. But is he going to coin flip the coin flip card away? Let's see.
There you go.
I think he is. He's looking for a choice belt.
Oh, never.
Okay.
Punished. Never punished.
There it is. He's looking for a choice belt. And so now, let's see if he chooses to take out the Crobat or the Sylveon.
I mean, I'm assuming the Crobat, because Sylveon, I mean, if you could find, I mean, the other Mew's already evolved, but aside from the Sylveon, I guess Sylveon's the only threat right now with Crobat only having 2 energy.
Yeah, I mean, there always is the Melanie, but he might be through 2 Melanie, and so that may not be an issue here.
Yep.
Let's have a look. Okay. Now, it's interesting that he's choosing to attack with the Mew with the double fusion energy rather than the damaged one now. Of course, the damaged one would give up 3 prizes, but it would keep all of these modifiers on the board for Lee. Just the damage cap really high. But I think he's saying, well, you've got 3 cards in hand. Surely there's no way to
nothing
Melanie
you
attach.
can do here.
Yeah, for sure.
So Cross Fusion Strike lets you use any of your bench Fusion Strike's Pokemon's attacks and use it. Very powerful mechanic. And we're going to see Meloetta and Choice Belt be able to do 310 for the KO.
That's it.
And grabs a switch too.
Now let's have a look at the Melanie count. There is a Melanie left, so he could easily go Melanie plus Dark Energy. And then Lee might be in trouble. Let's see. It is a lot to ask for.
I mean, Remote Crobat, maybe they already have it. Oh, Dark Acid again.
Okay.
It is a 2-1 line. Do we get the Melanie? It was a slap down the board. Oh, it got it!
Okay.
Is there a
Has Lee been punished? Is there a Dark Energy?
Oh, is there a Dark Energy?
No way.
There's a Dark Energy!
Lee has been punished here. This is where if he attacked with the damaged Mew, the game would be over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So
now there's no way to respond to this Crobat. And another path as well.
Oh, no. What a flip. You called that one right there. The
goodness.
damaged one would have been... Oh, that is...
Yeah.
Tough.
Or you take out
VMAX.
the Crobat alternatively. Yeah, you could take it out, but... Oh my goodness.
even with the modifier from Oricorio, still not enough to hold back Max Cutter doing that 340 damage.
Yeah, there it is. All right, now we have to think of a way out. There is one.
Okay.
I think that Lee can definitely still win. So, maybe not actually. He's down 2 bots. Okay, it's all on this catcher flip. The game rides on the catcher flip. He can catcher the Ditto, attach a belt, and deal 170 with Melodious Echo, and then the following turn he can just Glistening Droplets the Arceus. And so the entire game relies on the catcher. And let's see what he's going to do. The rope helps a lot as well. The rope will help.
Yeah, yeah, sure, because you got to find another way to... I mean, either way, someone's going to get knocked out, so let's see what Adam decides on. This is spicy finish right now. Adam having to decide what they're going to bring up, which to us is no... Okay.
Yeah, that is probably correct to bring up.
There
and
we
it's
go.
all on this catcher flip.
This is crazy. Man, I feel like do you wait till you make sure you get the flip before you test the choice belt?
Yeah, absolutely you do. I mean, it doesn't really, the game's kind of over no matter what based on the flip, but I mean, maybe not entirely. But let's see. Maybe he does not see it.
Yeah. Huh.
Okay. This gives the opportunity for the Ditto to transform now. And put it out of range of belt. So, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a chance for that. I mean, you still have, because even with the belt, you can't knock out Crobat. You have to go after the Ditto V. So,
well, there's actually possibilities going for deck out here rather than winning on the catcher flip. He could be trying to use the catcher flip to stall something, but I don't think that'll work. I think there's too many double turbo and rapid strike energy left. Yeah, there's way too many left for that to work.
Gonna be able to easy retreat
so that's what he was trying to do there. He's trying to buy enough time with all of these things, and actually what he's doing is that Genesect is going to be able to tank a hit from Crobat, most likely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But maybe he should have gone for that before using the Oricorio, because the Oricorio's damage reduction is really important. Now he still can win with his catcher flip route. So he may just have to opt for that now. Oh, we just hit time apparently. Apparently it's time in the round.
Uh-oh. Let's see here.
Okay. Tails!
Tough.
There is the flip on the catcher, and that is Tails. So now that could be it. There's one choice belt in Adam's deck. But Lee could potentially try and stall with these Genesects and see if he can buy himself a whole lot of turns.
Yeah, I guess like save for the tie.
There's the Meloetta.
Well, if they do a little bit of damage now with Meloetta, they can Technical Blast the next turn for KO. Assuming
that seems to be the way to do it. Okay.
So
is that 3 turns? Or... No.
Yeah.
Okay, it ends in a tie.
This round's going to end in a tie. Unfortunately, time just ran out, so we're not going to see the conclusion of this game. It didn't seem like Adam was on their way to seal the victory. But the clock is sometimes a third opponent on the game, and they can win sometimes. So we're going to see a tie here from these two players, but not out of the tournament yet. They still both have very, very powerful records for the remainder of the tournament.
Absolutely, and we saw a very uneventful game turned quite interesting. A couple interesting kind of decisions. One opponent to the path we got rid of it. It was taking too long. It was hindering both players, and so we chose to get rid of it. We saw the impact that it had. Lee was able to get really aggressive, but then chose the riskier route, and then that Crobat VMAX started really going to town.
Yeah. Started reeling in. It's a tad bit too late, but it was still a great match. That game kind of started out really slow. Like, it was a marathon type of a game right there. You kind of had to be slow and steady to get to the finish, and unfortunately, we couldn't get to the finish on that match. But still very close. It was very cool to see another new addition to the meta with a Crobat VMAX. That's very spicy, I feel, as your nice little counter from you VMAX. But overall thoughts on the match? How do you think it went?
I think it was cool. Those kind of matches are really hard to play. Like, it's so easy to sit here and be like, yeah, you shouldn't have played the path, but you're in that situation where you're dead drawing from the path, and so is your opponent, and you think, oh, well, if I wait another turn, what if they top deck out of it? And then I've lost tempo. And so do I just go for it now, bump the path, and start getting aggressive and, guarantee that I'm going to, have kind of the advantage in tempo? I think that given the loss of resources with the boss's orders and the switches, it ended up being a little bit too aggressive. But you can see where they're standing, because trying to sit there and say they're not going to draw the out next turn.
Yeah.
No way. It's so, your
Yeah.
anxiety just goes off. So it's a tough decision.
So it looks like round 8 has started, because that was the last match to go. So we're gonna pause here real quick, do a quick transition to casters, then we're gonna hop right into our next match.
Yep. I will catch you guys later. I'm dumping out for a bit. Have a great time.
Welcome back here. We're in round 8, going right down to the action. It looks like it's Katron again. Yes, we have Katron again, and we're gonna have that spicy Arceus deck going up against Mew Genesect.
Well, I'm glad to be back, and I've been thrown right into the fire. There's a lot going on here. I am back for another one of Michael Katron's games with this very cool Arceus deck, which now it'll be very interesting to see how this deck actually deals with the Mew VMAX deck, because, the biggest question is, what can the Arceus deck do if it gets knocked out on the first turn? And it looks like this Mew VMAX deck has already gotten the Alessa Sparkle off, 2 Fusion Strike into play. I don't know if they played a tablet or not. I was not watching. There's a tablet. And with one more Fusion Energy attachment, we're going to see a knockout right away, which is so scary.
That's insane. We do see here Katron is 1-1 so far against the Mew deck, so there is, some sort of route there. Or so far he did pull off one match, but we have one loss here. No hand now. We're going to see a Fusion Strike system and draw them up to 6 cards. Probably the Rose Tower first and dig a little bit more. And we'll see what the advance here with their Ultra Ball. They're going to get another Genesect, a Mew, or a Choreo maybe, and they opt for another Genesect V.
Yeah. Now we're going to see the draw. This is kind of the doer. As a Mew deck, you're completely committing to the play, right? Like if you get this play off, you're so far ahead. Even if the Arceus comes up and knocks out this Meloetta the next turn, you are pretty much big chilling. There's a Crobat for 2 free prizes on the bench already as well. All you need to do is either knock out one of this V-Stars or, you just have to knock out one of the V-Stars. It's pretty much as easy as it is,
Easy money there. We don't see another energy down just yet. We're going to see another Fusion Strike system. We're going to draw them up to 6 cards. Drawing one each additional card for each Fusion Strike Pokemon to play. Still no energy attachment to the active yet. I wonder if they just missed it.
I am very excited to see how this turn goes. We are digging very deep. I don't know if they have it yet. It looks like they don't. If with other 2 tablets, however, you could do this with a Psychic Energy. It's just a little worse to do that because, you're committing a lot of tablets that you won't be able to use for this Arceus V-Star later. And we do see that this Mew VX list is only playing 2 double turbos.
And
they missed
on the energy.
Oh my god.
Katron gets to bleed a little bit. Tails on the catcher. They've been a little unlucky streak these past 2 streams here. Arceus V-Star down, and we're going to see a research. Training court the bump.
Okay. For Katron, what he wants to, or they want to do right here is get this Arceus V-Star up and running, get the attack off, and maybe in an ideal world you find a rope and get a 2-prizer off the back. And there is a rope. We see that. We have the
nice.
We have the Starbirth to get the double turbo energy, as well as the belt, which would guarantee a 2-prize knockout here, and that actually would put Katron ahead in terms of tempo. And all Katron would have to do really is to, start accelerating. I think ideally you probably want a quick ball for the Hoopa. I think he was looking for that Mew there. I think that's what he wanted. But it's still not the end of the world. You can still get a Hoopa here. Set up the Hoopa V, get the Starbirth to grab yourself the Choice Belt and the double turbo here, guaranteeing yourself 2 prizes at the very least, and then a quick ball for a Hoopa. I don't know if I saw it on the deck. He scrolled by pretty quickly.
He has 2 options there. You have the Hoopa, which I think is the more ideal option, but you also have Galarian Moltres. Oh, that's the baby Galarian Moltres. So
that's the baby one.
So that's the baby one. So never mind. Hoopa V would definitely be more ideal.
The baby one in the end of the game will definitely make a difference. It's just,
We saw earlier that doing 70 damage early with the Fiery Wrath is not usually that ideal, but we didn't see the Quick Ball or the Ultra Ball coming down, and looks like they might just load up the Ditto.
Yep, it looks like they're going to go for a Ditto play here, because the Ditto can become any of the V Pokemon that are in the deck, which is pretty amazing. And I guess maybe committing to the Hoopa early is a little bit of a tell. There is a Shaman in hand, so what Michael might be thinking is maybe I can bounce this into a Shaman, go into a V-Star, and potentially cheese a prize somewhere in here, which the
Beat me
grass
to the
energy.
punch.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. There's the Hoopa in the hand now. So I guess it was prized. Now we've got two options. We got two options to play off of the Ultra Ball into the Ditto
That's true.
play. Maybe
Kinda like that.
could even just put the Hoopa down if this Arceus does not go down this turn. There's a rope, so this Arceus is not going down this turn, and I don't know. I think you
just send him to Crobat. I was thinking, yeah,
send him to his doom, his gloom, whatever. It's gone. Sayonara, sweet prince.
Do see a quick switch to a UV Rose Tower for 3. Cramomat, we got some flips going on. Oh, but they're lucky on their side. Gonna be able to search their deck for a card. Grookey Coin 2, good choice.
I mean, now we already see the boss, which makes this so much more painful to watch from our perspective.
Yeah.
There's a boss with a Ditto, so that is something.
Look at Hoopa.
Mew is keeping the tempo up, but what Michael can do the next turn is just put this Hoopa down manually and start powering it up. And 220 is a little bit of an awkward number for Mew to get to. So we're going to see how that plays out for Michael. The Oricorio was in the Mew VMAX's players list, but it has already hit the discard, I believe. So that damage mitigation is also gone from anything that this Moltres can do of that nature.
Did see another Fusion Strike system there. Going to draw them with 5 cards. Only got 5 Fusion Strikes in play. There is going to be a KO with Techno Blast more than likely on this Ditto V. Going to bring him down to 4 prizes. And we'll see how Tate responds, whether he's going to bring up the Arceus V-Star or maybe just find energy for the Arceus V. We'll see which way they go with it.
Looks like the most ideal play here would probably be to start chasing the 2-2-2. Just like look for another boss play. And K-Tron is very heavy catchers here, right? So like ordinary rotting back this Ditto seems super okay. You have the option there. We don't want that second Arceus for sure. We already have a bunch. We already have one in play established. Getting the grass back and the dark back seems perfectly okay here as well. And thinning a little bit here. I don't know what the perfect card to thin here is. Maybe just a Shaman getting the Ditto. And then I think what Michael is going to try to do here is bench the Hoopa and put 2 energy on one and 1 energy on the other, giving
while bossing a Genesect.
While bossing a Genesect, giving 2 different outs from you to boss that they can't. And then next turn, if Michael's Arceus is not going to go down, which it's not, we can pretty much look for a catcher for the game in the upcoming turn as well.
I think that's almost like it's like very close to like a checkmate play. You probably put 2 dark on the Hoopa and 1 on the Ditto and grass on the Ditto. And either way, even if you like KO the Hoopa, you can Ditto V the Hoopa back if you want to. But now you're even setting up Shaman for the Revenge Blast attack. So this is it's a good little checkmate move here. And I'm curious how the Mew Genesis is going to respond here.
Absolutely. I mean, I think if you're the Mew player, you're in a very risky spot, a little bit of a rough spot. I don't know what you can do in this position. I think your best play is to probably boss again if possible and take out the Hoopa. And I think you have to hope, hey, Michael only plays 1 copy of Boss's Order. So maybe this catcher is going to be a Tails. Maybe they don't have the baby.
That's 2 more catchers.
Yeah, maybe they don't have the Moltres in their hand. Maybe they don't have the package. Because the Starbirth combo is gone now. So you're maybe thinking, maybe they don't have the Raihan. It's a lot of maybes. And we can see in Michael's hand, he's already got the Ultra Ball, which will net him this Luminion, which will give him the Raihan, which will then give him the game. But, it's a lot of maybes.
A lot of maybes.
You gotta think about the maybes. Technically, if the maybe pays off for 1 turn, you can win as Mew.
Can win. It's a far stretch right now. I'm almost thinking K-Tron's going to move on to top 16. But we'll see how this moves on. Or Mew's on. That was a real bad take. Shouldn't have said that. It was just right there for the taking.
It was.
Mew's still kind of pondering over. There's the boss's orders on the Ditto.
Ditto, interesting.
I'm with you. I feel like the Hoopa's like more of a threat because even if you were to, try to Ditto V the Hoopa back, you still got to get 2 energy on it.
Yeah, I think
which with Raihan, yes.
Looks like the energy was probably missed here, or like the damage numbers are probably too low. Because I think our Mew player is probably going to come in with the Meloetta and try to take this knockout and say, hey, you need to find a Gust card, guaranteed, and there's no guaranteed Gust in Michael's deck. I don't like that benching, however, because now a rope will seal the deal. If our Mew player left a spot open at the very least for a Meloetta, I don't know if it's prize or whatever. They do have only 5 cards in deck, so maybe we've already seen the Meloetta, and I'm just misspeaking here. Nope, it's not in the discard. It looks like
On this
perfect.
card, I was surprised.
It must be prized, I guess, because grabbing a Meloetta there also makes you rope proof and gives you a
Okay.
chance now. But now Katron needs to find either a rope, a gusting card, basically anything wins. Like a rope or a gusting card wins in this game. So I think it's going to be a lot of thinning here.
Top
The
deck to
Raihan
Raihan.
doesn't do it because you need to find a catcher, and that's not a
Yeah.
guaranteed gust. So we'll go ahead and grab.
I think we're both
Oh,
catchers still
he
in the
gets the
deck.
rope. He gets the rope, right? Raihan just gets the rope, and it's over. He sees the ropes in the deck. That should be it.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
it. Yeah, good call there. Yep. So we're gonna see there Raihan attached to whatever they feel like, and they're gonna grab the escape rope.
Yeah.
And gonna be able to take the knockout.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if the
Either
new VMAX
Arceus
comes up. It doesn't matter if the
or Hoopa.
Yep. And
There
it
we
was
go.
honestly a lot closer than I thought it would be. Even though the Mew player missed a bunch of turns, like a lot of misses happened from the Mew players. It was a lot closer than I wanted it to be, which is a lot. It's telling of Mew VMAX as a deck, how crazy powerful it is, how crazy good it is in a vacuum or whatever like of that nature. But a very quick match, and I believe that means Michael gets to move on, right?
Yeah, Michael moves to 7-1. I would like to think that with only one more round going and only one loss, I'm pretty sure you could probably tie the last round and go into top 16. I think 7-1 is more than likely safe. So I'm sure we'll see that spicy deck again at some point in this tournament, maybe on stream or we'll see the results there. But that was a fantastic match. I'm very happy we got to see that Arceus deck again with the different tools, and this time we got to see with Hoopa V. So that was a cool little nod to that card as well. I think the new player is still in it. I'm going to try to pull the record real quick. Well, they dropped to 6-3, so 6-2. So I think they still got a. We just got noted that Luke's mom is 7-1, so it looks like she will be guaranteed as well. So
Jolteon's dead,
kudos
am I right?
there. Jolteon is out here taking names. Any last thoughts, Rahul, before we slide on over to close this round out before we head to round 9?
Absolutely great round. Now we're going to the do or die rounds, and Jeff and I will both be stepping out for that round, but you'll see us both back at Top Cut. So,
hey everybody, welcome back to Celio Stats 3. We're here in round 9 of Swiss. So this is actually going to be our final round of Swiss today, and then we're going to see how the standings shake out for everybody getting into Top Cut. I'm Tate Whitesell, jumping on for Rahul just for one round. Lindsay's with me, so do you want to introduce the matchup, Lindsay, and give us a little backstory on this round here?
What's up, everybody? I am back. I hate to tell you guys, we are going to be watching Mew VMAX versus Mew VMAX.
Hey,
all right, we're double we're double Mew VMAX here. Okay.
It's only the most popular deck in the meta by like 14 percentage points or something, so a little expected, I guess. But yeah, both these players are 6'2". We're going to be looking from the perspective of Justin Stites, and this is actually super exciting because Justin was the champion of the first ever Celio Stats tournament. So this is going to be his last chance today to try to make it into Top Cut and actually defend his title, maybe come away with a second Celio Stats win. So we'll see how this goes for him in the Mew VMAX mirror.
There's a couple interesting differences between their deck lists. So the opponent, I'm going to call him Jari, that's his first name. Mm-hmm. He is running, you guys, he has a Pal Pad in his Mew list. He has a Pal Pad. He's got the horn.
Yeah.
He's rocking a 3 tower, which is, that's I feel like a little bit risky right now with the stadium battle going on, but I mean, he's running the Pal Pad. He's got the odd number of crams there, the 3 crams.
Yeah, Lindsay knows a thing or two about Pal Pad for sure.
Definitely a big fan of the Pal Pad. Big fan.
Well, this is a great, I mean, if Justin wants to get ahead on defending his Celio Stats title, it's a pretty good start to this win and in for him as he's hitting the double VIP pass going first, which is just about the best possible start you can ask for as a Mew player. Opens Genesect, but has the switch into the Mew here as well. Double Mew on the board, so he's even
and
safe against right. I mean, just hitting everything here.
I mean, Mew things just doing Mew things against the Mew deck. I mean, we'll see if Jar is able to get a similar startup.
Yeah, I mean, in this Mew mirror, we know that like, okay, Mew going second, you're able to sometimes pop off, get that Meloetta for 210 damage or even more. Having this double Mew V in play for Justin is going to be able to play around that a little bit, where even if Jari gets that big turn 1 KO, Justin can just respond with a KO of his own and maybe have a little bit of a more stable board setup.
What's interesting is Jari is only running 3 of the switching cards. So they're running 2 switch and 1 escape rope. So I'm
Mhm.
wondering if that has been an issue for him, or if we're going to see, and I don't think we're going to see much of an issue with it with this matchup, but that is interesting, running just the 2 switch and 1 escape rope. I know most Mews at this point are running at least 4 of these switching like cards.
Yeah, I mean, probably a meta call cutting down, to one escape rope, expecting a little bit less wheezing, which does look like it was a smart call for today, as wheezing's not in the top 5 decks in the meta for today, so it does make a little sense. I mean, we've seen people maybe going back up from 3 to 4 stadiums in Mew to adjust to some more path decks being in the meta today. So definitely some different takes on Mew for sure. And the
Battle
turn 1
VIP.
VIP, yeah, both these players. We'll see if Jari has the second copy, though. I mean, huge turn 1 for Justin having 2 in his opening hand.
I mean, who's going to do more Mew things faster? Who's going to Mew the Mew faster?
Pretty much the story of the matchup.
Mew
I
doing the Mew
always
things.
I always do find it a little interesting. I mean, people like to complain about, the mirror match between whatever the top tier deck is in any format, and normally stuff like, ADP mirror, not the most fun match of all time. Mew's not great either, but there are sometimes a couple of like little micro decisions or small plays that can come up that can separate, the top players from the rest of the crowd. So it'll be interesting to see if we run into any of those scenarios where like, you can make some off the wall kinds of plays with Mew occasionally.
Right. And I'm wondering if Justin's going to go and have the Oricorio. The Oricorio helps a little bit in this matchup, right? Having that Oricorio in the Mew mirror.
Yeah, I mean, can just, ensure you a little bit against power tablets math if one of these players really wants to stack up a bunch of power tablets for a one shot on any given turn.
Speaking of the bird.
Yeah, there you go. But no bench space for it here, so Justin's gonna have to suffer at least 1 KO before that Oricorio could end up hitting the board. However,
Like
this is
Justin's
this
going to
is
get the first
good.
hit. Yeah, Justin's going to
Yeah.
get that first hit there. We have all 4 fusion energies too.
Yeah, it's always important to note for sure. Uh, see what Justin decides to do. He's facing an interesting decision of whether he wants to Ultra Ball here to thin out the hand. He's going to decide not to. Um, I like this. I mean, just seeing those 2 cards, the VIP pass, obviously not something you ever want past turn 1, so that can just get Ultra Balled away. And he's still going to have another Fusion Strike system here to see a bunch more cards this turn.
Guarantees the other VMAX as well.
Ooh, this could be a big Cramomatic flip. Get rid of the Fog Crystal. Big flip. And it is Tails.
And Tails never fails.
All right.
Oh yeah, he has 1 more Fusion Strike system there.
Yeah,
Wow, getting that last. He has a fully powered Mew, fully powered Meloetta.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely just Mew things happening.
All right, I like this approach from Justin. He is going to basically sacrifice the Meloetta here, which means sacrificing 2 Fusion Strike energy, but he is taking a 2-prize knockout there, and that means he is going to have the trades for the rest of this game if he wants to just try to boss those 2 remaining Genesects on Jari's bench. That could be where his last 4 prizes come from, right? Just Technoblast a Genesect, Technoblast another Genesect, and there's your win.
And he is running the 3 Psychic energy, and with the 1 double turbo, it looks like his opponent Jari is running 2 double turbo, but 1 Psychic. The Jari's not running any training court, so I think he is going to have to rely a little bit on Justin putting out his training court to get that Psychic energy back if it ever happens to get discarded.
Right, which was something I didn't point out last turn, but a really disciplined play from Justin, where I think a lot of players would have just dropped that training court to maybe draw that 3rd card off a Fusion Strike system. Justin decided to just hold on to it and only draw 2 cards. And that's just preventing Jari from getting that resource back. Yeah, because he saw that Psychic was in discard, and he knows that the training court wasn't doing him any favors on that turn, so why give Jari that extra advantage to try to make a comeback in this game?
Right. Yeah. Very, very, very smart play from Justin. Ooh, Magnum
It
coughed in the mic.
it is gonna maybe lead to a bit of an issue on this coming turn where, Mew sometimes can have this hand that's clogged up with stadiums, and so obviously Justin not able to play this Rose Tower here because Jari's Rose Tower's in play, would have to play the training court and then would kind of have this other stadium stuck in his hands. So might be looking for, does have a Cram-O-Matic here. The Cram-O-Matic's helpful to thin some cards out of the hand, could thin that Rose Tower. And then maybe looking for an Ultra Ball or something, because I think Justin's really
He
want to
would.
be drawing into a boss here.
He would only be able to cram any of those, the power
Or sorry,
tablets.
the tablets, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he gets another Ultra Ball or maybe
Ooh,
a Quick Ball to
well,
try to
this,
discard it.
I mean, this for Justin, he has
He does
triple
have three.
tablets in
Yeah, he does have
hand.
3 tablets in hand.
So actually, that is a pretty, actually just gonna Chromatic here. All right. I respect it. Just going for.
He's going for the 280 Meloetta play.
Oh, I see. So just going for the 280.
310.
Yeah. Right.
Wow.
So with all 4 Fusion Strike energy in play here, Meloetta dealing 280 damage. Choice Band gonna take that up to 310, like you said, Lindsay, and that means Justin gets to conserve these power tablets for a later turn, which is really good, right? I mean,
that was
Technoblast
actually a great play.
actually a brilliant play from Justin, because if you notice, all the math is set up for Justin to knock out anything that could possibly be in the active this turn, right? Choice Band or Choice Belt gets up to 240 with Technoblast. Add those 2 power tablets, and you're in the range there for Mew. So
yeah, I mean, he has game, just the opponent doesn't know he's sitting on those 2 power tablets.
But also that would add up to 300. That's my mistake. So he, would just be a bit short. Would need either the 3rd power tablets.
But he does have the cram in hand.
Right. So, and the thing with that is that Justin has multiple routes to win here, obviously, because
Oh,
Cram can
bad.
just grab boss.
Sorry, I got excited.
It's okay. The Pal Pad seeing a little bit of play here. You gotta get hyped.
Pal Pad and Mew, be able to get back like another Sparkle or a boss late game.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
interesting.
yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
It does make sense.
We've seen Mew, playing a lot more Pokemon Catcher, at least early in this format. Recently, that's kind of been the new style for playing Mew. But Palpad to just basically have 6 boss if you want to is also something that makes sense, and it's a card that you can thin with Cram-O-Matic too.
Yeah, and early game you can discard a lot of your hand with Ultra Ball and not have to worry about the possibility of losing those bosses or Sparkles. You can get them back later with Palpad. Actually, kind of interesting.
All right, but getting back into the game here, we see this thinning from Jari, quick ball away the VIP pass, just get that hand as low down as possible, right? I mean, no hand disruption in these Mew lists, pretty rare, like maybe an occasional copy of Marnie in Mew lists, but mostly it's just like whatever Justin's got in his hand right now, he's going to keep, and if that's game, then it's game. So Jari's just going to play to his outs here, try to find like the best possible route or the least likely way that Justin can come away with this game, but I mean, take a look at the prize count. 6 prizes on one side, 1 prize left for Justin, and he's got a way to take that on his next turn. So,
right. Okay, so he is going to go for the Mew VMAX knockout, but I mean, it's a very big possibility.
Right. Yeah, I mean, all that Justin needs here is a Cram-O-Matic flip, and that can get either a boss or just a 3rd power tablet, and either one of those is going to seal up the game. So,
right.
We'll see. I mean, big flip there. We'll see how this goes for Justin. And even if that's a Tails, plenty of ways to thin out this hand and Fusion Strike system into whatever.
Slowly, one by one. Oh,
Tails,
but
right.
still
able
to draw.
Plenty of cards still to draw. Just needs a boss or another tablet.
There we are.
There's the boss. So that's going to seal it up. Justin Stites advances now to 7-2. So technically speaking, not a lock for top cut. It's going to depend on what his resistance looks like. But hopefully he's able to carry this into a top 16 showing and maybe make a repeat run at that Celio Stats champion spot. So what do you think? I mean, pretty exciting.
Yeah, the Mew Mirror match is always interesting to watch, but it's crazy to think about. You can hit he hit tails on the last 2 crams, right? And
Yeah,
it's crazy if you don't get what you need, you can still draw for however many cards and pretty much get what you need almost every single time. Like Mew's just
right.
biggity busted.
And we saw, I mean, that's a great game for people to go back and watch if they want some tips on playing the Mew matchup because, Justin made a lot of really intelligent plays that we tried to point out that I think a lot of people would have missed. Holding on to resources in hand when you don't want to play them down to benefit your opponent or when you think you might need them later. Just like being really, really passive in that sort of way, but it paid off for him big time in the late game when he just had everything he needed in hand to close up the game.
Exactly. I agree. Very interesting match indeed. The Mew Mirror is always a fun one, right?
So we're getting close to wrapping up our round 9 of Swiss here, and that means we're going to be moving into top 16. For those who missed their tournament structure today, we're doing top 16 or 22 match points, whichever is larger, but it's looking like it is going to be that top 16. So 7-1-1 is locked for cut, and then a couple of 7-2s with really good resistance are going to squeak in on the bubble. So hopefully Justin's one of those, but he'll just have to wait and see. And we'll be back shortly with our top cut of Celio Stats number 3.
We will be streaming Marco's match. He's playing the Hoopa, Galarian, Moltres, Sableye deck. So that'll be a really interesting match to see who he will be up against in the top 16.
Like Marco's gonna be playing against a Mew Genesect deck. Mew Genesect deck, is actually your favorite, the one with the Pal Pad. They're actually
That Pal Pad putting in the work.
Pal Pad is here. We're still waiting for the players to get set up. So while we'll do that, we'll talk about this matchup a little bit here. Your typical Mew list: 4-3 Mew line, 4 Genesect, 2 Meloetta with the Oricorio, and then is opting for the Chromatic Battle VIP line. But everything else kind of standard outside of that Pal Pad, which you noted earlier. And it seems like pretty straightforward Mew decks. Do you want to talk about Marco's list at all?
Yeah, we can look at Marco's. I'm still just stuck on that Pal Pad. That Pal Pad's throwing me off a little bit. Let me pull up his list here. So he has the pretty typical Hoopa deck. The one Zigzagoon we watched earlier, that one Zigzagoon ping actually got him enough damage to win the game on that one. So that was a really exciting match to watch. And the Galarian Zapdos V, that's just such a good card right now. I mean, it's such a good attacker in the meta right now.
Very interesting to me, and we're about to head down to the action, but I just want to note that I think it's very interesting to me that a card as powerful as Arceus is still, being played as high as it is, even with a hard counter as Zapdos. Now, there are ways to play around it. You don't overbench your Vs and stuff to, offset the Zapdos ability, but still, it's very interesting to me that, even though with that powerful card like Zapdos, Arceus is still running rampant in the meta, and we are going to go down to the action.
Starting with the Moltres is never ideal, but I mean, at least, he's running the scoop up nets. It's not stuck up there forever. But his hand, so he's going second here. And I'm wondering if he's going to want to get rid of his Raihan and Boss early in the game like this. Looking like he might not have much of a choice, though.
Might not have much of a choice. The hand looks a little weak right now. You're going to do a quick ball, at least get something. Possibly put something that you could put a choice fan onto, and then, I think we're going to see the Raihan and Boss go down. Look at the list. There is another Raihan, and there is another Boss, at least 4 later on in the game. So it could be a game to where they're going to deal with what's in front of them versus chasing.
Right. I mean, yeah, especially going against Mew, you really can't risk playing slow and playing safe. You just kind of have to go for what you have available to you.
Throughout the back, we do see a Battle VIP pass. That card can only be played on your first turn, which works really well with the Mew deck, being able to draw so many cards your first turn through these Genesect V and have the option to potentially hit 1 of 4 of these later on, just making them discard fodder.
I'll say that having Oricorio as the Mew player is actually kind of big in this matchup, especially with Hoopa. Now Hoopa's not able to one-hit knock out Meloetta.
Very good point there. Reducing that damage by 20. He's going to throw off that math a fair bit there. Fusion Strike energy to the bench Mew V. We have seen 1 Fusion Strike system so far, but not much else. Now, it is the first turn. You cannot play supporter, so that could be a little bit as well as what we're seeing here. But we're probably going to see a pass here just very shortly. Yep, there it is.
And, even thinking about it, putting a choice belt on the Hoopa could actually fix that damage.
Very good point there.
That could also fix that damage.
Looks like they're going to opt to get a Sobble here. Doing a quick little prize check. Looks like the whole line was there. I didn't see how many Sabo was there. Possibly one quick ball prized.
He did prize one of his energy searches. I don't think that'll be too much of an issue for him.
Yeah, I like going for the Sabo. I mean, Sabo's always a safe grab, right? It's like, especially with these Inteleon decks, it's always a safe grab. Even if you don't know what you want right away, it is always a safe grab. Just be able to have that Sabo in the background to shady dealings, hopefully the next turn. And
He
get a
does
little
have
bit
his
of tempo
other
going.
boss. He has
Okay.
his other boss in Raihan in deck, so he feels better researching this handily. So he's probably going to go for the keep calling with that choice belt.
I mean, put it somewhere. You never know. You what's Sabo's second attack? You might be able to, it's double spin. Get 70 damage on a Mew. Could be useful.
Oh, I hope we get to see that.
We do see
Yeah.
just keep up net to retreat the Moltres, and like you said, keep calling.
Keep
You're gonna
calling.
load up right here. Which honestly, this hand does not look half bad. You have the Raihan. This Sabo gets knocked out. There will be a dark energy in the discard pile as well if you decide you want to set up on something. There's a little bit of versatility in Marco's hand.
Yeah, and having access to the 2 shady dealings as well, he can kind of get set up a little bit easier.
You see an Ultra Ball. I saw Power Tablet. I didn't see what the other card that was discarded, but we are going to get that Meloetta. Hopefully try to offset that prize trade a little bit. Still only 1 fusion energy down, and there's a Rose Tower, and there's a List Sparkle to get the other 2 fusion energies.
Yeah, so it looks like the Mew player is going to need a way to switch out here. They are running 2 switch to escape rope, which that would be unfortunate if they hit the escape. Oh, I spoke too soon. No.
Yep, right there.
So maybe he can just opt for scooping up the Sabo that he puts in the active, maybe after using the shady dealings just to get that energy in the discard pile for a Raihan.
One way to work around it. We'll see what the opt here. So looking at Marco's list, there's not a way right off. I mean, you could ping a Zigzagoon, but that's still not enough damage on the Mew to really go after like Sableye for the KO. Hoopa here with the choice, can still hit. 180, but that's still not enough to do, any kind of KO here. So it's more than likely not going to be a knockout on this Mew this next turn. But we'll see. Maybe Marco could pull
He's
something
setting
out.
up the Genesect too. He's setting up that Genesect to be a possible attacker.
I mean, it's tanky, and it's only 2 prizes versus the 3, so it could be another way around it versus settling for the 2 knockouts with Mew VMAX.
Right, and plus the dark advantage of the Moltres there is you're not as worried as getting the knockout at least earlier here. What they would need to take 4 prizes in order to get the knockout on the Genesect? 220, yeah. So it would need a choice belt because of Oricorio.
Oricorio, yep.
Oh, that Oricorio math is so big in this matchup.
And unfortunately, that choice belt is not going anywhere else. That is the only one they play in their list. So that Oricorio math is going to be sticking around for the remainder of the game. Unless, this turns into the Sword and Shield Inteleon, but I don't think they play any water energy, so that's not going to happen.
Right, yeah, that one choice belt on the Drizz. So yeah. I'm wondering if they're going to go for the Moltres play here.
The Moltres right now on the Mew with only 1 prize taken would do 70 damage times 2, 140, but you have the reduction. So, and I believe it's the reduction before weakness.
Yes, before weakness, I believe.
Yeah, so it's going to just kind of pretty much tickle Mew right now. It's not going to do a lot of damage, but it adds up.
Yeah, and they could just Psychic Leap with having the Mew V on the bench. You could just leap of faith right out of there.
So not a lot going on right now, but when we watched the Darkbox player before, and they had a little bit of a slow start similar to this, and where a lot of the chip damage at the beginning, and they're able to pull it out at the end because of how much damage is ramped up through Moltres, and then if you get the damage counters on there, Sableye is going to be able to do a lot of damage as well. So we'll see if they can come back from this. There definitely are outs. They need a little bit more going for them right now. Level Ball is going to search for the Drizzle. Going to do another shady dealings.
I do really like Galarian Zapdos V as an attacker in this matchup, but I'm not sure if he wants to sacrifice the possibility of them getting the 2 prize knockout on it. I mean, being able to discard the special energy can be really big, but again, do we want to risk putting out a 2 prizer just to get more than likely knocked out?
I mean, you can do something interesting, like if Genesect looks like it's going to be the route. And I believe that's all 4 fusion energy out right now. I'm not sure where that 4th actually. I don't know what that 4th energy is.
I think that's a double turbo over on the Genesect.
Okay. So you could boss something up and use the Zapdos to just take out the energy options. Could be something there, but we do see the Raihan going to the Hoopa, putting another dark in hand. Maybe
You know,
We'll
it
see.
actually would be good to use the Zapdos maybe to boss up the Genesect to get the damage and to get an energy in the discard pile. The Mew player does run 2 double turbo,
Okay.
but then that Genesect would either need one of your switch cards or I mean attach another energy and manually retreat, but that doesn't even sound like a good idea either. So
Still a power tablet coming down. I think they're going to be looking for the leap play here just to go ahead and heal this damage off and send Hoopa to the discard pile there. So a tough to deal with there. And Genesect is now loaded and ready to go. Fusion Strike system going to draw them up to 6 cards with the 6 Fusion Strike Pokemon in play. And it's looking a little bleak here for Marco right now.
yeah, very interesting. It is interesting that this Mew player is also only running the 1 Psychic Energy, which is why we do see the 2 Fusion Energy and the double turbo on the Genesect, because I assume he's going to be wanting to save that 1 Psychic Energy and it's not in the discard pile, so definitely want to save that 1 Psychic Energy for either Mew or Meloetta. Ooh.
Yep, bosses up there. We're going to start just narrowing down these shady dealings, which honestly, I guess, like, why wouldn't you still just take out the Hoopa? But I guess you want to avoid the option of being able to have so many shady dealings. But that's still 2 Inteleon right there on the board that can double shady dealings to get what they want. So, and it's net in hand. So this could be a good little turnaround turn here for Marco.
Yeah, I'm putting up that Genesect as a buffer. Man, that Oricorio is really messing up the math on this matchup.
Agreed. Even Moltres right now is only going to do 120 damage, and now you take the Oricorio away, it's only 100 damage, so that's not doing much at all right now. And there's nothing really.
It could knock out the Mew V if he gets the boss, but which wouldn't be a bad idea actually.
Yeah, you could like get a boss and possibly start saving your next attacker, whether that be Sableye or go ahead and get your sniping, your sharpshooting Inteleon and start pinging to set up for Sableye. That's one route there. Claire could be setting up, or for the remaining turns after the Hoopa's knocked out. But I do like your boss idea here. I kind of like that just to get a little bit of prize and get some prizes on your side.
I'm not sure if he has access to the energies though. It looks like I must have missed it if he already used his last Raihan or if it was in the discard pile. I remember it was in his deck. I'm not sure if I missed where he put it. If it's in his hand? No?
Not sure with you. We do see the Clara here. Going to get 2 Pokemon, 2 basic energy, and put them in their hand. It is going to be that Sharpshooter and Sobble, and then just 1 dark energy. So you get a little bit of everything there. You get a Malevolent Charge, you get 2 energy down. Hoopa's going to do a little bit of damage here. And you got your Sharpshooter as well. So you got a little bit going on.
Yeah, so I guess, prizing that 1 dark energy, or I'm sorry, the 1 energy search, he does run 2, so one of them was prized. He would have been able to do that boss play with the training court. He was going to be able to get that energy plus 1 with the energy search. He would have been able to do the boss play on the Mew, but he just didn't have access to that last energy, unfortunately.
Yep. It's tough there. We do see an escape rope. Yeah, easy money. Just go ahead and put a Sobble up there. And we're going to start seeing Techno Blast from Genesect V. Are they out of bosses? I wonder if they're going to boss up the Hoopa, just take that out, or they're going to run through the Inteleon line, get these Sobbles off the field.
I mean, it's interesting because that was the second escape rope. I didn't see if any other switches were burned, but the Mew player only runs 2 more switch, and so this Genesect will be stuck in the active after this attack.
It's going to be a tough call, too, because you're either going to be forced to retreat to attack again the next turn, which you don't have energy on the field, because with Techno Blast, you cannot attack your next turn, or this Pokemon cannot attack. So we'll see how this plays out for them.
I actually do like how the Mew player is going for the Inteleon line, because that is the one way that Marco's going to be able to get cards, is using the shady dealings. The Hoopa can always be... Yeah, he's taking out the Drizzt to make sure he doesn't get access to the double shady dealings.
They know about the scoop up net, brought up the other Inteleon back to the hand, so shady dealings could have easily went live this past turn, and yep, that's rough right there.
I actually do. I think that's a very smart idea, is going for this Inteleon line. Big old choice belt on that Genesect there.
Choice belt's not going to do much in this matchup until Sableye comes out, but still a big whopping 190 on the very fragile Drizzile. Going to bring the Mew player down to 3 prizes left. And he's still got to work through all 3 prizes, because with all these single prizes, you're going to have to work through each of those knockouts. So let's see if Marco can pull something out here and come back in his first game.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, I gotta say the Oricorio is really. I mean, now would be a good time to attack with Zapdos.
Yes, I'm with you there. So yeah, Zapdos would be a good call on that. And I was also thinking previously too is like if they would have put down the sharpshooting Inteleon to set up that math previously, that would have put them down to 190. Then another ping this tournament 70. Still would have been short because of the Oricorio, but it sort of left them away from just one other sharpshooting away from the knockout if the boss had KO'd it regardless. Now, this is a best of 3 now that we're top 6 team, and I want to say the players get an hour to finish their match. I'm going to the pairing chart now. It looks like it's probably about an hour from what's going on. So while these matches do go quickly, you got to keep in mind as well, do I have a chance to win this game? Yes or no? Is there a path to victory? If not, should I scoop up to allow more time for a deck like mine that doesn't hit us hard right away, takes us time to get to its prizes, more so counter stuff, and gives you more time to win the next 2 games. But it looks like Marco has a path here, so we'll see where they navigate.
Yeah, I do think that the Zapdos V play is not a terrible idea, but again, it's with this matchup, you kind of just have to assume that Mew is going to get whatever Mew needs. Just because they only have the 2 switch left does not mean that they're not going to hit it, right? I mean, Mew can get anything at once pretty easily.
All right, Air Balloon going down the Drizzle, going to retreat Hoopa, going to start chipping away again. I mean, we're getting somewhere. I mean, this is still damage that, a Sableye could come down and take a knockout on because of the damage counters on it. Unless both Raihans were used now. I believe one was discarded early, and then it did use one Raihan. So maybe not so much in the Sableye. So this it's going to be tough picking. It's going to be a little bit of work from the Glare Moltres to have to take these last few knockouts.
It is. I mean, we're really looking at it's just hard to say because anything that Marco puts down is going to be essentially knocked out by the Mew Genesect player, including the Sableye and the Zapdos V. So it's a little tough. I think maybe his cast form was prized. I think I missed seeing that in his deck. So yeah, okay. So he's left with now one switch left in the deck, which you just always kind of have to assume that they're going to get.
So there's only one switch left in the deck. There's 11 cards. Mew doesn't play any recycling. Are both double turbos gone? I'd be curious if that one boss is left for Marco, maybe you can boss up the Genesect with no energy and just kind of sit for a bit.
It's hard to say. I mean, with 3 prizes left and them being able to get pretty much up to 6 cards a turn, at least if they want to. They're digging for something, considering they only have 7 cards left in their deck and they're still digging.
Well, it's not going to be a boss's orders because they just played a supporter. It was a Fusion Strike energy, so I guess they're going to go to Meloetta route, just put a single prizer up there, make them work a little bit. But if there is only, I mean, I'm curious about other double turbo energy is in the discard or not. Because if it is, you could pull that Genesect up and just sit the rest of the game.
Right, and that's, I mean, now they're
or even just snipe around.
Putting pressure with having Meloetta in the active, kind of forcing them to have that boss. Okay, yeah, so there's no energy in their discard pile, but we know that Marco has 1 boss left. And so I'm wondering if, I mean, it's not even really worth it to knock out the Meloetta, of course. And I also just saw he hasn't taken a single prize, unfortunately.
So they do have a knockout across the board, I believe. Let's see, it was 4 prize taken. Yeah, you're doing 200 plus damage, even after the modifiers. Actually, so that's 220, and Genesect has damage on it. That was a fresh Genesect that could not knock it out. But they have knockouts across the board. Let's see where this ping goes.
Okay, just building up damage on that Genesect. And going into the Marnie.
Okay, so I guess just kind of to start loading up on that because you don't have the boss. I was wondering why they were putting the damage counters there, just because if they're playing on bossing, that was a knockout regardless, but they didn't have it, so we're going to try to work our way down there. Okay, you can sharpshoot again if you want to.
Getting set up for next turn, knowing that this Mew player does not play any type of hand disruption. Getting the boss for next turn,
There's
saying,
the boss.
hey, I got it.
And they're safe to do those kind of plays, with the open deck format here, you can see that there are no Marnies or hand destruction like that on the Mew player side of the field. So you can grab that box right now and just kind of sit on it. So there is the first prize for Marco, going to 5-2. Now, unfortunately, there are no Mew VMAXs out, so they will still need to take three more knockouts to be able to seal the game, and that's going to be a tough fight here. With this, more than likely, as Moltres going down this turn.
This is interesting. This is now kind of forcing the Mew player to have to essentially attack with Genesect, knowing that they only have one switch left. But with them digging as much as they are digging right now, it makes me think that it is in the deck.
But see, so they're digging down to 4 cards right now. They probably still have that one switch. The issue is if they bring that Genesect up and you get Clara and maybe bring back the Moltres, you should have enough out there to be able to KO that Genesect. Then there's no more energy on the Mew player side of the field to do anything.
That is true.
So we'll see what they can pull off here. I know we saw one Clara earlier. I don't know if we played 2 yet. We'll see where we get to. So even if you sharpshoot, that's 90. Hoopa still isn't enough. Is there fighting energy in the fighting energy discard now?
They can't even ping the active with the Fusion Strike energy on there. So we're gonna have to do it based on raw damage. Yeah, so I mean, this is gonna be interesting. I mean, it makes me think that the Mew player does have the switch with how much they were digging through their deck, not caring about the 4 cards remaining.
Oh, they got the knockout. They're going to be able to Malevolent Charge with the Energy Search, then Training Court and Energy back into play to get the knockout on Genesect.
They are.
So I think that seals. Because I don't think there's any way to get energy back. I mean, there's Training Court, but
that's
for
4
one energy.
Fusion Strike energy. And they don't have. So, I mean, the Mew player just needs that double turbo. Oof, in the mark. Yeah, so they need that double turbo. And they're trying to ping away at that Genesect, hopefully be able to they need 3 more turns of
a little bit more work going on right now. So was it at 140? So you still got 4 more pings unless you can scoop up that Zigzagoon.
Pass form, welcome to the party.
Do we see the Mew VMAX and the double turbo energy?
I didn't see how many.
Yep, there it is.
Oh, Marnied him right into it.
Oh man. Well, it was a good round for them. Marco did what they could to really push the pace there. Going back to the point, they could have scooped up early, but they felt like they had a route to victory, and unfortunately the door was kind of shut there. But we are going to go to game 2, and it looks like Marco decided they're going to go first.
Marco decided to go second, actually, probably to guarantee the fact that Mew's just not going to essentially knock out whatever they put in the active on that second turn, which. Having those single prize decks, especially going against Mew, it is kind of likely that was going to happen. So I don't blame him for taking the second, possibly getting a keep calling going, using those supporters to kind of get that early setup. I mean, I probably would choose to go second too in this matchup.
No, it makes 100% sense. I'm going to do a quick little tournament update. We do see Blast did defeat Rain 2-0. I believe that was a Mew Genesect versus the Ice Rider deck. Noah Donan did take out Patrick Wall as well, going on to top 8. And there's 2 other matches. Katrin does move on, take out Superior Spider, and Evan, which is playing Arceus Duraludon, did take out Lee Bui, who was playing Mew Genesect. So they all move on to top 8 as we go down to the action.
All right, yeah, and we see the lonely Sobble up there in the active, scared for its life, but.
They're going to call some friends here in a second. They find an energy. Look at the gang all there.
The hand's not terrible. Even using Cynthia's Ambition is not terrible, but it is the only one in his deck. So I'm not sure if he wants to use it this turn. It's all going to depend on what he top decks, of course.
Mew player again. They were able to find a Battle VIP pass. Going to get the 2 cards on their deck. Looks like they opted for Genesect or Corios. Another one. Oh my goodness.
We didn't even Fusion Strike yet. We didn't even Fusion Strike Search. Just starting 2 in the hand.
That is nutty. So 2 Pokemon opt for just the 1 Mew this time. Fusion Strike energy to the Mew on bench. And we're going to see a Fusion Strike system here to draw 1 card.
I mean, I can't say it enough. The Oricorio in this matchup has really
Still
made it
work.
difficult.
No energy
Mm.
off the top deck. That's rough.
Dang.
And one Raihan going down, so we note that for later.
Yeah, at least we have that. He's probably going to have to go for the Cynthia's
Oh,
ambition here. Oh, 2 Driz? Okay, he's got
two
one in hand.
Driz and there's two. I think 2 Sobble are prized, or 1 Sobble's prized. Only one's
Yep.
deck and one's in hand. So at least they'll have that next turn. I'm getting a cast form for that easy pivot. They didn't have that last game. What
Access
else
to
do we
both
see?
boss. We got the other Raihan.
Clara,
So
we got one Clara
looks like
prize.
the prizes, yeah, the prizes aren't terrible. Prizes are not terrible. I know when we watched him earlier, his prizes were a little devastating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fails that to get a couple more cards with Cynthia's. And you get the Goon. It's
Boom.
not
Yeah.
bad to put it down. It might not even be a bad idea to try to build up damage on the Oricorio, try to take it out,
I mean,
within
it's
a few turns.
definitely
shooting, but-
frustrating for sure.
Yeah, that bird is such a menace.
Oh, escape rope, but just take the Zigzagoon now. The only thing that's kind of stinks there is losing that Zigzagoon for later on for scoop up nets and stuff like that. But you got Clara, you can still bring it back if needed. Alyssa Sparkle, got to get 2 fusion energy, and Mew's just rolling now.
The sacrificial Goon. Ugh.
And let's see what they get here. Gonna get a psychic energy.
I do like how it seems like they are just kind of setting up a Genesect to play in this matchup. I actually think that's really smart. I really like how they're doing that. Kind of having that Genesect as like a backup attacker and something that's not going to get knocked out as easily with the Moltres or the Sableye or.
Yeah, I mean, it's not Meet the Dark, so it's definitely a little bit more tanky for this matchup for sure. Fusion Strike system now, so with the 6 Pokemon out, so let them drop to 6. Mew VMAX, and here we go. We're going to start rolling through. Could be the Techno Blast here just to get the easy knockout. I don't think they're going to shuffle it back in, but probably going to be just the easy little Techno Blast or the Max Miracle.
Mew doing Mew things. Sorry, Goon. Thank you for your service. At least now we have the pivot to make it a little bit easier.
So I wonder what they're gonna. Maybe are they gonna like quick ball for like Raihan plays? But looks like they're gonna go for the Marnie. They don't want to lose their boss to Clara, so they're gonna go straight
Especially
for
with one of them being prized. I honestly don't blame them for this play.
Yep.
Probably
Gotta
gonna
give
get rid of
kudos.
the research.
Gotta give kudos to players that do take the time to observe what their prizes are. I think that's like a big gap in some things where you can acknowledge what your prizes are to kind of know your routes for the rest of the game and then make those right decisions. You less likely to get punished for it later on. Like if they were to discard that Clara and what to look for later on and not be there.
Which
But no energy.
Considering they pulled another Clara, did they prize one?
Maybe I missed it.
I thought I only saw one too, but guess we got 2.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. Boss here. Yep, here we go. Gonna do that same line of play just like the game 1. It's gonna go after the draw engine, the heart of the deck. You take those out, and especially with one of those Sobbles prizes, it's gonna be real tough. And lack of energy. That's really the name of this right now. Out of their 7 energy, they didn't draw any one of them to do any kind of
honestly
damage.
think that is the way to go against this matchup. I mean, Hoopa is only doing technically now 70 damage per turn. So like, I mean, I don't blame them for not taking out the Hoopa. I mean, I think it's pretty smart to go on the Inteleon line and get pretty much the cards that are going to be getting them out. Oh, and you hate to see it. He draws the 2 dark energy after putting down the Moltres. No.
Luckily, like the scoop up net's
He's
there,
got
but you
the
still don't have the
scoop.
3rd energy.
Right. Yeah, he's got the scoop. It's just not in this discard pile.
Yeah. Tree is going to sacrifice the Hoopa.
Yeah.
Which I think, so he sacrificed the Hoopa, that'll put Moltres at doing 170, 150 with the buff, which I think Mew is right at 300, I believe.
310.
310, so you have to figure out a
The
ping, which you have the
super.
sharpshooting.
We're seeing the Pal Pad.
Oh my
the Pal
goodness.
Pad.
Another boss. Oh, okay,
The
this is
Pal
not
Pad.
bad.
Getting the boss back.
That's still clutch. I thought I saw the boss coming out and didn't realize it was Pal Pad, and I was about to feel real bad for Marco.
Oh my gosh, the Pal Pad, you guys, the Pal Pad. And this Mew player is a Japanese player too, so like that spicy Pal Pad, I'm all about it.
I like it
I'm
as the
all
farm.
about it. Yeah, so that
So-
Genesect is fully locked and loaded.
And all
And-
the fusion energy is in play again. So we'll see if that's going to be something that's going to hinder them later on. But I mean, honestly, I think the new player is just in the driver's seat at this point. I think there's a lot that needs to go right for Marco, and it's just not looking as much right now.
Right, and so that deck only runs the one psychic energy. So that one psychic energy on the Genesect is the only one. However, I mean, Marco runs the training court. The Mew also runs the one training court, the 2 Rose Towers. So that training court is probably going to stick. I mean, the Mew player is kind of in control whether or not the training court gets bumped or not.
Interesting. So decided to put the Mew back in the deck. I'm assuming just to cycle back the fusion energy. Didn't want to take the risk of losing any of those. And just get a 3-prizer off the board more than likely. Now you have to work through 3 Pokemon minimum to win this game on Marco's side. And 2 of them are tanks.
Right, and it looks like they are just kind of pinging away on the Oricorio. Maybe getting that dark energy in the discard pile for possibly a Raihan.
Oh, we
Be
do
able to
see.
use the Raihan. Oh, we're gonna see a Zapdos
Okay.
play.
Raihan here to the Moltres. Okay, so there's
Grabbing
still
that
and then get
fighting
this.
energy.
Got you. So you're gonna maybe do a.
Oh,
See, yeah, I don't think you can bring the Zapdos down at this point because take
It's-
out that Zapdos in one hit, you're down to 1 prize, and that's your whole deck. So it may not be
Yeah.
like the best option to put Zapdos down right now.
I mean, and I agree with that because the Genesect would be able to knock it out right now, and so he's probably just waiting. I wonder what he's waiting for. Is just waiting for. So okay, this
Hmm.
Moltres is going to get knocked out. So he might. I'm not sure if he wants to put it down for next turn to go ahead and get the knockout, but
Yeah.
we'll see what the Mew player puts up as their next attacker. Because as of right now, there's not a backup attacker ready to go yet.
And that's honestly like
Yeah.
one of the routes they went through with putting the Mew VMAX back in. Not only to get the 3 prizes off the board, but hopefully let them draw those energies to set up maybe this other Genesect if possible. And
I'm
it
just
looks like
still.
the energy goes out of
yeah.
Mew. So I mean, you
And
can
I
cycle that leap attack, and it'd be they bring up a Genesect if you have enough switch cards.
That is one of the bigger ways to navigate this matchup as a Mew player is taking advantage of the psychic leap.
And only 1 switch in discard, so that could definitely be a route. Once the Genesect goes down, you can definitely psychic leap cycle. Depending on how many Alyssa Sparkles you have went through to kind of help load up the Mews to be able to keep repeating that. Because eventually you will just kind of gas out if you can't streamline attaching energy like that.
And
So
I
we'll see how it
I
goes.
know he already used the POW pad to get back the boss, but using that POW pad to get back also the Sparkle when you're in this matchup, just using the Sparkle Leap over and over again. I mean, I kind of like that.
We do see the Clara here. I'm going to bring back a little bit of resources here. We're going to see probably the double dark energy. And Training Court is still out, so Moltres can take the knockout next turn. It's probably going to be Hoopa, is my guess. They're probably going to load up Malevolent Charge into Moltres and just bring up the Hoopa. Unless, dark energy. Well, if the Hoopa gets knocked out, that dark energy will be back in the discard. So you still Malevolent Charge. No, you can't heavy load up Moltres. So you keep it in hand. Because you want to be able to Malevolent Charge the following turn.
Yep, and that Oricorio is gone next turn with a quick shooter.
So we'll be down to 3 prizes the following turn, but it's going to be again, you're still going to have to, you're going to go down, to take KO Heal, they'll go down to 1 prize, and even if you go down to 3 prizes the next turn, they're still 1 prize away from taking a knockout. So unless this Mew player puts a Mew VMAX down, it's going to be a little tough for Marco to get the game here with the Mew being able to take knockouts left and right.
Yeah, but I mean, if they do put out a Mew VMAX, then Marco is able to knock it out with Moltres.
See, they go the escape rope here. Oh, this is rough. Like, what do you sacrifice? Do you sacrifice your free retreater? I don't know.
Oof. Yeah, I mean, he's
That's tough.
gonna need to attach to the
I mean,
Moltres. Oh, he does it the scoop. He does it.
Yeah, I
the
was about to
scoop.
say, does it a double scoop up next? So it's probably not too worried about that part. And actually, it may not be the worst thing for them. You can, get one
Actually,
Pima
yeah,
sharpshoot
yeah.
and then scoop up net and maybe get another sharpshoot. So probably not the worst thing there. So good call on that.
Oof, they put the fusion energy on the Oricorio. No.
Oh, they can't go for the snipe anymore.
What a
Oh,
dirty
they just
play.
teased it this whole time. So I'll just wait. Don't worry about it.
Oh, until the very. Oh my gosh, I'd be raging right now. Putting it
But the
on there.
and
No.
Meloetta's gonna take a KO. So that was a good counterplay from the Mew
Oh
player.
no, what a good that was such
that
a
was
savage
good.
play.
Yeah, that's gonna be
Oh
a tough one
no.
to have there.
I don't see how Marco's going to be able to pull this off now with them only just needing one prize
You gotta
card.
do you gotta do so much right now, and honestly, they could just draw through anything to get to their last energy. I can't really see a path to victory here. I mean, you could try to boss stall, but again, we know there's only one switch in discard, and I guess actually one escape rope as well. But that's still multiple switch options still in the deck, so it's gonna be tough.
Oh, this is going to be tough. It looks
I mean,
like they might just go for maybe a Mew knockout, but
they have the boss, but yeah, that's
again,
true. So I guess boss and prey, because I guess with Meloetta, there's only 2 fusion energy in play, so that's 140. I think that'll still knock out the Moltres.
he kind of has to boss out the Oricorio in order to survive because the rest of the Fusion Strike energies are in the discard pile. So that honestly might be the only way he can survive on return. I think I think the Mew players used all of the power tablets at this point.
Yeah, I think all the power tablets are
are
done. So what are they quick falling for here? Nothing at all. So it's Marnie instead of boss. So I guess they're just hoping that.
Yeah, just
That's the thing, though.
taking out the Meloetta though. But I mean,
Still, I mean,
all the Mew player would need is the VMAX, which I
the
didn't see in the
VMAX and
discard
energy.
pile. If all of them were, I can't see how all of them would be in the discard pile.
And you get to
Because
draw another card too with the Genesect also, so it's gonna be tough.
2 Mew VMAX, yeah. So they do have
Ooh,
access to one more VMAX. Because they have the double turbo energy on, so this Mew can attack if the VMAX gets put out.
I wonder, it'd be very spicy if that last Mew VMAX is that prize. that's kind of
My.
Marco would love to see that right now, but I mean, right now, they can't draw any cards. They already have 5 cards in hand. They can only draw up to 5 right now. They did bump the stadium for Rose. So they will be able to get 1 card. Actually, 3 cards now because one of those was the Mew V. Do they hit Energy Mew VMAX? Ultra Ball going to thin a little more. Going to be able to fuse a strike system again.
They'll probably grab the Mew VMAX if it's in deck. There it is.
And now we just need the energy.
They got the double turbo on there. I know it's hard to see. It's a little small.
Oh, it is? Okay, yeah. I thought it was the fusion energies. Oh, yep, there it is.
No, the double turbo. Oh,
that's
man.
it. So it looks like we're gonna pull up the pairings now. It looks like they will be going up against us last match. Okay, so Carapon is gonna be moving on, and I don't know where they were at standings wise, so I'm not sure right off who they're gonna be playing. But we'll see that here shortly, and I think both of us are back on to take on top 8.
Yes, I believe so.
Absolutely. That was a wonderful match. I mean, unfortunately for Marco, it was kind of just rough pickings for them. Just didn't get to hit the cards they needed, had very slow starts, and Mew was able to ramp up and take out the Drizziles back and back and forth. So tough round, but especially playing all day, but it happens as Pokemon sometimes.
It does. I really like how that Mew player kind of had those little things to make this matchup a little bit easier for them. And going after the Inteleon line, I feel like not a lot of Mew players do that against that deck. But I mean, taking out the Hoopa is really not going to do anything for you. It's really not that much of a threat. But taking out the cards that are getting them exactly what they need each turn, it's pretty. And that one savage play, that was such a savage play.
Oh my goodness, putting the Fuse Strike energy on Oricorio when
that was pretty savage.
Just teased it all the way until just that last ping, and there goes Fuse Strike energy.
Yeah, it's interesting that they only play the one psychic energy, though. That is really interesting because they also only play the one training court. They're running 2 Rose Tower and 1 training court.
The list is very unique.
It is. And it is a Japanese player, so I mean they do.
They're known for the spice.
And like the PAL pad. Oh, I can't get over the PAL pad. I think it's genius. I honestly think that is like a pretty nasty tech in Mew.
I wonder if we're going to see that going forward and you know your standard Mew list is everyone kind of maybe playing one PAL pad just for that, you know, like you said, an extra leap on your boss orders, your Alisas, just a little, your little one of, you know, supporters as well. So we're gonna take a little pause here, and we're gonna come back with you with top 8 action. I don't know who we're casting yet, but we'll let you guys know here shortly. And we are back at it, bringing you the top 8 action. We're gonna have you know, fan favorite Michael Catron with his, you know, Arceus dot pile of cards in a blender deck going up against Jason playing Arceus with the Galarian Birds. And we're gonna go right down to the action.
Definitely 60 cards. A pile of 60 cards for sure. I love this deck. I think it is my favorite of the night for sure. It's really interesting.
Very unique. So we are on Catron's side right now. We do see that does, I believe, a double turbo energy on the active Arceus, so they're going to be able to do Trinity right off the bat. But what Pokemon are they going to go after? You know, we do see that Moltres is an active spot, is Grass weak, and they do have Shaman, but Shaman is typically good as a counterattacker after someone was knocked out with that Revenge Blast attack. So we'll see what they quick ball for here.
I'm wondering if we are going to see any crazy Yveltal plays with the opponent running that one Yveltal with
yeah,
the Cry of Destruction, discarding up to 3 of those special energies from the opponent's Pokemon. That is a very interesting deck that they have put in their deck. I'm wondering if we're going to maybe see something like that as well.
Here's what route they're going to go here. But you got Hoopa, but that means the 160 is not going to do too much in this matchup. I mean, and you don't really want to. He's Zapdos. I mean, I think everyone knows about the Zapdos and like when you want to plan that attack out. So I'm curious if they're going to overbench to like watch out for the Zapdos. But opts for the Lumineon here, and I think they're going to just Trinity Charge to themselves.
Looks like it, yeah. Looks like it.
So this is interesting because if you know Jason can evolve here and just grab an energy and or you know get the double turret energy and able to retreat this Moltres out with the choice belt and evolve an Arceus VSTAR, that's game. That could be a donk right there.
I think the Shaman V and VSTAR might put in a little bit of work, especially against their Galarian Moltres V. They're running 2 Galarian Moltres Vs, and with Moltres being weak to grass, that could be a nice target.
See if Jason here can pull off this donk right now. I mean, they're not going directly after it, so I'm assuming they don't have the necessary pieces to pull this off. There is an Ultra Ball. We'll see if we can thin a little bit. And maybe they'll go after the Lumineon V here, just to go ahead and you know research and just thin out their deck and get to that switch. But we'll see what they pull off here. Okay. Oh yeah, because you just Star Rebirth for everything. You just Star Rebirth for the energy and switch.
Need some cards? Have no fear. Arceus VSTAR is here. I do like the Piers tech being able to get that special energy or a bat and dark energy if you really want to.
So I wonder if I'm just missing like a play here, and maybe I am, because I feel like unless something's prized, I feel like you can just rebirth for the switch in double turbo energy. No, double turbo energy reduces by 20, so even with the choice belt, you still would not knock out.
Yeah, just hardly.
You'd be 10 short. Hardly. If he had the one of Zigzagoon, we could see that, but
yeah, that goon ping is really helping with a lot of math. We've seen it a couple of times. I mean, it's Zigzagoon's kind of nice to be able to have that extra little bit of damage, especially with the double turbo energy.
I think it was a good call by Catron to not put down a Lumineon V because it could have easily just been, you know, a way to like accelerate energy to the like Zapdos, just touch the fighting energy and go for the knockout there. But we are going to see a Star Rebirth here, energy switch, and Moltres going to do some damage his first turn. Wait, is that knockout?
Wait.
Yep, that's knockout.
No. Oh.
That's insane.
Oh my goodness. Oh, you kind of hate to see that.
Wow, that was insane.
I
did not expect that to happen with the Moltres in active. I did not expect that to happen.
That is a Galarian Moltres donk? Wow. I know, we were both just like,
I didn't know if the Piers and E-Switch, that was...
I know, we were both a little confused there, like, I guess he can grab a dark energy and a bat? Wow.
Well, that's one way to take the wins. I'm assuming Katron's going to go first here, just to get a little heads up, set up on them. And yep, they're going to go first on their end, and we'll see if they get a good start here. It does have the Arceus and double turbo.
And the double turbo. I mean, that good for Jace to be able to like see that play and be able to execute it and get that.
I'm not mad at myself for not seeing it. That was a good call.
Oh no. I'm surprising it when I put down the Zapdos just to feel a little bit better.
Feel a little safe right there. That Moltres is now very, very dangerous in that spot.
But I think he's feeling confident in his choices here. That was insane.
I'm curious now that they saw that play. I mean, obviously, with the open deck list, you can see these kinds of things. You just got to understand how they're going to navigate it. And so I'm curious if Katron's going to bench maybe the Zapdos for something else this following turn, knowing that I could just do his pure shenanigans. Arceus VSTAR has a very powerful ability that says, "Can I have what I want?"
Oh my goodness, what that was just. Whew. I mean, Zapdos V is still not a bad attacker, though. I mean, with it being hitting for weakness against the Arceus, but looks like he's trying to get something else up into the active here.
That is interesting because it's going to kind of bait something up there, and it looks like he's going to go with the Arceus, going to opt to save that Zapdos.
And he only needs the one fighting energy.
That's very true. So, but did not find it this turn. Gonna Ultra Ball away. A couple cards here. I guess it's gonna be Energy and Cheryl. Okay.
Yep, getting that V-Star down, be able to also accelerate energy to the Zapdos.
The cool thing about this as well is that really the Zapdos could only be one shot by the Arceus. And I guess actually this is Moltres with a choice belt we just learned can take that as well. So there are options there, but they're gonna have to be the boss.
And we just talked about the Goon putting in the work there. The Goon ping is huge. The Goon ping is so huge to get that extra little bit of damage, especially against that. Okay, the Goon, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the one Goon.
I mean, we've seen it before with Michael earlier on stream like that one of math, and that's because you're using that double turbo energy with essentially a double colorless, but with that side effect of reducing damage. You got to have a little extra things to put that numbers right in the sweet spot.
And it's interesting. He's not running any type of scoop up net, so it is kind of like a one and done little Goon ping there. But I mean, it's obviously worth it. It's been putting in the work as well.
Piers is coming back again. Moltres. Are we going to see an E-switch?
Zapdos
going in.
Zapdos, no.
Oh my goodness. And that was without rebirth. That was just natural. I got the cards in my hand. We're going for the knockout.
My goodness.
But this Zapdos can return. It won't knock out unless the Katron can find a choice built of his own. So we'll see there. Ultra Ball gonna probably grab maybe another Arceus. Gonna do a little map check here in the deck. Shaman V.
Which is not bad. Not bad with having the Moltres as well. With the Moltres being weak to grass.
Does Katron have a way to bring back... Okay, he has one Clara. Okay, I was going to say, I was wondering if he has a way to bring back the Shaman V-Star he had to get rid of earlier. So we do see the Raihan got the choice belt as well, and we're going to take the return knockout, going down to 2, and Shaman is looking... Ain't got to clear out the prizes!
Oh my goodness, this is... Okay. I mean...
The slug fetch right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is very, very, very good for Katron here. I mean, having access to that Shaman with Moltres being weak to grass, I mean, this is actually looking very good for him.
So yeah, do not have another energy in hand, so they're going to save that Moltres for the next turn, which means Shaman Revenge Blast is still 20 right now, so it does 80, it'll do 80, it'll do 200 damage right now, which could one-shot a Moltres if that Moltres is in an active spot.
Ooh, this is a big Marnie, though. This is kind of a big Marnie.
What do you mean well played? I guess they're scooping?
They might be scooping.
Yeah, they're scooping. Wow. So we're going to go to game 3. Marnie was not enough for them, and Jason opts to say, hey, you know what? This is going to be a nice little slugfest, but I want a little more time to kind of let my deck do its job. Let's slide over to game 3. Got a nice top 8 match starting out right now.
Wow, what a crazy mirror match. I mean, these decks are so similar, obviously, with the bigger attackers, but like they're still so different. That is what I really like about Arceus V.
Doing a little update as well. Every game is either in game is in game 2 right now, except for the one we're watching right now. And it looks like Carapin was just the player we watched previously, is playing against our Jolteon, Mama Network, up 1-0. Noah's up 1-0, as well as Blask is up 1-0.
Let's go, Mama Network, taking it home, Miss Jolteon Queen. So we get the Arceus and double turbo energy with him going second. That's pretty nice. And 2 quick balls and a research.
And the research. I was about to say.
Oh my goodness.
Got
This
a
is
lot
a
going on
great
here.
start. This is a great start. And the opponent has started with Moltres V in the active every single game.
I know. They only got what, 2 of them in the deck?
Only 2.
How odd are those? Ooh, and escape rope. I wonder if is there a way for them to pull off? No, there's not a way with the list to pull off like a Zapdos shenanigans escape rope knockout. But no, nothing there.
No, I think they're gonna probably just go for the Trinity charge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's thinking about it. I think he might be thinking about it, but I think the play is just to go for the Trinity charge and get your board set up.
Yeah, go ahead and get the Zapdos out. Maybe even a Shaman too, if you have the second quick ball. But the more Pokemon you put out there, the more liable you are to a Zapdos on their side of the field as well. So maybe just to win Zapdos and just all right, we're good with that.
What I really enjoy about the difference between the 2 decks is Katron is playing 1 boss, but the 4 Pokemon catcher, while his opponent is playing the 3 boss. So it is really, I mean, you do have to rely on those coin flips, which I know some people like them out there, but to me that never feels wonderful. But it's interesting.
Yeah, I've never played with coin flip cards before, but I can see why you play catcher in this deck. It allows you to optimize, the other supporters that you would want to play, your Raihan, and in their case, a Cheryl, versus, making that decision between, I need to boss this up, but I also need to do some setup or healing, and you can kind of mitigate that with, you got 4 of those cards in there, you're bound to hit one of the heads.
I mean, honestly, a really great opening hand, though.
Yeah, very strong start.
Mm-hmm.
I like that the ping is already there. I think they were hoping to bank on, next turn with Arceus VSTAR being able to get that choice belt to knock out Moltres, assuming it's going to stay active. But they got the boss in hand, so they'll be able to take a knockout on that while also being able to load charge up another Pokemon if possible.
I can't get over the Ditto. I think the Ditto is such an awesome tech to put in this deck. It's so. I honestly think it's great. I think it's super, super good.
I love it in this style of deck, just to be able to at any point in time, decide what you want to attack with, and Ditto can change it at any time, and it's perfect. So we do see the Trinity charge here. I'm gonna load up this Zapdos or the Ditto maybe.
I think a little bit of both.
Yeah.
So it's probably I'm probably banking on that Shaman V to come out on the Ditto.
Yep. All right, we do see the Arceus VSTAR, but we're going to see that rebirth ability. Going to grab any 2 cards and put them in their hand. Really busted ability. Luckily, because it's a VSTAR mechanic, you can only do it 1 time per game. Otherwise, that would be crazy. Quick ball, going to grab a Zapdos. Possibly going to see a knockout here. We'll see what else in their hand. Ooh, Dark Asset.
Nice Crobat.
And they're going to get the Switch card or Air Balloon because not only does drew 6 cards, but they got the Rebirth as well. So they have multiple outs to take out this Arceus. But in the same effect, Zapdos is going to take the knockout right back on Arceus. So it's going to be a little bit of a slugfest here, and it's really going to come down to if Jason has another backup attacker after, the Zapdos.
Well, I believe. Let me check myself before I misspeak. Oh, okay. No, it is not. Never mind. But it is really interesting with this deck, just how many different plays you can do, just depending on what you're playing against. I think that is really interesting with this deck, is that there's so many different ways to navigate it. And I really enjoy both versions, really, but I think I'm leaning more towards Katron's version of just the Ditto. I mean, the Ditto is just great. I think Shaman V and VSTAR are such a good addition. The opponent does play the Zamazenta V2. Oh no, not the Ditto!
Not the Ditto.
Not the Ditto!
What I like about the Ditto is essentially it's a number 2 count of any V in your deck. That's what I kind of like about it. So you can get away with playing one Zapdos and your one Moltres and etc. Just because the Ditto can change back into that once it's knocked out. And I think that's a real cool, unique thing about the deck. But we do see it get taken down. Arceus VSTAR does have the chance to take the knockout right back, and we will more likely see that because of Rebirth can grab whatever they want.
I wonder if they're probably just going to go ahead and knock out the Zapdos V. I can't see them really bossing out the Arceus VSTAR.
Yeah, it's going to get rid of Zapdos, at least one of them. You still got to deal with possibly another one in the back end, but start there. Keep your Zapdos in the back as well.
So we're going to see that Marnie here gets the Shaman V. And yep, taking out that Zapdos.
All right, Trinity Nova only gonna be able to grab one energy because it's only one in deck, and even if they decide to do it, maybe changing their mind on that. I mean, Zapdos is already ready to go. There are 3 V in play on your opponent's side of the field, so it can attack. And it looks like they opt to keep the energy in the deck.
Yeah, so this is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I mean, neither one of the players have put down a stadium. I mean, they both run training court. The only difference is the opponent is running that one collapsed stadium, but
I think K-Tron wants to see a training court soon, just to maybe even set up an attacker. But actually, if you kind of break down what can happen here, let's say Jason is not able to take a knockout here. They're going to need another Zapdos. And with like a Raihan, if they even play that, let's say they do have one Raihan or the Pier, or actually just Raihan, on a Zapdos to be able to take the knockout back on Arceus. And we'll see if they kind of go that route. Other than that, I mean, K-Tron can maybe navigate their way to like a Pokemon catcher to go after the Arceus on bench, as they could knock it out with Zapdos. So there's a couple different ways to go about it.
Something that's interesting is that the opponent, with playing the Galarian Moltres, they can use the Dire Flame Wings ability to get some of that energy back. They do run the 3 energy switch, which is something that K-Tron does not use. He has a baby Galarian Moltres, but not the V. So really the only way to get those energies out of the discard pile is either using the Raihan or relying on the training court. So I do think that is kind of an interesting difference between the 2 decks right now.
We'll see. They're still trying to figure out what they're going to do this turn. I mean, it's apparent that they're not going for the knockout, or if they are, they're trying to maybe attack with the correct Pokemon versus digging. There is the Raihan, but there's no Zapdos out. So it's probably going to go on. It's going on the Arceus. So they're probably just using it more. So yes, you can get the 200 damage with the Arceus, but you really just want to dig for that one card you may be needing, maybe for next turn, or even to start setting up now because you're going to need Trinity Nova with Arceus. Maybe this other Zapdos.
So, depending on what he grabs, I mean, not that he necessarily needs the choice belt to do that extra 30 damage, but yeah, this is going to be interesting. I'm wondering what type of play he's going to go for.
Fortunately, we can't see their hand, so we don't know what they got.
Unfortunately not, right.
But I mean, we're going to see the Trinity Nova here. I mean, it looks like it's what they're setting up for. This Moltres is pretty much their pivot Pokemon at this point until they're ready to do that 190 damage. So we'll see what they load up. I mean, it might be Moltres, could be Crobat, but probably Moltres or whatever card they grab in their hand.
I'm wondering if we're even going to see Shaman V-Star be played at all here. Retreating to the bat? Interesting.
So they didn't go for the knockout here. So I'm curious. Escape rope, yes. So let's see. They can do 170 on Moltres. What does Moltres have 10 on it right now? So it's not enough to knock out Moltres, but you just retreat and then you can Arceus V-Star knockout with to knock out the Moltres now, and start setting up Shaman for the game. So it's a good little checkmate move right here.
Wow, that escape rope. Definitely put in the work for that turn. I mean, that was
clutch. So we're gonna see the knockout here from Arceus V-Star, and then load up. Well, actually, there's only one Dark Energy in deck. But K-Tron's gonna have to try to find that Grass Energy, which was on Ditto. through a Clara if Clara's not already discarded. I'm not sure if it was. I remember we saw it previously. I just don't know if it's in a discard pile or not.
Yeah, I think he's relying on getting that training court out to get that one grass energy that is in the discard pile that was on that Ditto. I mean, that Goon Ping, look how convenient that Goon Ping was. He did that early Goon Ping damage on the Moltres, and it made the map
like a turn one ping.
Better. It was. He planned ahead for that one.
I think this could be game. So we're gonna see Raihan here, and if I remember right, I think Shaman V-Star is in the deck.
Oh, it is, and he has that grass energy.
V-Star. I'm excited to say we get to see at least one
Shaman V-Star
attack.
Yes.
What we call this Revenge Blast.
Revenge Blast.
So let's just do a quick little discount and double check here to make sure it's in the deck. I wonder if they're confident with it. They're just going to go ahead and Raihan. They're going to check here with a quick ball before they move forward. Same thing I would do as well. There it is.
There it is.
Shaman V-Star. Luminian V is just a tease. Oh, they're maybe going a different route.
Playing mind game.
Oh, they want to go for the Crobat instead.
Give me that bat.
Yeah,
give me that.
Yeah,
give me that bat.
I like the more flex attack with the Shaman, you know.
I wanted to
maybe, unless it wasn't enough. Shaman would have done this 4 prizes, so 4 times
160 plus
160, 280, so 280 right there. So it would have been knockout still.
Oh my goodness. What a crazy comeback from that first game. That
was awesome.
What a comeback from that first game.
Yeah. It's funny because I've seen K-Tron play for a while and they always play like these kind of off the wall and maybe somewhat meta, but there's some off the wall different way to play it, and only they could play it. That's it. That's his period. Like only they could play that kind of deck, and they were able to navigate that around and had multiple outs for game that last turn. That was pretty sweet and nice little finish there, moving on top 4 for K-Tron.
I definitely wish we got to see some Shaman V-Star action, but he had the game either way. I wanted it, but
all right. So we're gonna slide on top 4.
Yes, moving on to top 4. So that will be it for me. I'll be hopping off, so I'll be hanging out in the chat. Around.
It was very nice meeting you, Lindsay. Have a great rest of your night, and we'll slide on over to top 4. Welcome back, and we brought back Henry here for the last 2 rounds of the Celio tournament. We just saw an exciting match there from K-Tron coming back from a slow start in game 1 to 0 back to win and move on to top 4. It looks like there's nothing but Mew left in the field. It kind of happens when 62 of the decks in the field are Mew. So here we are, 3 out of 4 of the decks Mew Genesect. Henry, let's talk about what we're going to see here in these last 2 rounds.
All right, so one of the big problems with this matchup, if I'm on K-Tron's side, is the aggression from turn 1 Malamar. And so that's going to give Mew a really large prize lead and effectively make K-Tron take 3 knockouts. So a Malamar, a Mew VMAX, and a 2 prize Pokemon. Now, that's 3 attacks, and given Mew's already taken 2 prizes, they're only 2 attacks away. So Mew's already in the lead. Now, in order to offset that, we can see K-Tron try and get 2 single prizes down turn 1, one in the active, one on the bench, to prevent escape rope. But that's pretty difficult to do given that there's only 2 in the list.
I was saying it's only 2.
Yeah. So that's going to be the main line of play going second. So going first, going second, whole nother story. But we'll have to see how the Mew deck kind of chooses to play and how aggressive they're able to be.
I think all the Mew decks remaining 2 are all fairly similar. I'm not sure if that person with the PAL pad and like the 1 second energy is still in or not. The pairings have not updated. Oh, yes, they have. So K-Tron is playing against the number 1 seed and trying to see if anything spicy about the deck. They do play the 1 Peony. And they have an old cemetery in their list. Okay, so that could possibly add us some damage there. Being able to whenever attaching energy to a non-psychic Pokemon, 2 damage counter. So a little bit different. 2 psychic, 1 double turbo. So but they got that VIP chromatic package. So still got a lot of consistency there.
Ooh.
We'll see how that goes.
Just off the bat, we see nothing but a Shaman attached pass. That's already a bad start for K-Tron, even without the potential of turn 1 Meloetta just knocking it out. But we're going to have to see how fast this Mew player can turbo through their deck and see if they can hit that turn 1 knockout.
Well, they got the Battle VIP pass right off the bat, so they're going to be able to bench 2 Pokemon, out the gate, and we're going to see a lot of Genesect probably happen in this first turn.
Absolutely. There are 3 Genesect. You see they've already chosen for a really wide board. There's the Quick Ball. Imagine the Meloetta's coming out here. Yep, there
that
is.
Art is gorgeous on that Mew V.
Isn't it?
Quick ball, gonna grab another Meloetta, discard 1 for 1. Interesting there. And they're gonna get a full. Oh, okay, cool. Escape rope shenanigans. Just for the full fusion strike system.
Draw 6. There we go. Okay.
And a Chromatic. If they get heads, they're feeling hot this game. Okay, we're a little warm.
There's a tablet. All right. They're just going to be burning through everything. But the problem is that even if they miss, Ketron still doesn't have a good turn too. There are more tablets gone. So if he does survive, there are a lot of resources gone here. Fog Crystal.
Do you see 1 energy there?
Yep.
All right. Do we have the Alyssa Sparkle? Okay, there's that.
And there it is. And that will be game for sure.
Yep, that is it.
There we go. And this is why everyone's hating Mew at the moment, because they can do things like this.
With the power tablets, we're going to be able to take that nice dunk. And it's all right. K-Tron was donked the first game too, so we're going to be able to see if they could come back here and maybe catch up these 2 games. I did say they're going first. I did not catch if they were or not. So you can kind of pull that strategy that you were talking about previously.
Yeah, so K-Tron's going to choose to go first again, you'd assume. But it's very difficult for him to be able to get that kind of ideal board state of not giving up 2 prizes going first. But, I mean, Mew could always just miss the Meloetta, and if they do, he's honestly in a great spot. His deck kind of out-tempos them as long as he doesn't get that. But that, if anything, looks like the start we were talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. At least the single prize are up. You don't get the advantage of using Malevolent Charge, but you don't want to put the Crobat down either in an active spot. You want to get a little value there because you can always get that Moltres back. So other cards in his hand, though, they're okay.
I mean, this is a great hand, honestly. If I was K-Tron, you have the Zigzagoon he'll presumably go for. He'll get his Arceus, he'll get an energy. He's guaranteed to only lose a single prize, and he's in a really good position this game.
Yeah, because I guess you could Ultra Ball away, but you're going to lose a couple resources. You got the Ordinary Rod. You're possibly going to lose an Escape Rope if you, if you opt to go another dig with Ultra Ball. Which, to your point, I'm sure they will to get the Zigzagoon down.
Yeah, I mean, we'd assume he'll go for the Zigzagoon here. It is pretty bad for the resources, but you kind of have to at this point. You don't really have a choice. You have Crobat. Let's see if he chooses to go for it. Here's an Ultra Ball. Let's have a look what he goes for.
Hey, you gotta go get Hoopa.
Chooses to go for Hoopa. Okay. It's a Crobat.
Got Hoopa down here. Energy in hand, so...
Interesting. Okay, well, he's opening himself up to a rope punish here, but we'll see if that does end up happening.
Well, Battle VIP pass right off the bat, and I feel like I haven't seen, out of all the Mew matches we've seen today, I don't think I've not seen a game where they haven't played that first turn.
No, it's pretty high for them to get it, yeah.
2 Genesect down. We'll see if they got any other, ball search or anything, maybe a Fog Crystal to get some Mew down, any energy. Probably got a lot of options in their hand, taking their time. This player has not lost 1 game today. They are 10-0-1.
It's insane. Here we go. Quick ball. So they're really doing for rope plus the combo here. Now that is a fair bit to ask for. The whole 3 fusion energy plus a modifier plus rope. It's a lot to ask for, but it's such a powerful combo, especially when you have all of these Genesects to just draw essentially what is like 18 cards on turn 1.
I mean, they're going to fly through this deck right now. So you're about to draw up to 5 right now, assuming that last card isn't also a fusion Pokemon. So there's the first fusion strike system. See, we don't see the Alyssa Sparkle slap down, so they're probably just pondering if they could dig a little more. Do you see the choice belt? I'm going to narrow it down just a smidge more. Dig maybe.
Often what happens in these situations, often what happens is they'll draw into these resources like the power tablet that they'll really need if they miss, and they're trying to decide, is it worth it? Do I burn these resources in hope for like the power play? What are the likelihood? And it seems like they've just missed at this point, and they're not really weighing it up.
Yeah, I mean, you got to make the call at one point. If you're not, even getting like a half of those pieces you need, whether it's the escape rope or Alyssa Sparkle or that second energy, whatever it is, if you're not even hitting those lead pieces, when do you make the call going, hey, I can't lose any more of this? Absolutely. So still pondering here. I think they're debating between narrowing down a couple more cards. There is the Alyssa Sparkle, so we'll see.
There's the Alyssa strike. So we've seen that they've used, so there's the Alyssa. They've used the tablet and the belt already. Now the tablet is okay to use no matter what, but there we go. So it looks like they've decided they're not going for the Malamar play this turn. Instead, they've powered up Genesect.
Interesting. Okay, so Genesect's going to be in play. 210, choice belt, 240, and then you got your power tablets as well. You still got 3 left. We've only seen 1 played so far. So there are options for Genesect to take some knockouts as well.
Yeah, so it looks like they're opting to use Genesect as an attacker this game to force additional knockouts. I don't know how well that's going to work here. We'll see. There's Rope. And Genesect is quite a resource-intensive attacker. So, okay. Catch a flip.
We got a catcher.
Heads. Awesome.
Are we going to see?
Great to see.
But you have the Ultra Ball to get the Arceus for sure. So, I mean, I think you Ultra Ball away, get your Arceus, then you rebirth whatever you want.
That's it. The Starbirth coming in.
Starbirth, sorry.
Starbirth, you assume we'll just see research here. You get a ton of value. Yeah, and then what other card does Ketchum want here?
Maybe Ditto. Yeah, I was going to say probably Ditto, just the most flexible card that you can get.
There we go. Yeah, just it really helps the board develop. Gets you another Arceus if you'll need it. Other than that, everything's kind of set up for the game.
Now create your pivot Pokemon with Air Balloon. Go ahead and Training Court. You already attached return, but we're still going to get a good Trinity Nova here. And now they're going to have Hoopa in play if they go that route. Or they might just load up Ditto. Or both.
Or both. Yeah, we're going to say the Hoopa will probably get loaded up. Maybe one to the Ditto.
Yeah, probably
and then
grass on the Ditto for Shaman later.
Grass the Ditto for the Shaman later. We can also see it become the Hoopa again later on with a Raihan to power it up.
Mm-hmm.
So everything just seems to be in Katron's favor here. I can't really see too much for Mew to do to come back because Katron's got everything powered up on board. That's what Arceus does. When it gets this lead, it's very self-sufficient. It doesn't need to play any cards, but we'll see if we see Mew VMAX come down or maybe a Techno Blast from Genesect.
I mean, it's going to be a lot of work for to get a knockout right now. I mean, you're going to need, if you want to go after Meloetta's attack and go that route, you're going to need some power tablets. You're going to need, all the Fuse Strike energy remaining in play, and that's going to be, I mean, you're one of Spark away from doing that, but, we'll see if they get there. Or you can Techno Blast and just, take a 210 and, settle for that. But you can get there, just might be a little bit of a stretch, but it is Mew. You can find ways to do it. Oh, they go after the Hoopa.
After the Hoopa. But now we're attacking with Genesect rather than Mew. And so Arceus is just going to be able to KO the Genesect with a Choice Belt. We'll hopefully see that. But the Hoopa getting taken out is already a threat off the board, so that's a step ahead for sure.
Oh my gosh. Heads on the cram.
There's the heads. I'm sure they would have liked to see that on turn 1.
There's the energy. We're going to see that Techno Blast KO. If they get the power tablet.
Yeah, and I just don't know. I can't see where they're going from here. They have 2 fusion energy, 3 fusion energy gone after this Genesect. It's just so energy intensive at this point. There is 1 double turbo that allow Mew VMAX to attack. We'll have to see if they're able to go beyond that.
Did we get another cram? No! Fails on the cram. Did they have any... they have 1 fusion strike left. Do they hit the power tablet? Or are 3 of them prized? No way they whiffed. Okay, I was going to say there's no way after all that they whiffed it.
No, there we go. There's the Techno Blast. Now it's on Katron to respond.
So Arceus could take the knockout here just straight up, right? You don't even need a Choice Belt.
Yeah.
There's no Oricorio play. So yeah, you can just take the straight up knockout with Arceus.
Well, no, it's only doing it's 10 short at the moment. It's 10 short.
Oh, because of the double turbo energy. Yep, 10 short.
Because of the double turbo. Yeah. But you could easily just see a boss KO from Katron.
Yeah.
That could work. Otherwise, he can Marnie into and try and hit. You either go for the guaranteed prizes or you Marnie. I think you take the guaranteed prizes here.
Yeah,
also depends what's in his prize cards. Yeah, but because Mew doesn't play any hand disruption, Katron could look through his deck or have known what's prized. And let's say he's got a quick ball and an ultra ball, then just going boss KO on the Mew is really good because he knows that off the prizes there's a really high out to find limiting on or his next play. So see if he's able to do that. Also, what's really beneficial is that we know that Meloetta is pretty much out of the action now, right? It could attack with the fusion energy, so maybe it's not totally out of action, but it would be reasonably difficult for it to get powered up.
Yeah, it's a lot of work right now. So really, if you can take care of this Genesect, you're in a very, very powerful spot. and it's just really just kind of getting ready for the retaliation from you to see and have your counterplay ready. Which Ditto is prime for a Shaman KO the next turn if Shaman's in a discard.
And there's the money. And he hits the choice belt. There we go.
Nice.
Choice belt onto the Arceus. And that'll all but seal it, I'd say, for now.
Yeah, I think that's it. I'll be surprised if they continue forward and don't just go ahead and go to game 3. We do have, let's see, how much time is left in this round? About 40-something minutes. We're still in a good spot. Games are pretty quick, so...
It's definitely not totally over. We could see a boss KO from Mew with double turbo, and that would probably keep them in the game to some extent. So let's wait and see how that ends up.
Okay, so Mew comes forward. Oh my gosh, did we hit another cram? All right, so the tails are starting to drop now for the Cramomatics. 1 for 3 this game.
Yep. Can't say you're too heartbroken to see it.
Tell you what, this person
Where's
has
their
deck blinged out like to the T.
Yeah, they sure do.
Energy, got the pretty arts. They're feeling it.
Mew VMAXs are still lacking. The quick balls aren't gold, but we'll take it.
We're almost there. Quick ball for the V. Gonna Rose Tower. Ooh, and
there's the boss.
Okay, all right. So now we need to see double turbo. And we're going to get a nice, fresh Fusion Strike system here. Going to get 6 cards. Got to run into that double turbo somewhere.
Yeah, with only 6 cards left in the deck after this, you'd imagine it would be fairly easy to find.
Quick ball just to get 2 more cards, it looks like. All right. Make it 3
power
cards.
Tablet.
Make it 4 cards.
They're going to be drawing 4 out of 6. Do they find it?
No way. No way.
Do they have they missed in the last 2 cards?
Did they miss it?
No.
Oh my goodness.
I think
unless they got it and they're trying to see just kind of see what can happen next if this falls down, because they know the boss is now in this card and they're going to be coming down to catchers now for Katron to win. But this is interesting. I think they whiffed it, though. I do think they whiffed it. Oh, yep, there it is.
There we go, and there it is. Yep, and that'll do it.
Oh, man. Gosh, these are some stressful matches to watch.
For sure.
Nail biters.
Nail biter. But there we see, part of the issue that we found was that the Genesect was such a resource-intensive attacker that he had nothing else, well, they had nothing else powered up for the rest of the game. And I can't help but think that, if it was a Mew VMAX, then might not have gone down so easily.
I agree with you there. I don't agree with Genesect being the forefront of that attack for that play. But I can see why they went that route. They were definitely intimidated by the Hoopa, 100%. They definitely didn't want to have to deal with that, and that's why they went the Genesect route to kind of have that as their next attacker. Fortunately, you lost a lot of energy that way. You couldn't take advantage of Melowetta's attack. And we'll see how it goes for this game, with you going first.
Yep, the plot armor on the Katron deck is proving quite strong. We'll see if it can hold up for game 3. It's once again open double turbo plus Arceus in hand, even with only 3 Arceus V. So it's going kind of well.
I'm watching a little bit of the Twitch chat too to see if anything funny comes up, and it says Katron Pio has literal plot armor. I guess they're destined to win. So we'll see how this plays out here.
Let's see. We're definitely gonna need plot armor if we're gonna take out the Mew Gauntlet. But I'm all for it. Here we go. Starting the switch.
This kind of aggro play gives me like old Turbo Dark vibes, because you used to just kind of dump everything and just load up. Let me get the Dark Patch. Let me get the elixirs. Let me just hit everything. I don't care what's in my way. I just want to get these energy on the board. Now I'm getting the vibes here from all the dumping going on here. There's lots of bosses orders, a power tablet, 2 Mew VMAX
gone.
Hold up. They only did the 2-3 line.
Whoa, okay. They should be playing 4-3. Yeah, they're playing 4-3, so that's okay. 4-3. But they only have 1 Mew VMAX now.
One left.
So that's really dangerous.
And they don't play any type of like recovery in this deck, correct? No, they don't.
No.
So that's going to be interesting. So we might see Genesect attack again this game.
So we're going to see an Ultra Ball. I'm interested to see what K-Tron chooses to go for here. Will he just grab an attacker to power up, or will he be grabbing Luminion to play draw supporter? Let's see.
I didn't see what was in their hand. I do see the double turbo energy. I can't tell what supporters they were in. But it looks like they're opting for another Arceus. Honestly, that's probably not the worst way to go. I mean, if the other Mew VMAXs are in the bin, you know, you can probably you can survive a Techno Blast from Genesect.
Yeah.
Plus,
There's
you have a
the
Cheryl on your list too.
You do. A Power Tablet's gone as well, so just resource-wise, it's not too bad. So I think that's what he's opting for here. Raihan will get the Arceus V-Star for next turn, and then grab 2 more cards off of Starbirth, and I think he's trying to just play with these kind of Pokemon as the engine.
I'm digging this. All right, moving on over. I mean, unfortunately for Blast, I mean, down to Mew VMAX might be a troublesome, way to navigate this game. But you still got Meloetta, you still got Genesect to attack with. You do still have one Mew VMAX, but that might be something that just kind of sits on the bench at this point, or do you even evolve it until you're ready to use it?
Yeah, I'd probably like to see it used this turn. It's the least likely that it's going to get knocked out on any turn.
Yeah,
I don't actually think it can this turn because there's no Dark Attacker in play. Moltres isn't reaching enough damage yet. Hoopa V can't be powered up in one turn. I think this is probably the best turn to use your last Mew VMAX, unless it's somehow in the prizes, and then from then on out, try and use some Meloetta or different things.
Let's see here. I think one thing too we want to notice that K-Tron didn't grab the Hoopa right away. It's their first turn. I wonder if it's prized, and I think it was on the search. It's probably why they went Arceus.
Yeah, I think so. But also the merit of the Arceus is that it allows you to Raihan into Starbirth and grab a second Pokemon without having to be Luminion. So I think that I like this decision here. There's Peony, but this means a lot of Power Tablet are gone already. And of course, you don't actually need to be playing any with that choice belt, so more resources are down.
This is
Potentially we could see the next Arceus V-Star survive.
Yeah, I don't see right off right now. I mean, it getting knocked out. I mean, it could from a Techno Blast, but yeah, I think K-Tron's looking in a really good spot with all his resources being discarded.
Yeah, he's still at risk of the 4 Energy Melodious Echo. That is the kind of risk now to one-shot an Arceus V-Star. But other than that, it's fairly safe. 3 Power Tablet gone is huge. And there's the last Mew VMAX.
Gone. All right, so there's the last one. Fog Crystal for the Psychic Energy. And so there will be a knockout on this Arceus. Or, yeah, because they did play the choice belt, so we're good, yep.
All right, we're going to see Techno Blast. This is the best turn to use that Mew VMAX. No chance of a response. And where does K-Tron go from here? You'd assume he has to start pressuring it. He has to attack it. There's a Max Miracle, actually. So many Power Tablet were played this turn that Max Miracle will just knock it out.
That is so funny. I mean, they want to see the Arceus V-Star, and we should be able to see that because of Raihan. If they go that route, I'm assuming they will. Just to go ahead and
we'll just probably see a Mani here.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it is probably a better decision. Look how big our opponent's hand is as well. Even though it is Mew and they can just go straight back up. I think you get a little bit more merit out of this. You run the potential, but he may just choose to guarantee it. Let's see.
I mean, you got Starbirth to be able to get your other 2 cards as well, but I think I'm kind of with you on the Marnie play. There's a lot of cards on Mew's side of the field, and you're not going to take a knockout this turn regardless.
Yeah, what I'm seeing here is that it just seems so unlikely if you play Raihan, even though it's much safer, you guarantee you get the cards you need. I don't know if it's strong enough to win this game. And there we go, there's the Marnie. You need to kind of take risks in these situations.
Oh,
and there's the
last
V-Star,
card.
so close to missing, but that is
goodness.
okay. There we go.
We're calling this plot armor. What we get with the 2 cards.
But I still don't know where we go from here. I think you'd have to essentially hope that your opponent is not able to pull off the 4 Energy Melodious Echo next turn. If they do, I think that's probably game over for the hero for us, but we'll see.
Yeah, whatever we could take to maybe not see a mirror match in the final, but we shall see. Game 3 here. Starbirth's going to be the choice of action here, but what 2 cards are we nabbing? Is it going to be the Hoopa? Is it going to be a supporter for next? We got the Marnie. You got some kind of draw the following turn. And hopefully Arceus can survive one more turn and not get taken out by Meloetta. or Mew.
Absolutely. We could see maybe the Moltres be set up already.
Oh.
We're going double cut. There might only be one Meloetta left. It might be in the discard already.
Yeah, the one Meloetta is in the discard, but maybe they're going for the... Okay. Huh.
Katron may have given up. Okay.
Maybe there's something. Okay, so those two are prized.
Maybe
maybe
it's just.
have anything to grab?
I mean, this kind of makes sense. If they're not able to hit the Melodious Echo play, then he is fine. He's unprized the Hoopa now and will be able to set that up. The catcher for next turn, so if he rolls heads again, this is kind of just a very big, if my opponent misses, then I have a chance to win play.
Fair?
Yeah.
There's the Tails on the Cram. Pokegear.
It's a very low percentage, but this is the line.
There is one
There is the energy on Meloetta.
If they find
So
it,
now we're just asking. Yeah.
There it is. And I'm assuming no fusion energy are prized.
Unless it is prized.
Nope.
No, there it is.
That's it.
Yeah.
Good round. Our hero, unfortunately, fell in top 4. Still a lot of fun watching this deck throughout the tournament. And it looks like we're going to see some Mew on Mew action in the finals.
Absolutely. And it was important to note there, whilst it took a second for it to click, I think we just had a couple technical difficulties. We are back. So it's really important to note that it took a second to kind of realize, but that play at the end was really good. The Starburst for double catcher, whilst a very low percentage play, and it may have looked kind of silly given the coin flips, it was the only line. Essentially, his opponent had to miss the knockout that turn, and then both catchers had to be heads at some point, and he had to unprize the Hoopa, and it's maybe a 5% chance to win, but it's the only one that exists. So even just, that was really, really good.
Yeah, tough call. I mean, you'd be able to get that far and just fall a little bit short. Unfortunate prize in that Hoopa, but still, I think it was a great round. I think it was a very enjoyable match to watch. I am going to be hopping off here. It's going to be Henry and I believe Rahul for the finals. Very excited to see which Mew deck takes the win of the Celios Invitational. You all have a great night and enjoy this final match here at Celios Tournament.
All right, looks like Blask and Carapon are on the way. We're watching from Blask's perspective, and Blask did take the first game, so Carapon is setting up their board as the Mew player. So we're going to see what's going on here with the setup. An early tablet. We saw an Ultra Ball away of a double Turbo Energy, a Rose Tower to draw 2, another Meloetta, a perfect... What you want to do as the Mew player going first is definitely set up 2 1-prize attackers. So in the instance that a rope comes down, you get to kind of avoid that rope knockout, which is probably your worst case scenario. And then, yeah, well, the Battle of the Epic Pass is coming through. We're going to see some cards that draw cards. And this is pretty much an ideal turn 1 for a Mew.
I mean, yeah, this is the perfect board state. You have all your Pokemon you need. One of the Meloettas in some situations could be an Oricorio if you wanted, but much of a muchness, really. We see a second Elisa top deck. This is honestly a really shocking hand.
Wow.
I'm sure there's worse, for sure. But I think we're probably going to see a Cramomatic onto the tablet. Yep. And there it is. There's the heads. And suddenly the hand is fine. Rahul, where do you see yourself playing in this out?
I think it has to be a Battle VIP pass, right, Henry? Like, I mean, I don't know what else could get you as deep as you want here. I think the draws are going to be, like, you're going to get very few cards coming off your draw here, but this gives you the chance to get yourself a Mew and a Genesect, and the Fog Crystal can find yourself that Meloetta, and the LS's kind of puts you in a place to play the game, I guess. So you get to draw 2 off a Genesect, but the last 2 cards in your hand are a little bit bricky. But one of those cards we talked about right before we started, Ultra Ball. If you find that Ultra Ball somewhere in here, you get it.
There's a Mew. We see a Mew instead of a Meloetta.
Interesting. I think Blask is going for a more conservative approach here, saying, hey, I don't want to feed into your Meloetta and lose my energies by placing something on a Meloetta. So I'm going to go ahead and just power up 2 attackers here and kind of go for the one-shot on turn 2 if that's, like, my out. My hand is not great. It's not feeling great. And there's the Ultra Ball we just talked about. Not playing it yet, though.
Yeah. I think they're kind of just playing it was so unlikely for me to get the turn 1 Meloetta anyway, and if they go for it and miss, they're in a pretty bad spot resource-wise. Right. So they've played it nice and safe. It's kind of just on a they play to the outs, as we always say, and they've just got to hope that there's no boss KO. And if there isn't, they're in a great spot.
If there is a boss KO, however, it's not all doom and gloom. The boss KO has to come from hopefully a Mew VMAX, in which case you can continue to play the game. But if it doesn't come from a Mew VMAX, well, then it gets a little bit shaky, and we're going to have to see. Like, the path isn't closed. The game is not over by any means, because Mew VMAX can come up, take the knockout on the Meloetta, and then if a Mew VMAX does not come up and take another knockout on your Mew VMAX, you have the chance to actually get that one shot and swing the tempo back in your favor. It's very unlikely, so don't get me wrong. Especially with one Fusion Strike energy being prized for Blask. It's very, very unlikely that you can pull that off, but it is not impossible. It is not impossible to get that play. It is not impossible to get the one shot back on the Mew VMAX. That choice belt we talked about earlier definitely does help that process.
Yeah, and there's the Elisa. So no boss this turn, but as you said, Fusion Energy is prized, so there's no 4 energy Melodious Echo happening anytime soon. I'd imagine that if I was playing, I'd probably try and double VMAX Elisa and try and unprize that last Fusion Energy. Or maybe even boss take a KO, remove a Fusion Energy from their board. But we'll see how it pans out. We're just going to see a Melodious Echo with Meloetta in the active.
Absolutely. I think this hand is still fine. It works, I think, great. As long as the top deck isn't something that we can, we have to burn recklessly. Holding these cards like Tablet to potentially prepare for the one-shot on the Mew VMAX is still a strategy. I think having those pieces is so valuable, and wiping this Fusion Strike energy off the board from the Meloetta is also fine as a play. I don't think you want to give your opponent the Rose Tower here, though.
No, probably not, but you kind of have to at this point. Maybe you can Ultra Ball it away. I think you don't really worry too much about helping your opponent at this point. You just need to do everything you can to ensure that you can have the best state. There is the Ultra Ball. What are the targets? Elisa, Bob, they're gone.
A little bit risky here, committing to finding the energy rather than just being able to support it out. An interesting line of play. We only see 1 Fog Crystal in the deck, as well as 2 Psychics, 1 Double Turbo, and a Fusion Strike. So there are outs to the deck, through the deck for the cards. It's just a little bit unlikely that we find it that way. So boss onto the Mew, like you said that earlier.
The tablet does get burned. Okay, they're really trying to dig for it. There we go. Okay, and now we're in business.
Blast getting pretty much everything they wanted off of that, attaching to the bench Mew, just switching, burning some cards, and drawing cards. And I think we can just knock out here. I don't think there's any reason to go for any more cards. I feel like hand is perfect. There's a peony as well. We're gonna cram. What would you be cramming for here, Henry?
Not sure. I guess maybe they just want another Genesect or something. Just burning some cards. I probably would have held it, but there is the Technoblast. And now we're going to really be looking for a huge Power Tablet knockout from Kerapon. Or we could see a Boss Orders KO. The Mew could go down quite easily. And they might just try and double boss for game here.
Absolutely.
A couple different lines they could go down for sure.
Now, Rope definitely is not an option for Kerapon here because the Mew VMAX is on the bench already. So Blast can just go back into the Mew VMAX and make it so it's the same math, the same kind of situation from earlier. But Kerapon can just steal the game away with a triple tablet play here, a triple tablet plus belt play, or the more logical play, like you just mentioned, Henry, is to go for the boss play here, take out that Mew V on the bench, or take out the Genesect V on the bench, the guaranteed prizes, and then go from there. But we do see that the Mew in the active has no energy, but Kerapon is the one playing the 2 double turbo energies, so they can get the one shot here.
Yes, they are playing 2 double turbo and 1 psychic, so there's no more psychic to come down, but there is definitely the ability for that double turbo. And as we said, with no Oricorio, the double turbo won't be changing the amount of modifiers you need in any way. But the fusion energy, we're going on to Meloetta, and we could just see a knockout with the Meloetta, maybe with a boss KO here. Either way, you have to pick one of the 2 plays. You can't really hedge your bets. You can't be playing a power tablet then going for the boss. You have to pick one and stick to it, and this time it'll be the boss.
It'll definitely be the boss here. And now this puts Blask in a little bit of a precarious situation because they're going to have to answer the Meloetta. And I don't think I hate that play. I think attacking into the Meloetta seems like a perfectly okay play here. Taking out 2 of the Fusion Strike energies if possible, and then potentially finding the boss's order on the following turn with a bunch of tablets to deal with the Mew VMAX.
Absolutely. It makes things just even harder. There's no way now. Now there's absolutely no way to get a Melodious Echo KO onto that Mew VMAX because there's no way to play boss, and obviously Elisa in the same turn. There is the Choice Belt, and I also don't really see this hand going that direction anyway.
Yep.
Having a bit of a think because, of course, their back is to the wall here, so they've really got to pull out something special.
I think if I was in Blast situation, I would start setting up. Grabbing a Mallet doesn't hurt here. It doesn't change the prize trade or numbers in any way. You can grab it, bench it, attach to your Mew VMAX on the bench, get the Choice Belt down wherever you want to here, and maybe just peony and grab the pieces for next turn, just to start setting up for a potential one-shot onto that Mew VMAX on the bench. Because you're going to have to go through, like, the path is still there. Your 4 prizes are on the board, and there's nothing you can do at some point to prevent the boss's orders. So you just got to set up the best you can to get your boss's orders on the upcoming turn.
Absolutely. We see there may not be that many boss left for Blask. Otherwise, a possibility is boss KO that Meloetta this turn, making it really difficult for Carabon, making them need to find the last double turbo energy. And then next turn you boss KO again, and removing the Meloetta means that they're not able to boss KO with that. But that seems a little bit out of the question. We're going to Ultra Ball here, pitching the Psychic and the Rope. Just filling the bench here, trying to draw as many cards as you can with Genesect. And yeah, there is the third Genesect into play.
Yep, and it looks like we're going to favor the draws first before peonying, if that's even an option. Just an Ultra Ball, so the peony is just completely off the table, it looks like. And just a full, fresh card, 6-card hand coming through with the Genesect. Very, very powerful card. So far, nothing we're looking for.
So far, nothing. We do need to know the boss counts here. I believe there's 2 on, if I've been keeping track properly, and that would change the game plans that can be done by quite a large margin.
5 cards now. Roskohpf with 7 in deck, a Fusion Strike Energy, a Double Turbo, but I don't see anything of use. The boss is there in the hand. The question is, do you boss this turn, or do you just take out the active? And the question was answered almost immediately. That was barely a question.
Yeah. You absolutely take out. If you had another boss left, you could go for the boss. But I believe that is the last one. Here is the Mew VMAX. A massive hand for Carapon. Quick Ball starting to thin, probably grabbing another Pokemon to draw even more cards with Genesect, and then just looking for that boss's orders in the double turbo for game.
Absolutely, or even just 2 tablets and a boss as well.
Yep.
There's the Cram Heads. You have to assume
Yes,
they've
Cram
got
Heads.
some important piece there. There's the
There
boss.
it is. There's the boss. And I'm unsure who won game 1.
Blask did.
Blask won game 1? Okay. So we'll be going to game 3 then.
The Mew Mirror continues. There is no stopping this. Definitely the player who went first definitely had an advantage there, getting the 2 single prizers down. Exactly what they had been, the best course of action was there for them. They were able to do it.
And I think what we saw there was we saw no turn 1 attack from Blask. So if going second, you essentially have to attack turn 1 or else the game is over. And so since we didn't see that, it didn't end up panning out for them. And so now we're going to go for it again and see whichever Mew player goes first or goes second is able to kind of go for these powerful lines.
Yeah, we got to see what the player going second can do here. Can the player going first get 2 single prizers down? What is our final hands going to look like? We also know that Blask's opening hand was not the best. They were able to salvage their situation and get out of that situation, but Meloetta opening, not bad.
This hand is not good, though.
Correct. I looked at the rest of the hand after I said that, and I was like, oh no, this is real bad.
This is...
Oh,
okay. There we go. Okay.
You've been viewed.
We have to hold ourselves back before we see top deck.
I guess technically there's like a million outs in this deck to like drawing out of a bad hand. And now we can also see the power of Ultra Ball, for example. Another search card that in another world would have been something like a Great Ball or an Evolution Incense, but now it acts as just I get to pitch 2 cards, I get to grab something else, I get to set up the board. Basically like a one for all kind of deal. Probably discarding the energy and the boss or the Mew VMAX and putting the training court down, being able to reuse that energy as well. drawing a little more extra cards. Does not look like that's the route we'll be taking.
Yeah, I mean, this, technically gets them more cards thinned. This is the most efficient thinning route. I think ditching the boss is maybe could have held it, but here we go with Fusion Strike, which is playing super aggressive. Another VIP pass. There's the full bench on turn 1. There's the 2 single prize Pokemon as well.
Yep.
This is the situation that we're always talking about in the Mew Mirror. And here we are.
And now, even if Carapon wants to attack on the first turn, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to kind of get the target that they want. And committing your energies onto a Meloetta to chase a 1 prizer is never going to feel good.
No, absolutely not. There is draw for turn. Let's see how many VIP pass Carapon can respond with of their own.
You don't see Blask's hand is pretty loaded up for next turn. He's holding it perfectly, knowing that the final, the cards in hand are basically going to get him exactly what he needs on the second turn. And both decks don't play any hand disruption, so they understand that whatever cards they have are going to be there of their own accord.
Yeah, absolutely. There is VIP pass. So Carapon does have a functioning hand. They took a long time to play it, so I was a little bit concerned that we were seeing a kind of one-turn game. Immediately we see a boss. Maybe we are seeing a pretty bad game here.
That doesn't seem like the most ideal scenario.
Like we've been talking about, if you're going second, you kind of need to Melodious Echo or else you're going to lose, and we're not seeing one.
Do you see the cards in Blask's hand, Henry? It's going to be
goodness.
Real bloody this upcoming turn.
This is a slaughter. Yeah, here's the cram. So, what would you be wanting to target down here, Rahul?
If I could, I think you just boss the Mew, take it out, and I mean, even if there's a Melodious Echo coming through, maybe I don't mind it as much. There is a chance the Melodious Echo could knock you out on the following turn, which is a little bit scary, but I don't know. I think you just bring up... actually, maybe Genesect is the correct option, right? Like, maybe Genesect is correct here because of the draw. But we're going to see what Carapon gives us. I like that route better from Blask because I don't want to be the one who decides in this scenario. Let them tell us what's in their hand.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I would have liked to see was a KO on the Meloetta and then at least a Sparkle to things that weren't the Mew VMAX, allowing you to set up for a 4-energy Melodious Echo next turn and deny your opponent's one as well, and knock off their energy in the process, making it really, really difficult for a response.
Yeah,
so
now there is the slight chance of a response. It is unlikely, but that we've said that a couple times with Mew, and well, every single time it's happened, so it's not out of the question.
For sure. There is the Fusion Strike system, and of course, this play does work with the cards you have in hand. You don't have to look for anything. I could even see playing another Rope in this situation. It might sound kind of silly.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, I don't really see a huge need to deal with this Mew immediately. But keeping resources is always good, so we might just see
with
an
two
attack.
Mews established, though, I feel like you don't really need too much more to kind of close out this game. It looks like Blask might be content to just take the active and take 2 prizes here. I do like the rope play that you mentioned to go rope again. I think both the targets on the bench are higher priority. The Meloetta has an energy, and the Genesect is probably their only way to draw, realistically speaking, considering they just bossed, attached, and passed. So you have to assume that Carapon's hand is not something to write home about.
No. But I think no matter what happens, we're talking about really absolutely optimal routes. Everything, honestly, guys, is still good. Like, Blask here is in a dominant position no matter what way you look at it. But here, the chain begins. There's a Fusion Energy gone.
And that's and the hype train Henry was bringing. We just slammed the brakes with one quick ball.
Nope, that was a crash. That was a burn, and now we're back to the slaughter.
Yeah. No.
No chance of a 280 knockout. We could easily see a knockout with Melodious Echo with enough modifiers, but we saw that a power tablet actually got discarded and not played.
Yep.
So
one modifier gone already makes that math way more difficult because Melodious Echo or even a Technoblast being copied needs 4 full modifiers, and with one gone, that is already not good, and a Fusion Strike energy gone is already not good as well. We're gonna see Carapon start to set up here, but it might be a little bit too late. Not even a knockout on the Genesect. Oh no!
Pack it up, folks. Show's over.
And just like
No,
that,
so
we're going to see an Ultra Ball grabbing the Mew VMAX. And we're going to just, hopefully see the rope. And that's basically all she wrote.
yeah, writing's on the wall, as they say. It's using my favorite catchphrases from all the casters I've watched over the years. Here's rope, and this pushes only boss now for game next turn, ignoring the Meloetta completely because it's such a quick path to game. They're just going to be looking for the boss on the following turn. This rope gaining massive value.
I would have liked to see the Chromatic be held for next turn a little bit. I mean, I guess you could thin a little bit now and get an energy card potentially, or even just grab the boss ahead of time. Attaching the double turbo feels fine here because a boss wins the game anyway. And we're going to see...
Yeah, I mean, you just don't need to worry about anything here. You can just keep drawing cards. You want to put yourself as close to boss as you can.
Absolutely.
You're not worried about the cram. You just draw as many cards. Here we go. Plenty of outs. Yep.
And we're getting very, very close. There's one boss in the deck. I don't know how many are prized. There's a chance.
Final Fusion Strike system. Okay, we see, but here we're talking about Ultra Ball every single turn. These cards that normally would be stuck in the hand, you're just going +3 with Genesect every single turn.
Ultra Ball is so good for this deck. This Genesect being able to use its ability multiple times in a turn is making it somewhat of a real menace. And we see another knockout, and now we're down to just
and there's the boss.
There's a boss, and there's a peony, and I mean, we know there's no way for hands to be reset here. So from Carapon, their best chance is to boss up something and hope there's no switch in the 7-card hand. But Henry, we've got Caster Vision.
We have Caster Vision. Who knows? Carapon could pull something insane out here. No, no chance. But here's the Mew VMAX. They're just going to try and do everything they can. So obviously, you still play your outs at this point. There's no reason to scoop in the finals, obviously. You just wait until your opponent plays down the last nail in the coffin. But the Chromatic comes out. Here, they're probably going to look to... I mean, their line, whilst it doesn't really exist, the best thing for them is to probably just try and pivot Mew VMAXs, hope for no boss, hope for no 4 energy Meloetta, hope for no 4 power tablet. Alternatively, they can try and stall.
There's a lot of hopes here, and unfortunately, we know how powerful the Mew deck is, and I mean, looking at the resources played so far, a lot of those hopes are a little bit baseless, but Carapon has had probably one of the worst Mew starts I've seen in a very long time. Hand being stuck completely, it looked like 3 Fusion Strike energy in the opening hand, and 2 bosses at the very least, which is not a good sign, especially when you're a deck that needs to not clog and have those. Some of those cards should probably be in the deck at some point. That'd probably help.
Yeah, I mean, they're great cards to use, but here we're going to see just a Cross Fusion Strike, leaving the thing with the highest HP in the active position, making it really as difficult as possible for Blast to win. But now it's their turn, and here is the boss, and that will be most likely the game. Might see a well played.
Well played.
There's the well played. There's the boss.
And
Techno Blast. Techno Blast.
Yeah, Techno Blast. And Blast is our Celio Stats 3 champion here in a somewhat anticlimactic game 3 in a Mew VMAX mirror. We talked about how going first is a lot of power here, and the player going first, if they establish their board correctly, it's very difficult to lose. And we saw from Carapon's side that there was nothing, going for them even after everything happened. Their start was hard, their start was rough. They weren't even able to produce a knockout going first on that second turn. So
yeah, that turn 1 knockout going second is what really decides the matchup. And you get into kind of an interesting position there because they can force both players to need a 4 modifier knockout during their turn, and then it gets a little bit exciting. Terrible if you're the player, but if you're a spectator, it's really fun because you can wait and see who gets the big knockout, who's playing all the power tablets in one turn. But if you're sitting in the game, you're just kind of like twiddling your thumbs waiting for one player to play all the cards down. But in the end, no turn 1 attack, just a kind of a whitewash on both boards.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching today's events. We had some amazing casters today. Alongside me, there was Henry, Lindsay, and Jeffrey Surran Rap, and we all had an amazing time casting for you. Luke for hosting this wonderful event, Celio Stats 3. There'll be more in the future. Catch Henry next week at Brisbane Regionals. I don't believe there's going to be a stream. Everyone go show him some love. Our world champion is going to go defend his title at a regional championship, and then I'll be going to Salt Lake City the weekend after. So I'll probably do my best to win regionals. We'll see.
All right, guys. Thanks for today. Have a great one.